issue.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to see though. We'll have to find out. But again, Group C is looks stronger because of historically Brilliant United, Los Grandes, the performance that they had, and they have history for EWC. 3 of the players are returnees, so it's just another day at work for this team, and I think they're going to rock it.
Hello.
All right, panelists, thank you so much for joining me for this opening, because it looks like the opening ceremony is ready to go. It's day number 2 here at Free Fire EWC 2025. Let the opening ceremony begin.
Welcome to Free Fire at Esports World Cup.
बेहतरीन फीलिंग है ऑब्वियसली एक आप जब अपने कंट्री को रिप्रेजेंट करते हो एक वर्ल्ड में और ज़ाहिर है उस चीज़ का आपको बहुत खुशी होती है और आप उतने ही कॉन्फिडेंस में रहते हो
ตอนนี้ก็คิดว่าได้แชมป์อยู่ครับเบอร์3ก็ทีมโหดๆเยอะครับก็ไม่ค่อยกดดันนั่นแหละเพราะที่นี่ก็เหมือนบ้านฟอลคอนครับ Ini kayak turnamen world kan, jadi kayak mimpi kita lah, mimpi untuk menjadi juara dunia itu ada di sini.
बस यही है कि अच्छा कंपटीशन है और उसको हमने आगे लेके चलना है
Right now pushing forward towards Brox. Brox is down by the Diva, going down from behind and they got Brox. Booyah!
Sempre em todos os campeonatos que eu jogo, eu sempre me vejo ali levantando o troféu, saindo do palco, sendo campeão. Então acho que tipo, é o princípio de tudo, a gente chega pra sentar ali pra jogar. A gente já tem que sair imaginando a gente levantando o troféu.
Looks so with only one player left.
Oh, Koja is now down Vitality, bringing the pride of Indonesia. Pushing towards Team Combat with KOG. Zed gets by, but Dix goes down to Brox. Oh no!
Tahun lalu kita sempat gagal di peringkat kedua, tetapi tahun ini, di hari ini, di minggu ini, kita bakal pasti kasih yang terbaik. Kita akan pasti juara.
A gente vai ganhar esse troféu, a gente vai levantar ele. Vou cantar vocês todo mundo, vambora, hein?
แล้วเจอกันในวงสุดท้าย Let's go บูย่า
What's up, survivors? Welcome to day 2 of the knockout stage at the Esports World Cup 2025. Team Falcons are leading the standings, fighting to keep their crown as the reigning champions. But Evils is not far behind. They are hungry and they are chasing the #1 spot. And now the stage gets even bigger. Today we are gonna find and welcome the Group C to the arena. And new teams, new battles, and even more action coming in your way. Let's drop in and see who will rise above. It's time to introduce the teams competing today too. Starting to Burira United. They just don't win, they dominate.
টুর্নামেন্টের হট ফেভারিট বুড়িরাম ওয়াসানার টিম রে দেখাইতাছে ওই যে ওয়াসানা
আত্মবান ছেলে
Team Vitality. Booyah on day 1.
Then the answer at a bodybuilder they have the mechanical.
And hit hard.
Oh, bodybuilder তাতে answer হয় ওই যে মোটু bodybuilder
এই টিমটা আবার সবাই ব্যালেন্স সবগুলাই বডি
ফিট কাট না না ফ্লুক্সো ঠিক আছে না তো একদম
মোটা এই যে মোটু
আরে ভাই মোটা কি ওরা তো মানে বয়স হতো না আগে সেই ওই দেখতে
আরে তারপর ওই যে মোটুটা মনে হয়
মোটা থাকতে ভাই RHQ is built for the big moments.
আজকে নাকি কালকে, আজকেও তো আছে, আজকে ডে 2 আর আজকের দিনটা হচ্ছে গিয়ে অনেক
এই
ইম্পর্টেন্ট কেন
যে
কারণ
আমি একটা হ্যাঁ,
আজকের
বলেন, বলেন।
দিনটাতে হচ্ছে গিয়ে না আমি কমেন্ট আজকের দিনটা ইম্পর্টেন্ট কেন কারণ আজকে যত পয়েন্ট হবে না হবে এইটার উপর ডিপেন্ড করে RHK কালকে টার্গেট নিয়ে খেলতে পারবে যে এত মানে পয়েন্ট করলে আমরা কোয়ালিফাই করব এরকম একটা ইয়ে। আজকের দিনটার দিকেও ফুল ফোকাস থাকবে নিজেদের পারফরমেন্সের উপর তো থাকবে আবার কিছু অ্যানালাইসিসের বিষয় আছে তার মধ্যে হচ্ছে গিয়ে এই আজকের ম্যাচগুলো হচ্ছে গিয়ে অ্যানালাইসিস কারণ ওরা ওদের রোটেশন চেঞ্জ করছে ল্যান্ডিং চেঞ্জ করছে সবকিছু চেঞ্জ করছে তো ওই সবকিছু চেঞ্জ করার ফলে ওরা যেই রিজনে চেঞ্জ করছে যে আর্লি ল্যান্ডিং ক্ল্যাশ যাতে না হয় বড় বড় কোনো টিমের সাথে কারণ এক্সপিরিয়েন্সে পেলে মাইক খেয়ে দিতে পারে একটা ওই রিস্কের কারণে যেই চেঞ্জেসগুলো করছে ওই চেঞ্জেসগুলো অন্যান্য টিমগুলোও করছে এই হিসাব করে এখন আবার নতুন করে একটা গেম প্ল্যান সাজাতে হবে কালকে আমরা দেখছিলাম যেহেতু RHK এর অনেকগুলা পজিশনগুলো চেঞ্জ আছে এগুলা রোটেশন অন্যরকম এবারে যে না পরে ম্যাচে 5 ম্যাচে যদি 60 পয়েন্ট প্লাস করতে পারে ওই তো পরে 6 ম্যাচে যদি 60-70 প্লাস করতে পারে তাহলে একটা চান্স থাকবে যেহেতু টপ 12 নিব ডাইরেক্ট কিন্তু 18টা বুঝো নাই একটা টিম যে RHK এর নিচে যে টিমটা ওই টিমটারে ধরে নিয়ে আমরা এমনি বাদ হয়ে গেছি ওগো পয়েন্ট খুবই কম শোনো এখানে একটা ইজি একটা ব্যাপার কি জানো একদম ইজি সিম্পল একটা ব্যাপার হচ্ছে যে আজকে দিনটা শেষ হইলে তো বি গ্রুপের সব ম্যাচ শেষ বি গ্রুপের সব ম্যাচ শেষ হইলে তো বি গ্রুপের 6টা টিম কত পয়েন্ট করছে এটা তো ওরা দেখতে পারবে এই পয়েন্টটারে টার্গেট করে এদের থেকে যদি 1 পয়েন্টও বেশি হয় তাহলে তো কোয়ালিফাই কারণ এই 6টা টিম তাহলে বাদ হয়ে যাবে ওদের মধ্যে হাইয়েস্ট যে আচ্ছা ওদের মধ্যে হাইয়েস্ট যে ওই হাইয়েস্টের থেকে 1 পয়েন্ট বাড়তে করবে যদিও এখানে পসিবল হবে না আমি যতটুকু মনে করতেছি কারণ সূর্য আছে সূর্যরা অলরেডি ভালো খেলছে ভালো একটা পয়েন্ট গ্যাদার করছে এই আজকের দিনেও মোটামুটি ভালোই খেলবে এটা শিওর তো
mungkin
লুকজরে টার্গেট করতে হবে না সো বাকি যে 5টা টিম আছে ওই 5টা টিম টার্গেট করতে যেমন আছে হটশট তারপরে
Despite the age, he's not the one to be underestimated.
kalau ngeremehin pasti ada lah beberapa kan tapi mungkin kalau misalnya sekarang ya
ওগুলারে টার্গেট করে ওদের থেকে একটু পয়েন্ট পাবে
orang-orang kemarin yang pada ngeremehin gua.
Abai didn't wait for permission to become the MVP. He took it, racking up Predator and MVP awards in 2025
তো স্বাভাবিক 100 প্লাস তো করতে হবে পরের দিন ওদের 70 লাগবে
Gua
100 প্লাস না হইলে তো
itu kayak penghargaan terhadap diri gua gitu. Gua bangga dengan
Possibility
diri
naik
gua,
boleh itu.
tapi yang gua cari itu adalah juara, bukan title MVP.
পয়েন্ট করতে হবে ওই যে বললাম যে খালি ওদেরটা দেখতে হবে না আবার নিজেদেরও পয়েন্ট করতে হবে
Nah, di turnamen ini mungkin pembalasan untuk tim lu.
the youngest on the squad. Yet
না
the
কালকে
first
তো
to
পয়েন্ট কিন্তু
launch
এভারেজে
this
যেভাবে
stage.
হইতেছিল ওইতে করে কিন্তু পয়েন্ট হইতো বাট লাস্টের 3টা ম্যাচ খুবই বাজে গেছে একদম ব্লেন্ডিং এ ক্লিয়ার
And there you have it, guys. Southeast Asia yesterday, hot streak.
ওরা তো
5
ফাইট
games in a row before
ফাইট
Pain
বের
Gaming
করতে পারে না
decides
কেন
to end
বের
it.
করতে পারে না
But
সবগুলো ম্যাচে
question
থার্ড
is
পার্টি
whether
সবগুলো
or
ম্যাচে
not
থার্ড পার্টি
that end that Pain Gaming gave us the last
Third party গুলো না হইলেই
booyah
হয়।
will be the catalyst for the rise for the Brazilian teams today.
Yeah, welcome to the day 2 of the knockout stage. You're here with Tash, Bani, and also me, Admats. We are
দেখা যাক
coming
আজকের ম্যাচে
in with Group C and welcoming Group. Sorry, we're
বি
coming
গ্রুপের
with
ম্যাচ
Group B
হচ্ছে
and
গিয়ে শেষ হয়ে যাবে
welcoming
তাদের
Group C.
কাদের
In
হটশট
our day
ইভোস
2 bouts,
লুকজো
we see the likes of
TMX,
RHQ and RHK
তারপরে
from Indonesia. These two
Team
teams
Vitality
would
আর
likely
Alpha
dominate here on game on day
আলফা
number 2.
34
But they
তারপরে
have
যে
to remember there's
টিম ভ্যাটালিটি
also Buriram,
এগুলার খুব একটা
Alpha
পয়েন্ট
as
নেই
lost,
হটশটের হালকা পয়েন্ট আছে
Rainbow 7 as
ইভোসের
well
ভালো
as
পয়েন্ট
Dragons Esports
সুন্দর পয়েন্ট
in the mix.
Yeah, and I think out of all these teams right now, I mean, we have a lot
দেখা
of
যাক ওরা
highlights
যদি
that we
আজকে
talked
দিনে
about.
মারা খায়
Abai
তাইলে
from RHQ
আমাদের
is
পসিবিলিটি
MVPs, but you don't forget as well about Buriram United. They have multiple
আর সি
titles from
গ্রুপের
the players from last year.
বুড়িরাম বাদ দিয়ে
From
বাকি সবগুলো আমার রাখা
we had
তাইলে
Moshi
ভালো
as MVP from FF Global Finals.
কত
We had
ডিমান্ড
Jonah
আমাদের
as
কত
Predator
ডিমান্ড
Wasana as MVP as well. That's why the panel was putting a lot of highlights. on
যারা
these
স্ট্রিমটা
two
দেখতেছো
teams.
সবাই
Clear
স্ট্রিমটা
team to
শেয়ার
look
করে
out
দিও
for. But at the
যারা
same
পেজে
time,
নতুন
I had
ফলো
a
করো না ফলো ফলো করে
conversation with
দাও
our fellow casters here, AJ as well as Husky, wondering like, okay, it will be so poetic if the end of the streak yesterday by Pain can be carried on today by the other Brazilian teams.
Yeah, it looks like
হট
maybe
শটের
Dana would be
ইফেক্ট করবো না, কারণ
Brazil.
হট শট অলরেডি ভালো
However,
পয়েন্ট করছে
since that we
পুরো
are
হিসাব আলাদা।
mixing in
কিন্তু আমি মনে করতেছি ওই
maybe
বি গ্রুপের
that
অন্যান্য টিম
might
যেগুলো আছে ওগুলা
change
একটু
a
বাজে
little bit, but the sentiment is still strong here, especially with the likes of Lost, Fluxo, and Alpha 34. And one thing for sure, I would like to touch on to something. Since that we are in Riyadh, definitely I would like to mention Team Dragons Esports. They are the team from MENA, Middle East, and North Africa. This is their first runabout. Yeah,
আজকে
in
কারা
EWC,
কোন টিম সাপোর্ট করতেছো
and
কমেন্টে জানাই দিও।
basically Dragons
কারণ আমি একটা
Esports
পোল
is
দেই, পোলে
Alpha,
সবাই
Team
ভোট দিবে।
Alpha roster, yeah, except for Remind. Okay, Remind had his run on EWC last year under the team of Alconcia, but sadly they only managed to get last place. And a few things that Remind has made for himself. He was playing during Free Fire World Series Bangkok back in 2022 under Team Alpha. Sadly placed on 11. Same goes to Sentosa on 22 under Team All Stars at 15. And another player from Team Dragon Esports, I can say Yasir, also has a lot of experience playing on the global stage, being his glory days back in 2021 where he was dominating the Free Fire Arab Championships.
Yeah, that's a lot of history coming in here for this particular day. But I think when you make it down to the wire, Group B, this is their final day to play.
Yep.
This is a do or die moment. They are hot from yesterday. Most of the players, especially teams like Hotshot, EVOS, even Fluxo did well. Even, you know, Core Memory as well had their insane moments. But at the same time, could the momentum be broken by Group C? Group C has not played yet, but they have seen everything. The VOD reviews last night, the rotations, the drop spots, they know everything. But the question is, in terms of execution, would it be enough to stop the momentum and the heat that Group B has? And I think for Group B, this is a do or die moment. You either perform or you don't, because you want, like Danley says, do not cross that red line. You need to make it to that top 12 to be able to make it to that next stage.
That's correct. The mindset of Group B, teams from Group B should be to rake in as much point as possible. Yes, we know this is just a knockout stage. If you made it to the top 12, you're good to go. But for teams that are in Group B, they will not know, because they have to wait for A and C to see whether or not they qualify for the next stage. That's why the sentiment or the mindset of the players from Group B has to be, I have to take as much points as possible.
I mean, as much points as possible. And there was a conversation as well yesterday
দেখো
about
গাইস আমাদের
what
হচ্ছে
is
গিয়ে
more
পোল দিয়ে
important. Is
দিছি,
it the
তো ওই
kills or
পোলে
is it the
হচ্ছে গিয়ে
placement
তোমরা
points? And
ভোট
I
দিয়ে
think
দিতে পারো।
Falcons, toward the beginning of the day, they were a bit more passive. I think they were really sort
আজকে
of
কি
reliant
RHK
on
নাই?
those placement points and making it till the end.
RHK কালকে
But then
খেলবে।
they changed up their tempo
আজকের
toward the end of the
খেলাগুলো
day,
অনেক
going a bit more aggressive, getting
একটা উদ্দেশ্য,
quite a fair
দেখে
number of eliminations.
15
46,
দেখে।
only 2 shy of EVOS Divine, who had started the day off strong,
আজকে-
hit the ground running, collecting
আজকে
as
হচ্ছে
many
গিয়ে
elimination
বি
points as
গ্রুপের জন্য
possible, and
ডু অর
then
ডাই ম্যাচ।
pumping the
ঠিক
brakes
আছে, ডু অর
for the
ডাই ম্যাচ
second
কালকে
half of that
যেটা
day.
হচ্ছে
So
কি
this is
আরএইচকে
a
এর জন্য
very
হবে
interesting
ওইরকম।
contrast,
Yeah.
but by all means, it's the
বি
same,
গ্রুপের জন্য
you
আজকে
know,
ওইরকম
way
না,
to the
কারণ
same
বি
means
গ্রুপে
to end.
আর কোনো
Regardless,
চান্স
as
নাই।
we
আজকে
go
যদি
into
ওরা
our
যেমন
first
খেলবে
map
ওই অনুযায়ী
today,
হচ্ছে
this
গিয়ে ওদের
is
পয়েন্ট
going to
টেবিলটা
be
হয়ে যাবে।
super exciting and more important for Group B. This is their final day
12
to
ম্যাচে
prove
130 পয়েন্ট।
themselves.
Ladies
Tough
and
football, tough
gentlemen,
football.
it looks like game
পয়েন্ট
number
তত
1
বেশি হয় না।
is ready. Let's go.
কালকে দেখো না
for
খালি
it
দুইটা
into
টিমেরই পয়েন্ট, বাকি
Bermuda.
সবার এভারেজ।
Opener for day number 2. A slight update
ওইটাই
on
বললাম
the
যে
rosters here.
পয়েন্ট করলে তো শিওর কোয়ালিফাই, সেফ মানে পুরো সেফ, সুপার সেফ।
Meanwhile, Alpha 34 brings in Baat and also subs out Lins, and there you go. Players are ready. Here you can see the best player for day number 1, Russia, with 20 eliminations. Will he still stand up to the title, or maybe someone else will take it from him?
দেখা যাক আজকে
Really
কারা
interesting. The great stuff actually coming from this kid.
যারাই
I
টপ
mean,
করুক না
or
কেন,
what Danley says,
আমি চাইতেছি
man.
এখানে
I
যারা
mean, one
যারা
thing
কালকের
for
দিনও
sure,
মাইরা
he's
খেলছে
very
ওরাই আজকে মাইরা
aggressive.
খেলবে।
He is
ওরা
very
এমন ভাবে মারুক
opportunistic.
যাতে
He
করে
plays
অন্যরা
these very
টিকতে না পারে।
tiny micro angles to perfection as well. Very fun to watch, and I am super excited to
আমি
see how
হচ্ছে গিয়ে
exactly
আজকে
he'll be
বুড়ি
going
রামরে
through this.
করতেছি
And
আর হচ্ছে
already
গিয়ে
we're hitting the ground running.
We got shots
Flip
heard
zone
actually from
আমি
two
জানি না
different
কেন
areas.
flip zone ভালো লাগে
Optimal
আমার।
and Karlo
Kalpone থেকে flip zone আমার ভালো
Let's
লাগে।
see which one we are looking for. We're looking at
তুমি কোনটা
Karlo.
করতেছো?
If Voss is
হ্যাঁ,
being decimated by movie star Rainbow 7, the Mexican team
ভাই
starting
এদিকে অলরেডি
strong,
ক্ল্যাশ হইতেছে কিন্তু আমরা দেখতে পাচ্ছি
taking
ইভোসের
down
সাথে
members
একটা
from
ক্ল্যাশ
Evo's, three
আর
members
ইভোসের
of
সাথে
Evo's
কিন্তু
now
R7 এর
spectating
ক্ল্যাশ
their own member.
R7
Meanwhile,
এখানে
in
কিন্তু তিনটা
observatory,
কিল সিকিউর করতে
Dragons
পারছে
trying their
আবার
best
এখানে কিন্তু
to at least
ডিআরটির
steal
সাথে
a
ক্ল্যাশ
few
দেখতে
members
পাচ্ছি
from Vitality. Sadly, they could only
ডিআরটির
manage
সাথে কারা
to steal two, while the other two managed to
ভিআইটি
run
ছিল
away.
খুব সম্ভবত
Yeah,
ভিআইটি
Vitality yesterday had a pretty slow start. They struggled a lot in that first half. Wasn't able to find the momentum at all. But moving back into the game here, R7 on our screen as well. I think R7 is going to be very interesting to me.
R7 এর প্লেয়ারগুলো কিন্তু রিকল পেয়ে গেছে বাট এখানে ইভোসের প্লেয়ারগুলো দেখছো ভাই
run
একটা
here
প্লেয়ার
in
কিন্তু শেষ একটা
EWC.
প্লেয়ারকে সামহাউ
However,
রিভাইভ
one of
করতে
their
পারছিল
team members,
ওই প্লেয়ারটা এখান
Soy
থেকে ব্যাক আউট করে
Dea, has a lot of
teammate
experience being
দেখতে
on the
পাচ্ছি
international stage. He was
অবস্থা
in
দেখছো
6
ল্যান্ডিং এ
Karma
এরকম
back
ভাবে
in 2024,
তো এখানে
where
আবার দেখতে
he
পাচ্ছি
and
আমরা
his team
RRQ এর
was playing
সামনে
at the
কিন্তু
global
ভিআইটি এর
finals,
একটা প্লেয়ার
but
আছে
sadly placing on number 16. Meanwhile, all the other members are basically new. So it looks like they are doing quite well here for their first run here, first match. Final against EVOS. As we can see from yesterday, one of the strong contenders in our tournament. And they managed to almost eliminate them out early.
Yeah, interesting enough, yesterday I think in the beginning of the game, EVOS tend to always struggle, losing 3 fairly early as well. But unfortunately, they are very slippery. So most of the time, they do really bring back into the game as well. We're seeing a lot of aggression coming here from another team that's completely overcoming Vitality. Dix knocked down, and the rest of Vitality still very much in the game here. So my question is, for Vitality, are you going to rally back, or are you just going to allow DRT to take this space away from you?
ছিল অবজারভেটরিতে থেকে লঞ্চ প্যাডটা মাইরা দিছে তো এই যে আবার আইসা পড়ছে এখানে এএফ এর প্লেয়ারও চলে গেছে আবার ইভোসের
This is where we've seen Rainbow 7 and also EVOS made their bout in earlier. With that said, Alpha, I don't believe they could actually manage to get a lot of resources here, as all of it has been taken up by team Rainbow 7. And ladies and gentlemen, we're up to fourth minute of our game. We still yet to see a single team to be eliminated. Everybody is moving towards their rotations. We might see Buriram on the peak. Meanwhile, for Fluxo, I believe they might be on the southern side of the map. But right now we're planning towards Hot Shot Gaming, where this Pakistani team had a very good start of day number 1, but a bit rocky for the finisher. Maybe this time around they would actually redeem back all the mistakes that have been made yesterday.
Could be. I mean, a lot of teams are still taking their time outside here in terms of rotations. We did see a brief skirmish just now between Vitality and DRG. I think both teams are just not really keen on continuing this fight very soon. But a team that's really on fire right now is going to be R7. They've been hot, and I think they've been really quick on the up to get the highest in the lobby right now in terms of eliminations. And now they're still hunting those white tigers. But aim got knocked out for the second time this game. And they are done. This is such an unlucky situation. EVOS not being able to bring themselves back into this game at all. He wasn't able to do anything, and this is just so unlucky. Yesterday there was a game where EVOS was knocked down fairly early as well, but they still managed to recover fairly well in the match after. So my question is, how exactly is EVOS doing this?
Maybe it's just, as they say, a slow morning, a slow start for them. So what I like about Rainbow 7
কুমিল্লা থেকে দেখতেছি তাই নাকি কে কোথা থেকে দেখতেছো স্ট্রিম কমেন্টে জানাও
fighting our skirmish against EVOS. EVOS managed to escape with one member, and the funny part is that Rainbow 7 continues to hunt EVOS up until the end.
That's a good thing, honestly. You really want to disable because you know that EVOS yesterday, I think this is what they say, that you do your homework. EVOS yesterday, they got, they lose 3 fairly early, but they always come back into the game. And then they start rampaging. They start to collect a lot of elimination points. They start collecting, all these placement points. Their survivability is on a high. So being able to just really, put your claws into this EVOS players, not allow them to be able to take advantage of situations and give them that second chance will really help stop their rampage right now, because currently they are second on the overall ranking list.
Alright, looks like C4 is
BRU tag
being
ito there,
attacked by another team. I'm not so sure which team that tagged him on the bounty.
এখন পর্যন্ত কোনো ফাইটও যায় না, প্লেয়ারও লুজ করে
on where to tread together with team members. Meanwhile, you can see the Alpha
ওয়াসানার খেলা দেখার জন্য
having
বসে।
time of their lives with that locked airdrop. They unlocked it till the very end. So resources-wise, Alpha 34 is in abundance. Right now, we are planning towards factory. We can see the bout between Lost from Brazil and as well as Dragon
এখানে
from
ডিআরজি এর সাথে
Algeria.
কিন্তু
Rigby starts to go for
এলওএস
push.
এর ফাইট
XFM,
এন্ড
IBR member
তারা কিন্তু
will
এখানে
try
ভাই
started, but
ব্লাইন্ড রাশ করে
Sadly
দিয়েছে
goes
পুরো স্কোয়াডের
down.
মাঝখানে ব্লাইন্ড
With the shot
Blind
and
rush
it takes him down. Rawan
করে
as
মাইটটা
well.
খাইছে আর এখানে কিন্তু
It's
ডিআরজির
now
একটা প্লেয়ারও নক বাট
Team LOS.
লসের তিনটা প্লেয়ার লস এন্ড লাস্ট প্লেয়ারও শেষ সব পুরো স্কোয়াড ওয়াইড তিনটা প্লেয়ার নক আর একটা ইনজেকশন ছিল হ্যাঁ শেষ #11 ভাই ওরা চেস করে
Dragons really hit the ground running. They're rough.
দেখছো ওরা চেস করলো ওরা চেস করে ওরা যে অ্যাটাক করে ওরাই মাইর
when
খেয়ে
it
গেল
comes to these team fights, very decisive when they know
এমনি
what
ব্লাইন্ড
they
রাশ
want.
করছে
I
ভাই
think that's really
তবে
great about them as
আন্ডারএস্টিমেট
well.
করে
It's
ফেলছে
just
মানে
that whenever they go
অপোনেন্টকে
for
এত
these
বেশি
fights,
আন্ডারএস্টিমেট করে
they manage
ফেলছে
to surround, they manage to box all of these players, all of the teams they go against, which does not allow them to be able to bring in those
তাও আবার
second
player
chance situations.
না
Does
নিয়ে
not allow them
একাই
to be able to bring their teammates back into the game. Now the
হ্যাঁ
several
এখানে
shifts,
কিন্তু
a lot of
আমরা
teams, a
দেখতে পাইছি
majority
যে
already inside of the
বুড়িরামদের
middle
সাথে
here.
এখন
With
একটা ফাইট হওয়ার
Vitality,
পসিবিলিটি আছে কারণ
continuing
কোচিনকের
that
এরিয়াতে
streak,
অলরেডি
that
তিনটা
strat
স্কোয়াড
of
আর
being
ওদিকে আর
inside
কিউরা
and
যদি
toward the
যায়
mid
তাহলে
side of the
চারটা
circle
স্কোয়াড হয়ে যাবে
fairly
এই
early.
লেভেলের একটা
But
ফাইট
the
হতে যেতেছে
compounds around them are also very much, taken as well. Buram United is there, even Onyx is
day
there
one
as well.
ওদের
And surprisingly
domination
enough, I'm surprised I haven't heard a lot of noise from Buram United
তাও
yet.
প্লেয়ার
But I
লুজ
am
না
excited
কইরা
to see
দেখছে
what
একটা
kind of
প্লেয়ার
firepower
শুধুমাত্র মরছে
or kind of strats they want to bring into this game today as their debut game.
That is actually typical Buriram.
লাস্ট ম্যাচ
In the early stages
লাস্ট ম্যাচে
of
যে
the match,
কনফিডেন্সটা
they
পাইতাছে
don't
পরের
usually
ম্যাচগুলোতে
find,
কাজে দিব
any kind of fights, any kind of brawls. Their mindset is that we're gonna play it slow on the early games and maybe try to
এই যে
get
দেখো
the
ব্লু
weapons,
আসানা আর
the ammo, the utility
একই
that
ঘরে
they
ওরা
needed to
সবাই
bring
এক
it towards
ঘরে
middle
এক
or
ঘরে
maybe
রাস্তা
as well as the end game. And
থাকবে
that
না, এটা ওরা
strategy has been done by Buriram for various tournaments and it is again being
সবাই যার
used
যার মতো করে মনে হয়
today at EWC. And loss with the loss towards Team Dragons is an upset, especially for those
এখন পর্যন্ত দুইটা টিম ফুললি
for
শাটডাউন
our
হয়ে গেছে তার মধ্যে
panels, with the Aramco ranking. Sadly, loss is not doing very well for game number 1. Maybe the next one, loss will actually come back again. But surprise, Dragons. Not a team that we actually eyeing a lot.
আগে আগে প্রেডিকশন করো কে বুইয়া নিবে কমেন্টেও তোমরা প্রেডিকশন করে ফেলো
in the game. We just have to see whether or not Dragons could actually play the mid and late.
সবাই প্রেডিকশন করে ফেলো
Dragons, right? I mean, you don't have any VODs about them. You have no clue how they're playing because today is day number 1, and they are fully.
আচ্ছা এটা কি ডে টু লাইভ হ্যাঁ এটা ডে টু এর লাইভ
That they have in terms of how they can take advantage of the situation. No clue.
Simona,
where
guys,
they're going to be
matches
dropping. No
buya
clue how
kara
exactly
nibe.
they're going to be playing. At least for the Southeast Asian teams. Yes, there are VODs around for the Brazilian games as well. But of course, the dynamic will change as you go into international games, as you adapt into different styles.
বাই দ্য ওয়ে গাইস
regions.
তোমরা
Now,
হচ্ছে কি
looking at
অনেকে
Alpha
আমাদের
34 here,
ব্রডকাস্ট
this is an
চ্যানেলে
interesting
নাই
one
তো তোমরা
because,
যারা আমাদের
yesterday,
ব্রডকাস্ট
I
চ্যানেলে
think
নাই
they're
তারা
not really
আমাদের
so
ব্রডকাস্ট
bad.
চ্যানেলে
They're
জয়েন
in the
হয়ে
middle
যাও
of the pack if you think
ব্রডকাস্ট
about it,
চ্যানেলে
9th right
জয়েন
now
হওয়ার জন্য
at
আমি
least
দেখো
on this group. And with the change, they had Lins go out, Baat coming in. My question is, how does this affect their dynamic? Does it change their aggression? Does it change their rotations as well? They already got 2 eliminations fairly early, which is honestly great. You want to try and collect as many of those as you can, but they aren't exactly going all in super early that we saw yesterday.
I think Alpha is trying to go for wide rotations. That's what I see. However, talking about never mind. So talking about wide rotations, Team Rainbow 7 is about to do that, but due to the fact that they failed their first
হটশটের জায়গায় খুব বাজে ভাবে মাইর খাবে এখন দুই সাইড থেকে
they did not manage to chase hotshot. However,
ওরা দেখছো জোনটা প্রেডিকশন করে আগে আগে রোটেশন নিয়ে নিছে সবগুলো প্লেয়ার জোনের মধ্যে একটা স্কোয়াড একটা প্লেয়ারও জোনের বাইরে নাই ভাই লিটারালি দেখো পিকের সাইড হটশট এখানে মাইরে একটা খাইছে বাট ভাই ওদের কি লেভেলের গেম সেন্স যে ওরা পজিশনটা কিভাবে নিয়ে নিছে আগে আগে ওরা জানতো যে এখানে মানে লাস্ট জোন পড়বে ওই হিসেবে ওদের রোটেশন আগে আগে নিয়ে নিছে যে পরবর্তীতে জোনের বাইরে থেকে যেন গেট কিপ না খায় another level.
Off guard. I think it might be the addition of Group C that's really, surprised them. Regardless, as the circle still heart shifting toward the
ওটা তো পুরোপুরি
right side of
কপাল
the
খারাপ
map here.
গেছে
A lot
বেচারা
of teams fairly already inside of the map. The map looks so still very much hugging that side of the circle, and I think it's been giving them dividends toward the end of the day as well. Because while they struggled in the beginning, they start to understand and adapt how exactly they can, I would would say, weaponize this I would say edge of the circle situations. Either they become the team to gatekeep, or they can just wait out all of these teams fighting in the middle side of the circle,
আজকে এত
and then
ইজি হবে
finally
না,
try
এটা
and go
বুঝতেছে
into
সবাই।
collapse after when everyone's a bit more weaker.
Nice angle with the jump guy managed to actually get near towards the tower by the bridge towards Santosa.
বাংলাদেশে খেলা কালকে কয়টা? কালকে বাংলাদেশে খেলা 7টার সময়। সবগুলো ম্যাচই এই টুর্নামেন্টে 7টার সময় হবে। আজ কোন গ্রুপের খেলা? আজ হচ্ছে গিয়ে বি আর সি গ্রুপের খেলা। ভাই খেলা কিন্তু জমে গেছে এখন এই লাস্ট জোনের দিকে। সো এখানে কিন্তু ভয়ঙ্কর কিছু ফাইট দেখবো আমরা। ওরা তো কিল করে না এখন। না না না, ওইটা পজিশন পয়েন্ট না, ওটা বোনাস পয়েন্ট। সবাই 2 করে দিছে।
Meanwhile, here is a small replay from Alpha R7 with a nice hit shot towards Crime, but Crime was there.
স্লো মোশনে দেখাইতেছে।
So aiming R7.
Yeah, R7 taking a lot of pressure right now, just trying to rotate from under that bridge now. And
একটা গাছের পিছনে কভার নিয়ে প্লেয়ার আগে লঞ্চ প্যাডটা মেরে রাখছে। এই যে নক হইছে, সাথে সাথে রাশ।
And most importantly, Winston just rushing up forward, trying to play that first contact play. R7 now questioning whether or not they want to take this fight. They're retreating away. They're like, you know what, you want this bridge, let's take it. We don't want to take this fight fairly early. It's still too soon, and we don't want to go down. But Fluxo says, okay, if you don't want to fight us, fine. Let's move our sights over to Vitality.
ওইটাই তো সবাই 2 করে বোনাস পয়েন্ট। তো বোনাস না, এটা তো 2 করে ফ্রিতে দিয়ে রাখছে, এটা বোনাস।
But now teams are approaching towards the new zone. There you go, the siren is out and movement from players.
কি পজিশন? ওই যে নয়ের তুমি প্লেস পয়েন্টের কথা বলতেছো? হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ, ওইটাই কইলাম। কালকেও তো সেম ভাবে আছিল। আমি প্রথমে মনে করছিলাম কি সবাইরে ফ্রিতে জাস্ট 2 করে বোনাস দিয়ে রাখছে।
They are still waiting for anyone that comes through.
ওকে, এখানে কিন্তু ব্লু বুরিরামের খেলা দেখতে পাচ্ছি। এখন কিন্তু ওরা জোনের বাইরে, ওদেরকে জোনে ঢুকতে হবে। দেখা যাক ওরা কি করে। ভাই ওদের সামনেই আছে ডিআরজি, আর ডিআরজি কিন্তু এখন পর্যন্ত খালি পিটাইতেছে, দেখতেছে ভালো ফর্মে আছে, ভালো একটা ফায়ার পথ। দেখে তো মনে হয় এখানে ভাই জোনটা দিতে দেখছো পুরো ওপেন ফিল্ডে, কোনো ঘরবাড়ি কিছু নাই। জোন ওপেন ফিল্ডে হচ্ছে গিয়ে সবাই ভাই ওরা দেখছো ডিআরজের ওরা কি স্ট্র্যাটেজিটা মেইনটেইন করতেছে যে জোনে ঢুকবে না, জোন খাবে, তারপরও এটুকের মধ্যে 9টা টিম ওরা জোনে না ঢুকে এখানে ফোকাস করে আছে। কারণ ওই সাইডে 2 স্কোয়াডের ফাইট চলছে। ওই জায়গায় অলরেডি ফাইট শুরু হয়ে গেছে, দেখো এফ এর সাথে ফ্লুক্সের ফাইট হয়ে গেছে, আর আর কি এর সাথে ভাই সব জায়গায় ফাইট। ব্রডকাস্টার একসাথে কয়টা ফাইট দেখে? পুরিরাম 2টা ফিনিশ দিছে, পুরো ফিনিশ দিছে। ওই ইয়াদের প্লেয়ার মনে হয় ভিআইটি এর প্লেয়ার। দেখেন অনিকের 3টা শেষ, লাস্ট প্লেয়ার অনিকের ফুল স্কোয়াড শাটডাউন। এই জায়গায় 2টা টিম রে ওয়াইপ করছে ওরা। 2টা টিম ওয়াইপ করে না, মানে একটা টিম রে পুরো খেয়ে দিছে, আর একটা টিমে যে ও এএফ এর, ওই যে এএফ এর সাথে যে ফাইট হইছিল একটা প্লেয়ার আছে সার্ভাইভ। এই যে শেষ, এই যে শেষ। 2টা টিম রে ভাই একসাথে 2 স্কোয়াডের সাথে ফাইট 2টারই খেয়ে দিছে ভাই। এখন পজিশনের কথা যদি চিন্তা করো তাহলে সিএক্স কে ভালো পজিশন আছে ভাই। এই ডিআরজির আর বুড়িরামের মধ্যে যে বাচ্চা থেকে হবে বুইয়া। ওরা ফার্স্ট ম্যাচ পজিশন হোল্ড করে রাখবে। ওরে ভাই দিছে সিএসকে R7 শেষ, R7 ওয়াইপ আউট। বাট এখানে ডিআরজি এর 3টা প্লেয়ার শেষ করে দিয়েছে বুড়িরাম। লাস্ট প্লেয়ার বেঁচে থাকো। এখন হচ্ছে কি 4টা টিম আছে, 4টা টিম লাস্ট জোন। ভাই কি লেভেলের ফাইটটা হইতাছে এই জায়গায় কি পরিমাণ প্রেসারটা দিতেছে একদিকে উপরের প্রেসার একদিকে বামের প্রেসার এই জায়গায় ফুল স্কোয়াড বসে আছে আর এখানে মসি ওই যে ডিআরজি রে শেষ করে দিয়েছে বাট এখন কিন্তু যদি হিসাব করো তাহলে কিন্তু বুইয়াটা কিন্তু সিএক্স কে পেপারে আছে একটা পার্মানেন্ট কভার নিয়ে বসে তার মধ্যে হচ্ছে গিয়ে জোনটা ওদের ফেভারে জোনটা আবার হচ্ছে গিয়ে ফ্লুকজোর ফেভারে ওই তো আবার জোনের দিকে জোন যখন মুভ করবে তখন কিন্তু আবার বুড়িরাম কাজে লাগে তার কোনো হাই অ্যাডভান্টেজ জোন হচ্ছে ফ্লুকজোর কাছে ওইটাই বললাম হ্যাঁ কই তুমি দেখো ফ্লুকজোর ম্যাপের দিকে দেখো ম্যাপের রোটেশন না কিন্তু দেখো ওই জায়গায় ফ্লুকজোর দিকে টানতাছে ফ্লুকজোর কাছে জোন এই যে এই সাইডে দেখছো ম্যাপে এটা ওইভাবে বোঝা যায় না তোমার লোগো দেখে বুঝতে হইব দিছে ফ্লুকজোর একটা এই রিভাইভ দিয়ে দিছে ওরে ওইদিকে ফাইটিং এর থাকার কারণে ওরে রিভাইভ দিতে শুরু হোয়াট ভাই ডাবল হেডশটটা ওই সব জায়গাতে লিটারালি আর ফ্লুকজোর সবগুলো শেষ একটা স্নাইপার ও ভাই আবার একটা নক বাই করছিল বাট এখানে ফ্লুকজোর শেষ হয়ে গেছে বুড়িরাম ভাই রে ভাই 18 কিলে বুইয়া 30 পয়েন্ট এক ম্যাচে 30 পয়েন্ট
explosive in how they played as well. Very quiet at the beginning of the game, but once they said it's go time, it was time to go. They were just dominating every team that had to pass them to get into that circle. They get kept.
বাংলাদেশ কালকে কই পাই খেলা কালকে এই পেজেই লাইভ হবে ভাইয়া এই পেজেই সবগুলা টুর্নামেন্টের সবগুলা ম্যাচ লাইভ হবে কোনো প্যারা নিও না ফাইনাল থেকে শুরু করে সব
They were so aware on how exactly the rotations of all the teams were going to be. They did not have the advantage of the zone. Using
কালকে যদি এরকম একটা ম্যাচ হয় তাহলে মনে হচ্ছে শিওর ফাইনালটা
a nice crossfire as well, so that it becomes a meat grinder for any team in
একটা ম্যাচ
between
টার্নিং
them.
পয়েন্ট এই যে দেখো ওরা যে ফার্স্ট ম্যাচটা এমনি এত ডমিনেট করে যে বুইয়া নিল না পরবর্তী ম্যাচগুলোতে দেখবে আরো বেশি মেরে খেলবে
in just game 1
ওকে কনফিডেন্স থাকবে অন্য
game at EWC 2025 that is way beyond imagination here for Buriram
মানে হিটার টাইপ
and yeah their strategy of trying
ওইটাই
to
মনে হয়
focus
হিটার
hit
টাইপের
their game on the mid and late of
আরে এই যে
the
পিছে
start of the match
ফ্লুকজোর মাল
played off really well and what I could say from Buriram is that during the final moments of the match they were in a very nice angle to
কত 15 বয়স তো 15
Yeah, but for now we're gonna go for a quick break. After this, more Free Fire EWC coming at you.
আসলে কি বয়সটা ওইভাবে ডিফাইন করা উচিত না 13 প্লাস হইলি আমার মতে এটা কারণ প্লেয়ার যদি ভালো হয় তাহলে 13 বছর 14 বছর 15 বছর এগুলো ফেক না
না ওটা রেস্ট্রিকশন আছে কারণ হচ্ছে ভাই যে মানে পড়ালেখার বিষয় তো ভাই মানে
না পড়ালেখার ইস্যু হিসাব করে কিন্তু এর নেই গেমটার ইয়া করে দিছে যে 13 প্লাস বয়সের হইলে তাইলে হচ্ছে গেম ইনস্টল তাহলে টুর্নামেন্ট গুলো অবভিয়াসলি 13 14 করে দাও বেশি কারণ এই ছোটগুলাই অ্যাটম বম হয় ঠিক আছে যেমন আমাদের ব্লেড ছোট মরিচ জাল বেশি
আমি একমত ভাই ছোট যারা এরা গেম খেলতে বা আমার ফোকাস বেশি ভাই এদের অন্য কোনো চিন্তা নাই ভাই
ওরা গেমটারে প্রচুর সিরিয়াস নেয় প্রচুর
মানে ওদের তো অন্য চিন্তাও নাই আনতো ভাই মানে ওরা জাস্ট একদিকে ফোকাস দিয়ে খেলতে
সেটাই কইলাম যে এই ছোট মরিচ গুলা ঝাল বেশি থাকে বাংলাদেশে যেমন ব্লেড ছোট মরিচ অ্যাটম বম তেমনি ওই যে অন্যান্য টিমগুলোতেও ছোট মরিচ গুলারও অ্যাটম বম হয় বাংলাদেশ টিম কই বাংলাদেশের টিম আছে না কালকে ভাই ওরা অন্য গ্রুপে হ্যাঁ ভাই আমাদের বাংলাদেশে কি খবর বাংলাদেশের RHK 32 পয়েন্ট নিয়ে এখন পর্যন্ত টেবিলে আছে কালকে ওদের ম্যাচ আবার 8টার সময় কালকে 6 ম্যাচ পরেই ডিসাইড হবে কারা যাবে ফাইনালে এই সিমন ফাইনালের প্রেডিকশন দাও তো কারা কারা যাইবো
lihat nih gua pasang gluol gua lempar bom terus musuhnya rata
gimana milai tuh
gimana tuh lu udah tunjukin ini ke kita 7 kali tapi setiap gua tunjukin ini keren kan
আমি কই আমি দাঁড়াও 6টা টিম রে হচ্ছে গিয়ে বাদ রাখ 6টা টিমের মধ্যে দেখি কয়টা পর্যন্ত ডি গ্রুপের বিয়ারু বাতিয়া বুঝছো বাট ডিআরজি ও তো কিল করছে ডিআরজি আছে ওই ডিআরজি আর ব্লু ওরা দুইটা বাদ দিয়ে বাকি সবটিতে মারা কাক একটা টিম মারা এটাই করতে পারলেই সবচেয়ে ভালো হইব বুঝছো বাই দ্য ওয়ে গাইস যারা স্ট্রিমটা দেখতেছো ওরা ধরে স্ট্রিমটা শেয়ার করে দাও লাইক দাও না লাইক দিয়ে দাও কালকে কিন্তু বাংলাদেশে খেলা আমরা আরো বেশি চিল করে কিন্তু বাংলাদেশে খেলা দেখবো বাংলাদেশকে সাপোর্ট করব তো এই পেজে অবশ্যই ফলো করে রাখো
matchup and they did break some hearts as well unfortunately we
তাও
did
রাইট
see
ইন্টারভিউ
a
দিতে
lot
থাক
of hype for
তোমরা
the
হিসাব নিকাশ করতে থাকো আমি তো
Dragons,
আসতেছি
who looked to be a top contender in that round but unfortunately, you know, there can't be a dragon in no king's fairy tale. But panelists, we've got to break that game down because I think we learned a lot about Group C and the condition of Group B. Now, Raja, we're starting to see Fluxo come back. I was a little bit concerned about them towards the end of yesterday, but it seems like they've woken up for game number 1.
I think it was because in the first match, they are like being heavily targeted, you know, and right now they could like bring the real game that they want to put in AWC, and it's so good to see them playing like that because what a play from MT7. I mean, I'm really impressed about it. Even Buriran winning this match, I think it was like such an amazing play, and I'm so proud of them. And also, I want to mention that Buriran is doing really well, as all of us probably was expecting, right?
No surprises there, really. No surprises. But I think at the very least, we're just getting a bit of a, I don't know, a shift of identity compared to like groups A and B. Because groups A and B, we saw that teams were more willing to start chasing each other, more willing to actually approach fights a little more carefully and scarce. This time around, now we see that Group B as well as C, there are a couple of teams who just hot dropped. But do they get as much value as we thought? Dragons obviously being one of the bigger winners of them, but every other team that has been chasing them around, playing on the outer ring and looking to kind of maintain the damage that certain teams have gotten, didn't really get as many points as I was imagining. But R7 was doing better than Fluxo because of that.
Yeah, definitely. But strategic-wise, that's normally the Buriram thing. Buriram United does that. Stay in the edge of the circle, really doesn't deal with a lot of engagement at first, and towards the end, as soon as they secured a decent placement point, then that's when they bring it on. And Abuya they took, but again, Dragons almost like really survived that fight. If it wasn't for Buriram United, they could have lasted a little bit longer.
I mean, they got rid of EVOS, they got rid of LOS as well, two major favorites to really perform today. So we might have to keep an eye on the Dragons because, I mean, for game number 1 to look like that, lots of promise already, but we are going to be shifting over to a new map, unfortunately. Purgatory, we'll have to see if they can perform just as well on that map. Let's talk about some teams that did not look good in our first round, okay? Gideon, let's start with you. Who do you think needs to pick up their feet after game number 1?
Oh, hey, let's just go back to the vitalities of this world. Oh, we got to talk about that. I mean, I don't want to, you know, hound on EVOS Divine, but I definitely think that, unfortunately, this time round, Vitality is definitely struggling a lot more. I think that even with RRQ at the end of the day, they can secure the initial points, but it feels like a very Indonesian thing of once we smell blood in the water, we get a little too much hype, or in Indonesia, they're like, gas, 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 which is gas, 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 gas. Just throw more fuel onto the fire, and that usually bites them in the butt.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like it. They like match number 1. It's 3 Indonesian team who has been taken out a little bit too early, so it's really tough right now for the region. But I guess for those just coming in from Group C, it's just a starters. It's just a warm up. Vitality really have to like double the hustle. This is their last chance, and we're expecting them to do a lot more because we thought they did a lot more before coming to EWC.
Okay, I kind of want to bring up a discussion because, Neptune, I'm so glad you brought up the Indonesian teams. So I think leading up to today's matches, a lot of people looked at the groups and they thought, okay, for Group C, Buriram and the Indonesians. But unfortunately for the Indonesians, they just didn't look that great in today's matches. Now, keep in mind as well, this was their first game here at EWC, so maybe they're feeling a little bit cold. Do you think they may have fallen into this trap where they play their traditional style, which is a little bit slower?
Well, I would say it's okay if they go a little bit slower. It just so happens that, again, first day into the mix, it's a little bit scrappy. You might not be dealing with those in Group B because you know their drop spot, but judging from who took them down, it is the ones from the same group. So, it's just a exit strategy that they need to work on, especially on match number 2.
I think also the adjustments that have been made by some of the teams in Group B, but a majority of Group C that we did see rotating very early on into Pochadok to kind of hold that final position as soon as possible. I think this just goes to show this is the problem with Group B. You play early, people see your strategies, Group C is able to kind of come in not only fresh, but adjust, and I think that's why a few teams in Group B are looking ahead of time to say, hey, we need to take the space now. If not, we're going to be in a lot of trouble later.
Well, thank you so much, panelists. It looks like match number 2 is ready to go. So let's fly on over to our casters as we get ready to play on Purgatory.
All right, to reiterate what our panelists said, yep, the Indonesian region for game number 1 does not look so good. We've seen how EVOS got eliminated on 12th place, meanwhile Vitality on 10th. RRQ was the last hope, but due to the placement of landmines by Core Memory, exited them on 5th place. So coming into Purgatory, I believe this is the time for the Indonesian teams, RRQ, EVOS, and also Olnik, show us something what they are worth of.
Yeah, I think this is a moment where they really have to wake up, especially when you are in Group B. This is your last day. Regardless, coming into today as well. You know, what's really exciting, I think, because Buram United really stored us a really hot start. 30 points is incredible with 18 eliminations plus that Booyah as well. We would really shoot them up into the top side of that ladder as well. I mean, as we know, teams in Group C are playing catch-up. They are the teams that haven't played today as well. But they are in a situation, great situation, knowing that since Group B is about to leave, they can have the pleasure of being the teams to push the Group B down, and I think this is exactly what they are hoping to do here with these early fights, especially since R7 has already found Noki fairly quickly. That's the first point in the pocket, very precious.
Again, an early elimination here for team Movistar Rainbow 7. They did the same while in Bermuda previously. However, this time around, they could only manage to find one member from Team Onyx. And it looks like Noki has revived back. However, I believe he might go back to the grey screen yet again as Noki drops nearby.
এখানে কিন্তু সেকেন্ড ম্যাচ শুরু হয়ে গেছে, বাট এখন পর্যন্ত কি ক্ল্যাশ হইছে কারোর সাথে কারো?
Lone Malaysia representative here in EWC has to survive the push from R7.
বাট ওর উপরে এখন পড়ে গেছে দুইটা প্লেয়ার।
Games King is bringing a friend, so Noki could not
কি সুন্দর কেমন ড্যামেজ এখানে একটা শট খেয়ে জাস্ট
another point given towards R7.
Twice to the same opponent is just devastating. Wasn't
Onyx
brought
player,
back
no.
into the game immediately.
Ramarakak, bhai,
We're starting to
Ramarakak.
see this pattern of teams really just chasing, you know, their
Ramarakak,
all the way to the
Ramarakak
ends of
karo,
this earth as our
the C group is.
really gonna find,
Or a big group
you know,
is.
the smell
Yeah,
of
C group
blood
is.
and water here because DRG just circling them like sharks. They have a lot of space to work with on the outside of the area. They can play off sound cues, they can play
এই
off,
জায়গায়
you know,
সবাই
some
মোটামুটি
micro angles as well.
চ্যাম্পিয়ন
They
বা
even
মনে করো
try
রানার্স আপ বা টপ 3
tries with some
বা 5
free fire spikes,
সি এর
nothing
মধ্যে
but
হচ্ছে
yes,
টপ 9
RRQ has
পর্যন্ত
really
দিচ্ছে।
moved themselves outside, but Remind is just so aware what Dudes might be. Dudes
তো
falls,
ওকে
and
ফায়ার পাওয়ার তো দেখুন ভালোই বাট
so
দুইটা
try to
প্লেয়ার শেষ
answer back,
ভাই
and they do.
এখন
DRG now
বেরিয়ে
in trouble,
Timo
but they are
এই একটা
rallying
জায়গায়
back.
এন
Shouldn't
লাগে
be too
দিলি
hard
তুই
to bring Remind back into the
Timo
game.
নেই খেলতে
Simox, it looks like he has to hide himself for the current time being, trying to prolong Dragon's survivability. But it looks like it will not be for long as Hotshot is coming in slowly.
Indonesian team.
He's pushing towards Simox. Simox won and that
Yes.
fight.
Last player,
And
yes,
not only Yasir.
কি শেষ হয়ে যাবে নাকি গাইস কি মনে হয় এখানে
Dragon has to sit down as he is
বাট এখানে থার্ড পার্টি হয়ে গেছে হটশট ঢুকে গেছে আবার তো এখানে ইয়াসের হচ্ছে কি লাস্ট প্লেয়ার মাঝখানে স্যান্ডউইচ গ্রিন বসে আছে বাট এখান থেকে হটশট লাস্ট পর্যন্ত এখানে ইয়াসিরকে কি স্পট মেরে দিছে মনে হয় শেষ সাজিদ ছেড়ে দিছে মেরে দিছে
First team to be eliminated in Purgatory.
But you're not done. RRQ here is just being very quick right now. Hot shots as well will eat the brunt of that
Action
damage.
by
Quick put of that glove down just really isolate this fight here. Hasuixi, what are you gonna do here? Trying to find the right way to swing.
RRQ শেষ RRQ এর অবস্থা খুব খারাপ
With those shots, the better gun as well. Means
একজন প্লেয়ার আগেই বের হয়ে গেছে
cannot
আস্তে করে
Hold
সবাইকে
on. That's
cover
3
করতে হবে।
eliminations in Hot Shot's name.
RRQ managed to actually sneak one member
ওই জায়গায়
away
DRG
from
রে শেষ
Fire
করে দিয়া।
Brigade. That is a very good engagement done by Hotshot. They
R7,
waited for
RRQ
Dragons and
অনেক
RRQ
lost.
to finish
এগুলো মারা
their
খাক।
bout before coming in. They
DRG
found
already
Yasser
খাইছে,
hiding in
এগুলো
one of the ruins nearby, taking down Dragons at 12th place and almost eliminated RRQ. So right now with 3 elimination points early
পূর্ব রে,
for Hotshot, they
মানে
are smiling.
তোমার
Meanwhile, we're looking at
overall
Core
standing
Memory
না অনেক হাড্ডা
journeying themselves towards
one-sided.
fields. Nearby is actually Evol's Vine.
কালকে ইভোস
And,
আর হচ্ছে গিয়া
We might see
Football,
another
খেলা
Thailand
দেখাইছে
and
আবার ইয়া,
Indonesian interaction here for game number 2.
আজকেও আবার
As Team Core Memory
কুড়িগ্রামে খেলা
Dawn.
দেখে।
And then, fun fact, Dawn is
বাংলাদেশে
that member
ছেলেদের নাম
from
কি RHK,
KOG.
বাংলাদেশে
That's why Core
আছে?
Memory ex-KOG comes
আছে।
about. Because there is an existence of Dawn Boot.
I'm surprised the DRG got knocked out this early. Granted, their performance in map 1 was just super bombastic. But I have to say, a lot of teams are very much ready, a lot more ready, if you ask me, to deal with the aggression that they dished out on game number 1, and they are severely punished for it, which is honestly expected. I think after this, DRG will think twice before really going aggressive on the get-go, probably rethinking how exactly they want to work with their execution coming into the next map.
I think that the way they tried to execute was good. It's just that maybe the members are a little bit slow, a bit late to actually provide refrags when one of their member went down, because it was a good strategy to use the Skylar to block any kind of blue wall on that second floor, so they could actually get domination on the second floor and just focus those RRQ on the first. But however, when they started to go on the first floor, the members on the second floor are still up there, didn't come out. So the members outside went in, goes to the first floor, RRQ spots them, instantly knocked 2 of them. The members from the second floor then only came out, and to see the carnage has been done. RRQ has weakened them by number, so Dragons just defeated just like that.
Yeah. To say they were just a little bit too greedy in terms of the execution, if you ask me. You want to really quickly come into the building, all 4 jumping in at once without leaving someone outside to scout. And there is that possibility. I mean, you want one player outside to scout with the possibility of a flank or for a long-range fragger. You just have no clue. And I think they went all in a little bit too soon. Now, moving on here, let's look at the rotations where a lot of majority of the teams are currently still playing outside the circle. And most importantly, just still hugging the sides here. And this could be huge when it comes to those rotations later, because it does put teams in a high pressure situation when it comes to these fights. Like this one right now, we're looking in front of our faces.
Alright, and you can see that the first zone is almost finished. There is a mass amount of players
বাঙালি
like in
হওয়াটা
field. We
আমাদের
got
দোষ না, আমাদের
Vitality,
বাঙালি হইয়া
Evol's
সমীকরণ
Core
মিলন না
Memory,
দোষ।
Alpha 36,
কিছু তো সমীকরণ ভাই,
Alpha,
ফুটবলের
34,
সমীকরণ,
and also
ক্রিকেটের
Buriram
সমীকরণ,
all
ক্রিকেটের
in
কথা
the
বাদে
same
দিলাম, এটা তো
vicinity.
সমীকরণ ছাড়া
Rainbow
জীবনও
7
নরমালি
right
আমরা
up
কোয়ালিফাই
north
করি
after
নাই।
they finished their loot
এটা
in
করতে হবে,
Mod
এটা
House.
করতে হবে, আমাদের এটা করতে
Meanwhile,
হবে,
Onyx
প্লাস
Olympus is
অপোনেন্টের
nearby
এটা
lost
করতে
as
হইব, খালি নিজে
Keylodge
ওটা করলে
on
হইব
the
না।
south side. RRQ still yet to enter the zone. Mal might be meeting with Fluxo,
আমাকে নিজে করতে
and
কি
Hotshot still playing it
টেনশন হয়,
safe
অপোনেন্ট
right
কি করতেছে না
around
করতেছে
Lumber
ওইটার উপর।
Mill. Meanwhile, RRQ are by all alone in Marble
ভাই
Woods
এই
Quarry.
ম্যাচেও জোন
So I
করব ওপেন
believe that Abai might be the anchor for RRQ. Meanwhile, in Central, Fluxo going in.
Oh man, Mal could not even hold on. Just thought he was being very sneaky, just trying to hide right outside of plain sight here, hoping that the Fluxo boys not find him. Unfortunately for him, they sniffed out blood faster than sharks in the water. So he was quickly taken care of as well. But it shouldn't be too much of a
তোমার
problem
খালি
for RRQ
মানে
at
লোগো
all,
দেখা
as
দেখা
the other teams
লোগো
are
দেখা
still
দেখা
trying to
বুঝতে
find their
হবে
way
যে কোন
into the
দিকে
circle here. Lost, we did see a brief encounter by them earlier, but it wasn't really a full commit in terms of fights either. So there is that really slow, at least for the time being, agility in between the two. Oh, not for long. Onyx tried to go in, and now General just shoots them out, swatting them away from the sky like flies, and Onyx could not do anything to stop the onslaught. This is heartbreaking for the team with a whole bunch of points falling into Loss's pockets. This is exactly what Loss needs to make up for that previous game.
Spot on by General, spotting that jump pad coming in with just the SVD in hand, taking down not SVD, Woodpecker, taking down one by one of members Team Onyx. The last particular member did not actually come into the jump at the jump, so managed to save Team Onyx for the current time being. But yet again, kudos to General spotting the movement and a very
ম্যাচ তো মারা খেয়ে গেছে ওই লাস্ট
foolish decision
তিনটা ম্যাচে
by
20 পয়েন্ট
Onyx
আসলে
trying to
ওই তো
engage in that kind
20 পয়েন্ট বাদ
of
দাও 15
way.
পয়েন্ট আনলে অনেক হইতো
Even with that said, Onyx still has the room to revive everyone back in, as we are still within the early stages of the match. Teams in fields is having their spot taken one by one, so they're going to cap it out. Meanwhile, Loss has entered the new zone, so they're going to wait. Meanwhile, Hotshot finally exited Lumber Mill right now, waiting nearby campsite in this ruin area here to see whether or not they could catch any players moving about.
R7 is doing phenomenal work. The same could be said about RRQ as well. In a lot of situations for RRQ here, interestingly enough, we see them in the back foot, like, you know, Mal getting
Huya na
knocked
korlo kalke
outside or,
kill points
you know,
থাকতে
them
পারে
inside of
Huya
a
করতে পারলে তো
compound,
কিল
right?
এমনি আপ
But
করব
for RRQ, they are
ভাই ওরা পুরো লঞ্চ প্যাড মেডাল মারা খাইছে কেমনে
a bad situation into a good one is what I
Launch
want
pad
to
টা মারছে
really
আর
commend
ফ্রিতে
here. You know, the beautiful shot just now we saw from General. Nasty stuff, if you ask me. And it's just really just slowly giving Loss, you know, that head start to be able to quickly claw them, redeem themselves from the, I would say, a quite dismal first map, if you ask me.
All right, it looks like members from Onyx Olympus is slowly coming back into our purgatory. Meanwhile, we're looking at Fluxo moving towards campsite, nearing themselves towards Team Hotshot. They are still outside of the zone. Currently, the damage from the zone is not so severe. They could still
কালকের
tank
লবি
it. As
আরো
you can
বেশি
see,
ভয়ঙ্কর হইব
MP7 has
A3 লবি
6
সবচেয়ে বেশি
map
ভয়ঙ্কর
kits
হইব
that can be used.
কারণ
So
ওখানে
it's fine
বুড়িরাম ভার্সেস
for him and his team to
RHK
actually
দেখবো
still be outside. Meanwhile, teams that
আবার
are
ফ্যালকনসরা
inside
থাকবে
are looking okay. Some are camping in their own spot. Meanwhile, some are still finding ways to rotate within the current zone. And RRQ is slowly gathering. They are currently on campsite nearby to Fluxo. So we just have to see what will happen to RRQ after this.
Vitality still continuing that. First one of the first few into
Hey,
that
RedHawks
circle. The
করে
amount
ভাই,
of teams on
RedHawks
the
তো কালকে
eastern side of
খেলবে
the circle
আবার।
is kind of,
কালকে
you know,
খেলছে আবার,
surprisingly.
আমি
You have
কালকে।
EVOS Divine there, BRU is close by, Alpha 34, including Core Memory as well. This is going to be a very, very big fight. The last time this happened, yeah, this exactly this. Because the EVOS this time around tries to be a bit more aggressive. They get the first knock forward here, but the amount of bodies thrown into the compound, and Aim God is just doing a
ইবোসের সাথে কিন্তু
phenomenal
একটা
job
ফাইট
of just
ইবোসের প্লেয়ার কিন্তু
juking
লুজ হইছে এখানে
every
এএফ এর
single
সাথে
player
ফাইট
that
এএফ এর
comes
দুই
into
দুইটা
the
প্লেয়ার
area.
শেষ
AF could
ইবোসের
not
একটা
hold on.
প্লেয়ার
There
নক
was
হইলো
2 players
রিভাইভ
already,
কিন্তু
with the
পেয়ে যেতেছে
only
বারবার
casualty
আর
from EVOS
এখানে
right now
কিন্তু
is
এএফ এর
Slay.
অবস্থা খুবই
Quickly
খারাপ
fall
লাস্ট
back into
প্লেয়ার
the
লাইফ
game right
থাকবে
now, and
আর
EVOS
বাট এই
have
জায়গায়
done.
কিন্তু
They've
থার্ড পার্টি করে
injured their
দিছে
sides,
বুড়িরাম
the players of Burirang
বুড়িরামরা
United.
কিন্তু এখানে থার্ড পার্টি করতে চলে আসছে আবার ওদিকে আছে সিএক্স কে সব মিলে হচ্ছে গিয়ে চারটা টিম একই জায়গায় এখানে ইভোস বুড়িরাম সিএক্স কে আর হচ্ছে গিয়া ওইটা কে এএফ এএফ এর ডাব্লিউ লিউ একই বেঁচে আছে বাট এখানে শেষ রক্ষাটা তার হবে না এই দাও RRQ #11 আর #10 এএফ এলিমিনেট হয়ে গেছে এএফ রা মারা খেয়ে যাবে এএফ এর পয়েন্ট তো বেশি নেই কালকে তো আজকে যদি ওরা মারা খেয়ে যায় ওকে শেষ এএফ রা মারা খেয়ে যায় 49 পয়েন্ট মারা খেয়ে যায়
They have lost Wasana, the Russia. Meanwhile, Onyx has been found. They are eliminated on 9th place. What chaos is happening right now?
There's a lot of things going on here, but I have to say, Burirang United was waiting for the right opportune moment to go aggressive, but EVOS Divine was very much ready for it. Burirang United has lost so many bodies with only 2 members left. Get Haya Moshi side by side here. Individually, these players are brilliant, but against the
ফ্লুক্স তো এমনি মোটামুটি শিওর থাকে কোয়ালিফাই করে নেবে বুঝছো ওগোটা যে আমরা এটাই তো পেলাম যে ওগো যদি আমরা নাও করি ওই যে ফ্লুক্স তারপরে সিএক্স কে ইভোস এগুলা যদি আমরা নাও চাই তাও কোয়ালিফাই করব
continues from yesterday, and EVOS this time are happy to take this win. They didn't do too well the first time, but they want to continue this streak. All these fights are just taking up
হ্যাঁ
one
12 তো
by one because
100
Core
হইলো
Memory has
কারণ
been
কয়েকটা
waiting
টিম
in the
পয়েন্টই
wings,
করতে পারবে না
waiting
দেখো
for the right
50
time to
করতে
strike.
Meanwhile, we're looking at Hotshot with Vitality. Koja and Dix lost the fight, as well as Fires from the shot from Jam at the back, basically helping Hotshot. Vitality eliminated on 6th place, and now Hotshot trying to get some kills in, managed to get a few shots on towards Team Core Memory. However, Joker steals the knock from Hotshot, taking down Zen as one, and now Core Memory still outside of the zone is in by Hawks together with shot from Hotshot, and Jump contributed a point.
রে আটকে গেল কে আটকে গেল আমার নাকি
On here for Team Rainbow 7 and Hotshot moving towards the front, might be facing Rainbow 7 soon, but for core memory KOG, Cougar and Don is the only one left and they have no place to go. They have to move in the open. They have to pray. Their teams are currently fighting while they are moving, and yes, their prayer is answered because Rainbow 7 currently putting bullets towards Hotshot.
Oh man, R7 rushes up forward here. He's spotted out all the members of where Hotshots might be here. It's just about making that space to get the closer shot. But they have to also be aware of the CXK also close by as well here. And R7, they're sandwiched. They're in a very, very dangerous position. Their glue walls are getting eliminated right now. But Lost somehow joins in the fray as well. Getting as many eliminations as they can. And still very much alive on the floor. Nano9 is just slowly making sure that he can keep an eye out to Joker.
But এখানে R7 the sniper player Joker কে হারাবে
and Lost, this is the loss that we want to see, the loss that
Simon কে নিব
Raja
বুইয়া
to death was hyping up about.
আমার কেন জানি মনে হচ্ছে লসটা নিব কিল পয়েন্টও বেশি আবার এদিকে ফায়ার পাওয়ারও ভালো দেখাচ্ছে
A very unique strategy being done by one of the Pakistani players here. Sajid Fani goes out. Good kind of backstab, managed to steal a kill on side there. But then Sajid finally taken down, hot shot on for left with 3. And all of them are Latin American teams. There you go. Movie R7 is now gone. It's only Brazil. Brazil 1v1. It's going to be
versus Lost. They did the guys.
Will they contribute towards the list of Booyah, similar to Pain Gaming? Let's see how it will end.
That's a beautiful naked for out, but quickly find out Bunsin, and the rest is just going to collapse. They rush forward here, but Lost answers. They rally.
Second match 28 point.
Really looking for Lost. What an incredible game coming from this team. They have great at collapsing, they're great at rushing, and most importantly, Nando9, he looks hot right now.
Oh, that was a surprise, and actually it was like just one done. Oh no, I could not see it. How did they manage to get it? And was it a grenade kill? Was it the zone? But yeah, Lost with the Booyah. Another Brazilian team managed to get first place in their match after Pain Gaming. And for Fluxo on second place, they did well. They maintained their ground quite strong. They flushed out a lot of members. They flushed out team Core Memory, they flushed out team Araku, they flushed out a lot of teams from the match. And meanwhile, Hotshot, they've tried their best, but sadly could not end the game well. And that is game number 2, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back here for our next match.
Quadric.
দুই ম্যাচ শেষের ওভারঅল স্ট্যান্ডিং দেখলেই বোঝা যাবে যে কি অবস্থা তো
What's up, Free Fire fam? I'm Karlo Bombshell, and I'm happy to be here for Free Fire at AWC 2025. And I'm also happy to be reunited with Los, the team from Brazil. Welcome, guys. We are going to play a fun game here. Basically, one of them will get a paper, and he can
কম না হওয়ার পিছনেও বড় রিজন হচ্ছে মানে কম না হওয়ার পিছনেও
and the other two will have to guess what he's doing. Are you guys ready?
নতুন রোটেশন সব কিছু নতুন
Quem vai começar? Who's going to start?
ওগো খালি রোটেশন চেঞ্জ করে না ফ্যালকন ওর রোটেশন চেঞ্জ করে ওরা রোটেশন চেঞ্জ করে লাক এত খারাপ আর স্কিল এই জায়গায় হয় ফ্যালকন না লিবস ওগো লাগেই খালি করে না নরমাল টিমগুলা পায়
They're gonna guess.
Mapa de tesouro.
Vai.
Não. Mano, o que é isso aí, Rony? Mapa, só mapa. É um mapa.
Tá quente, tá quente. Come on, Nando.
Mapa terra. Lembro do fluxo.
যারা যারা স্ট্রিম দেখতেছো গাইস স্ট্রিম শেয়ার করে দাও স্ট্রিম শেয়ার করো যারা শেয়ার করো না শেয়ার করো ফলো করো না ফলো করো
Não, olha pro lado aí. Não, olha
লাইক
pro lado aí. Olha pro lado aí. Acabou.
Podem olhar já, vai.
Aqui, ó. Olha aqui, pô. Olha aqui, ó. Tem aqui embaixo também, pô.
Lojinha.
Que lojinha, mano?
Sei lá.
Tá, vamos pensar. Mano, pensa, mano.
É escudo.
Tá bom, ó, acabou o tempo.
Escudo.
Acabou o tempo, fala.
Que isso, inalador, tropa.
Inalador feio.
Inalador feio. Que
Gente,
isso?
não vamos dizer o que isso aqui parece, né? Mas.
Inalador feio.
Inalador.
Inhaler.
Isso. Deixa eu coletar um aqui. Down.
Tailandês?
Falcons.
Passando.
হার্ড ম্যাচ হবে আর মাত্র
Abai.
প্লেয়ারদের সাথে যে ইন্টারভিউ নেই ওগুলো
Agora só o Rigby não tem ponto.
কালকে আমরা RHK ইন্টারভিউ দেব
Bandeirão.
Emote.
E agacha.
Gelo. Parei primeiro, eu parei primeiro.
Você matou no agacha.
Agacha. Que porra é essa aqui? Agacha, eu entendi bandeirão.
Ele tá jogando o gelo dele. Vai, Rigby, sua vez.
Agacha. Ó, ponto foi pra mim. Olha o balão então.
Fecha o olho. Tá fechado meu olhinho.
আরএসকে 32 পয়েন্ট নিয়ে 11 ওভারঅল
Tá bom. Scar.
লাস্টে কি আছিল
Impossível. Ele vira pra escrever o bisão, velho.
Fechou, galera. Vai, Nando, sua vez.
Eu gostei.
Dá pra me acertar.
Eu
Dá pra
gostei.
me acertar também, então. Gancho.
Caramba, bom demais. Vai, Raoni, sua vez.
Na cara.
Último, vai,
কালকে
último,
12
vai.
নাম্বার
Ah, esse aqui dá pra fazer.
Essa é legal.
É.
Essa é legal, vai.
Posição, tá.
Crossbow.
Caramba.
Eu ia falar que flecha.
Eu ia falar que flecha, só que eu pensei qual que
And that's a wrap, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Luz. Enjoy your stay here in Riyadh. And also, good luck in the matches, all right? Go Brazil. That's all, guys. I see you at the Free Fire at AWC 2025.
Joga pra trás, Nero. Joga pra trás, vamos do Nando. Joguei. Aqui, ó, aqui na direita, tropa.
Quebrei dois Jôs. Volta mais comigo, vou fazer step pra nós.
Volta mais comigo, relaxa.
Ó, tô na esquerda, na minha direita tem, na direita. Porra aí, general.
Dentro que tem. Ô, general, vamos rushar aqui dentro,
Não,
general.
vem o caralho,
Vou jogar. Vem, desce, ó.
Desativei.
Tem, tem um.
Tirou outro,
Bateu,
porra.
vamos, caralho. Tomar no cu.
Boa, tropa.
Bora, caraca.
Bora, Ronildo.
Bora. Bora fumar, hein, tropa.
Welcome back to the Desk Survivors, and what a final circle! Are we at EWC or was that the Brazil final? LOS and Fluxo going head-to-head for that final scoring booyah, but I know Raja, she's got a lot to say about that because I think that was a final circle you've been looking forward to the most.
Yeah, it looks like the FFWS from Brazil. It was so interesting. And, well, they are kind of rivals in Brazil. So I think that, like, the crowd must be, happy to see them, like, fighting against each other. And it's so good to see them performing that good because that's what we were, like, expecting from them. Fluxo, I think it was like such a bad day yesterday for them. So today they can be much close of what they usually do in Brazil. And Los, it's a good start, but I mean the first match wasn't that good. But right now they can like show the Los play, you know, like the play style of them. And I would like to mention too about the R7 because they are like the Latam. They are from Latam, so they are playing so good too. And it's good to see because they are like the dream team from Latam. And well, I'm really proud of them. I don't know about you guys. I like to see Brazilians in that way, like just Brazilians in the ending of the safe zone.
I'm sorry, I thought my power ranking was like, I do believe that Brazil has a really good chance at getting this. I will admit that I have my doubts about our in a really good spot.
কি রে ভাই
And then hot shot happened. The monster truck shenanigans.
ট্রেনিং এ থাকে আর ম্যাচ খেলে এটা কইছি দুইটা
Honestly,
কইছি
I think that R7 might have had an
রাসেল আমি দুইটা বলছি
opportunity
না
to disrupt both Fluxo and as well as LOS in that final ring, right?
বিশ্বাস না হলে লাইভ চেক দাও আমার লাইভ চেক দাও আমি যা কইম এটা তো প্রমাণ থেকে দেব লাইভ
One of these teams don't get to have as much fun.
Yeah, I mean that's quite different. Like that from what we've seen so far, and I love that Lost really is coming back strong. We did mention that Lost is coming from a different squad. It might be a different brand, but they're just returnees from EWC 24. So they have the experience. They also have their like rivals who they want to beat right now, and a lot of movements coming from Southeast Asia. So they're just being one big package of Free Fire champs.
Okay, we got to talk about groups because we've already gone through 2 games, and Group B is basically down to their final 4 games. How are Group B teams faring? Are they feeling kind of good, or do you think they actually need to pick it up a little bit? Because remember,
Third match এ বুইয়া কারা নিব
games you've already played 2 today.
I'll be real with you. I'm getting a little nervous, right?
RHK আগামী কাল 7টার সময় নেক্সট ম্যাচ RHK খেলবে and খেলা হবে কালারি ম্যাচ RHK খেলবে and খেলা হবে কালারি ভাই কেমন
something that you need at this stage.
আজকে তো RHK লবি নাই কালকে
I don't get the best positioning, but it's enough buffer for
Excitement
me to maintain my top spot overall.
Well,
CXK এটা কি বাংলাদেশ না না CXK না বাংলাদেশি টিমের নাম হচ্ছে কি RHK RedHawks
they could be today.
So আমি এসে hello
It's also good to add about Alpha 34 because it's one of the Brazilian team that is not clocking. So I don't know, it's gonna be so hard for them to like pass through the next stage. I mean pass through the point rush, you know. So they need some points and they are not doing really well today again. So it's gonna be hard. I don't know. They need to I mean they need to change like everything.
But এরকম এই যে টানা টানা চেহারা এগুলা টার্কিশ মুভিগুলোতে
They'll
দেখি
have 4 more
So,
chances to be able to
এরকম
do it if they adjust. Because
Welcome
it's
to
a
Thailand,
matter of
Thailand.
adjustment. We've seen Lost really make that adjustment. They lost out.
ভাই থাইল্যান্ড তারপরে থেকে নেপাল কিন্তু চেহারা দেখে বোঝা যায় না কোরিয়া সব একরকম লাগে
and
আমার
then grabbing that booyah. So I guess they already caught up. And other teams really need to do that. If you want to catch up
দেখে
the
বোঝা যায়
points,
না বাংলাদেশি গোল দেখলে যেমন বোঝা যায় হয় বাংলাদেশি নালে
just
ইন্ডিয়ান
keep your distance. You keep your rotation a little bit tighter, keep your
বাংলাদেশি
movement a little bit slower, and then catch up once you're in the final circle. At least you have a placement point. You can even shoot them from afar. Elimination wise, it adds up, and then possibly a win.
Okay, here's the thing though. Can you really afford to play slow when everyone else has decided to hit the ×2 button on these rounds?
That's the thing. I was about to bring up the exact same thing, right? Because I feel like right now, when we're looking at the overall rankings, just notice the teams that are generally
এই ম্যাচে বুড়িরাম পয়েন্ট করতে পারে না মাত্র 4 পয়েন্ট করছে তো এই হচ্ছে কি ওভারঅল স্ট্যান্ডিং দেখতে পাচ্ছি আমরা টিম ফ্যালকনস 98 পয়েন্ট নিয়ে আছে এখন পর্যন্ত গতকাল কি খেলছে সিএমএক্স আগে গেছে 98 পয়েন্ট আগে গেছে 96 পয়েন্ট রুকজো আগে গেছে 99 পয়েন্ট পিং কালকে খেলবে আবার হটশট আজকে খেলতেছে বালি আগে গেছে 73 পয়েন্ট টিম ব্যাটালিটি ওরা তো কালকে খেলছে আজকে মনে হয় খেলবে না আজকে খেলতেছে না আজকে খেলতেছে না কালকে খেলবে এটাও কালকে খেলবে বাট RHK 11 নম্বর ছিল এখন 12 নম্বর নেমে গেছে কিছুক্ষণ পরে হয়তো 13-14 তে নেমে যাবে
We need to make a move. Oh no. Everybody's keeping each other honest. We can't get out of this.
I guess one thing that the teams, especially from Group B, has to put in mind, at least 130. If you reach that number by the end of the day, then you're secured to be on the top 12.
Okay, Neptune, I do know you have some numbers in front of you. We're going into Kalahari next. Who needs these points on Kalahari? Who needs
কত বেশি পয়েন্ট থাকবো না
Well, definitely those who need them are, well, apart from those in Group C, Alpha 34, Team Vitality, Hot Shots, those teams, like, despite of how they wowed us, they still are not surviving a little bit longer. So they need to go for survivability in that map, because if you just go into the open, you will be hit by the snipers.
And not to mention that there are some notorious teams who are devastating on this map as well. It's going to lean into teams like RRQ, for an example.
Indonesians in general.
Then I think this is the starting point. If Indonesia wants to start to generate momentum for themselves to try and slingshot their way to eventually the point rush.
All right, analysts, thank you so much for sharing with us your know-how on what we're expected to see in our next matchup. Now, things are starting to heat up because we are just about ready to jump into Kalahari, but we're not quite there yet. So I think it's a good time to do a bit of a temperature check on the main stage. Husky, AJ, how's it feeling over there?
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, survivors of all ages, welcome to the temperature check here with your boys Mustachio and Husky. We know you guys have been waiting for this for quite a little bit. Husky, give us a lowdown of what happened yesterday, man.
We're going to start with day one of the Free Fire at EWC 2025. Team Falcons, they brought on the back 2 Booyahs out of 6 rounds back to the Falcons nest before teams like Virtus Pro, Vitality, Evols, and Pain Gaming bring the back home for themselves. But there are also other teams that cooked up a full course meal. Hotshot Esports from Pakistan, RedHawks from Bangladesh. They also tried to complete their service, but unfortunately, RedHawks dropped the plate at the last minute. But Hotshot Esports got a 5-star service. Certain teams struggled though on day number 1. For example, Vision System and Alpha 34. They tried to get in the kitchen, but they burned down the entire establishment instead. Hopefully, they can recover.
When they told me it was a temperature check, I expected the teams in Group B to start off this day hot, but it is Group C kicking off stuff here. Absolutely hot. In just game number 1, Buriram United East percent of whatever felt in the whole of the 6 games. But unfortunately, they flunked out in game number 2. It's all right because we need to give way for the rest of them as well. We've been waiting for the Brazilians to wake up for quite a while now. And the Lost Boys ain't lost anymore. They found their way to the final circle. They found their way to a Booyah as well. But you know what's the most surprising thing here? Hotshot. They are still keeping up, Husky.
Last year, we talked about Hotshot having an opportunity to qualify. They finished 15th place in the knockout stage, but this year is looking pretty good, getting closer and closer for that dream playoff
Guys, যারা
run
যারা stream
for
দেখতেছো
the
সবাই
Pakistani team.
share
But I
করে
gotta
দিও,
say,
notify
Boss,
লিখে
they
comment
come
করে
into
দিও।
this having players from last year finishing in 4th place in EWC 2024. The Brazilian team, they are hyping it up. Group C is getting hot.
Yeah, and of course, you guys are obviously looking for Fluxo as well. Fluxo, as always, I think nobody needs to be worried about Fluxo being hot because they've always remained chill. That's exactly what the Brazilians are made of. Absolute ice cold stuff in their veins. They're hanging around the mid-tier table at this point of time. Jumping up to the top is not what they're looking for. Consistency is key. At the end of the day, we are only looking for the top 12 teams, and I'm pretty sure they're going to be able to get there. But the question is, will Hotshots be able to keep up this momentum for themselves? Tomorrow, will RedHawks be able to heat themselves up with whatever that's happening here? Because you know what? They were on fire as long as you and I were on the mics, and then the 3 final games, they kind of simmered down a tad bit.
And I have 2 teams that I want to quickly bring up that were actually on fire right off the get-go from Group C. Rainbow 7 and Dragon Esports out of nowhere, taking out teams like Evos, taking out teams like Vitality, bringing the fight to teams like Buriram United Esports. You cannot get more hot out of the gates like that. Guns blazing and everything on the kitchen sink thrown at the world stage. And this is what we want to see from all the competitors on this main stage.
Absolutely. And of course, that's the wrap-up here for the temperature check. We'll be back with you guys maybe later on. But for now, back to the studio you guys go. We'll catch you on the desk later.
Thank you, gentlemen. Welcome back to the panel, folks. We are almost ready to jump into Kalahari, so don't go anywhere. If you have your snacks, or if you don't actually, quickly grab them right now, but make sure you're back in like a couple seconds.
বাংলাদেশের খেলা কখন? বাংলাদেশের খেলা আগামীকাল।
It's going to be a pretty hot one because the Indonesians in particular are really eyeing this map. So the question I have today is, are they going to be the targets? Are they going to be the victims of this next round? Because this is public knowledge. It is not a secret that Indonesia typically performs well on Kalahari.
Yeah, I mean, judging from how the drop spot is for RRQ, Refinery is their home. That's their nest. Though they're not the Falcons, but that's their nest. Evo's Divine, Sniper, Razia, like that's something that really is also common knowledge. So snipers, they will take the high ground. But again, there's a lot of counters that we've seen from the past. And I think this is something that the other teams can pull out as well.
Yeah, I think what it's really going to boil down to, and I think we even saw this in EWC 2024, right? A lot of Brazilian teams have decided to take the southern side of it, then Twisted Minds now coming in as Virtus Pro. Mammoth is a very key point because the first 50-50 is on that first ring. If it's towards the northern side of that map, suddenly Refinery becomes a more pleasant place to kind of sit around. If it's on that southern side, we do see that a couple of Indonesian teams, especially if contested,
সবাই
are
পেজে
forced
ফলো করে
off
দিও
of it,
গাইস
like to rotate to
যারা
that
স্ট্রিম
southern
দেখতেছো
side. Mammoth is a really good cutting edge point to cut them right in half, but also not only to deny them loot, but a good vantage
কালকে
point
বাংলাদেশের
in
খেলা
case
মানে
Refinery
বাংলাদেশের
gets
আরেকটা
contested as
খেলা
more
আছে
teams start to
কালকে
come by
দিনটা
from mid
কেউ
and
মিস
late
করবে না
game.
কালকে সবাই চলে আসবে
And
স্ট্রিমে
all the Indonesian teams knowing that this is probably going to be coming their way, what do? Are you the ones that decide you change your drop points?
Right.
Do you just compete and fight through all of this chaos? Like, what do you do? What's the backup plan when you're the target?
Yeah, I guess like changing your drop points is a little bit too late now because pretty much real estate had already been taken. So it's more of how you get in position onto the shift of the circle, and definitely with the update that we have, like we are seeing a lot of like different shift. I would say difficult for the other teams to come by and get to the other to inside the next phase that quickly. A lot of teams has been hanging by on the edge, as you keep on pointing out, and a lot of teams, more than half, are struggling to run them through.
I think at this point, the only Indonesian team that needs to be a little bit more worried is definitely going to be EVOS Divine, right? I don't think they naturally want to contest for a refinery, but if they have an opportunity to eventually get on top of it later in the game, then sure. Vitality is the one I'm most worried for because we've seen it within Southeast Asia. When it's RRQ and Vitality, 80% of the time RRQ comes out on top.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. It looks like we're ready to jump into Kalahari Survivors, throwing over to our casters as we get ready for our next matchup.
Incredible stuff coming from the teams today. I mean, starting off the day strong here with 30% of the points collected by Falcons yesterday was already Buriram United, and then following up very, very close on match 2 was lost with 28, only 2 points shy. I have to say, a slower start today shows a more explosive end. What do you think, Edmats?
I think that is just the beginning of domination from Group C. That is not something that you would like coming in from Group B. And for Kalahari, as said by Daniel Lee, the Indonesian teams are taking this map to be their map to shine. However, yesterday we've seen Team Falcon gets the booyah on this one. EVOS was so close, but sadly no cigar. So coming in on game number 3, teams from Indonesia that I think would actually try to take advantage of this map is Team Onyx Olympus. They are not performing very well in Bermuda. Same goes to Purgatory. I think in Kalahari, this is their time to actually redeem themselves.
Speaking of Onyx, right? I think they had such terrible luck today. You bring your teammate back into the game, immediately eliminated. You try to get away from teams, who are executing toward you. You get shot in the back as well. And honestly, I would love to see a bit more aggression coming in from Onyx. In most situations that they get completely dominated, they were trying to run away or move away from other teams. They don't want to take these early fights, and it has resulted in them getting shot out of the sky. I want to see them receive these fights with fire, show a bit more dominance, and perhaps this is the map that you mentioned. This is a map they're more comfortable on. Perhaps they can do so.
All right, talking about comfortable, it looks like CRM or Core Memory is in a comfortable spot, getting one elimination. And might go for a second one, but nope. Ray gets the hit on towards Kruger. Jump tries to go for a refrag. Only has one glue wall to work with, but he still wants to go. No armor, no helmet, risking it all. No cigar for Ray for jump as well as Ray. 1v2 comes out swinging and happy.
EVOS perhaps have dropped the ball in that first map, but I think in the second map they performed quite, I would say, decently enough to bring them back into this game. I think these 2 points early as well gives them enough points. At least slowly bring the way up to the top again. They were just shy a few points. 10 points
এখানে CX এর একটা ক্ল্যাশ হয়েছিল তো CX এর একটা প্লেয়ার দুইটা প্লেয়ার কিন্তু এখানে মাইট খেয়ে
Falcons, last year's defending champions of Free Fire at EWC 2024. Now, into this particular one, yeah, they have dropped themselves a bit more, I would say, toward further away toward confinement. They are pretty much uncontested when it comes to their location. They are free to loot. They are free to prepare themselves for these fights. Now, my question is, as the circle shifts here, you know, when they run into teams, maybe even Core Memory, maybe even DRG, maybe potentially Vitality, are they actually going to keep going aggressively like they did yesterday in the beginning of the day, or are they going to be playing slow like the end of the day yesterday?
We just have to see how it will develop in Kalahari. Ladies and gentlemen, if I would like to lend your eyes on the right side of our screen, you can see on 15 DRG. Actually managed to get 3 elimination points. That is towards Team Hotshot. Hotshot was almost eliminated in their bout. I believe it was near Bayfront or somewhere around there. But yeah, 3 points for Dragon sadly was not being observed. I think it would be a good fight, but then again, we still can't get the time. So Dragons, good job for the early game. And looking at RRQ. Yeah, we got it. Thank you, replay. I love you guys. So this is the fight where Hotshot got decimated by Dragons at Bayfront. And a very good start here for team from Middle East, North Africa.
Interesting stuff as well. Lots more than yesterday, that's for sure here. Looking at the map right now is Burm United and Fluxo are just side by side. I am curious to see what's going on to the southern side here. We did see a bit of a skirmish for Vitality as well. One of their members getting one player already fairly early. Loss is also close by as well. Whether or not Loss actually wants to be able to take this early fight should be seen. But I'm not too sure if Vitality is aware that the final member of Hotshots is still very much close by. He's still very much quiet as well. He's trying to make sure he can go and reconvene with his teammates.
They actually know where's Hotshot actually because they have put bounty.
There we go, that's the fight.
So I believe it was a strategy to go away. But talking about fight, Tash is pointing out that Burira and Fluxo meet each other. Was Sara
the tournament এগুলা করা যায় এগুলা করা যায় না এগুলা সব কিছু ডিফল্ট হবে বাই ডিফল্ট কোনো ইয়া নাই ম্যানুয়াল কিছু করতে পারবো না এখানে
And yep, 2 Buriram members has been eliminated for the current time being, but still have a lot of space and time to revive it back. So Fluxo still playing the southern side of the map. In every map that they are playing, very nice rotations as well.
Loss is doing good right now. Loss already, you know, while we were looking at the screen right now, they already got like what I think one elimination as well. They're just being very
slowly. এই ম্যাচে এখন পর্যন্ত কেউ এলিমিনেট হয়নি 5 মিনিটের ম্যাচ শেষ পুরো স্কোয়াড মানে পুরো সবগুলো টিম অ্যালাইভ আছে বাট বুরিরাম কি হলো ভাই প্রথম ম্যাচে ডমিনেট কইরা বাকি দুই ম্যাচে ওরা চুপ হয়ে গেছে যে এখন অলরেডি দুইটা প্লেয়ার লুজ হয়ে গেছে শুধুমাত্র এই একটা টিম আর যে এখন অনেক করা মাইট খেতেছে
with Adam getting knocked down already.
Nearby confinement. Nearby command post. Vitality spots a team. Has been eliminated. Now they are actually towards Noki. Left alone in a small building. Noki just have to sit quiet. Maybe away from Vitality, but sadly the poll says no.
Yeah.
Point here for Vitality.
It's unfortunate. I mean, you want to be able to get out quickly, but even then, there's no guarantee that he's going to be able to grapple away safely as well. Because we've seen Vitality in the previous game, and it was ridiculous as they shot the players running away from them. It was just insane. Now, coming to this one, DRG is now on fire. They started the day strong, at least on the first half of that map. They did pretty easy as well. 3 eliminations already in the match as we move our sights onto Alpha 34 alongside R7 here. R7 rushing away to safety, running away. They do not want to take this fight, but Games King is not allowing that to happen. You see us, you fight us, and if you show your back to us, you will fall. Steal them away.
3 points here for Rainbow 7. Caught one of the members from Team Alpha 34. And Alpha 34 does not want to be in the kind of situation anymore. And this is a short replay. We could see Anas was not spotted by Rigby. Rigby did not check his corners properly. So basically he was invincible and invisible at the same time.
একটা সাইডে পুরোপুরি ফাঁকা
What the hell? Okay. We take those. Anyways, hot shots
এই যে
already
ব্রুর
very
লগে
much
আবার
back
ফাইট
in the game as well. Taking that
নাকি
space in confinement already. The majority
রোটেশন
of
নিব
teams are still
বাট
trying to
এএফ
make
এর
their
ওরা
way to the
স্যান্ডউইচ
middle
আছে
here.
বলে
Vitality close by.
আর 7 টা যাইতেছে মামতের দিকে মামত থেকে আর ব্রুরা যাইতেছে হচ্ছে সাবের দিকে
Side by side right now. They're so close by
সাবে
in that
এই
very
যে সাবে
confined
একটা
area
ক্ল্যাশ হবে
here.
হয়
But we're
সাবে
not
আর নালে
seeing any
স্টোন ডিজে
shots. So
ক্ল্যাশ
there's this gentleman agreement for now, I believe, that
ওই
no
যে
one
ব্রু
shoots,
ব্রু কিন্তু
no one
মেরে দিছে
falls.
পেট অলরেডি
And meanwhile, over to the middle
আর
side of
7
the
ডাবল
map
মেরে
here,
দিছে
I think RHK are
আর 7
very,
ডাবল
very
মেরে দিছে যে
comfortable. That
ইয়াতে
area
আছে
has high, insane high grounds as well. It's looking good when it comes to long range fights. And in terms of repositioning as well, it gives them a lot of value. And now the circle hard shifts toward the right side. They're still very much okay.
Yeah, Refinery. As said by our panelist Napti, Refinery is basically RRQ HQ for Kalahari. They're gonna stay there, and again, the best thing
না
about
তাইলে মজা
Refinery
হইতো
is
না
that
তুমি একবার কে মরে গেলে তখন রিকভার হচ্ছে হয় না ওই কারণে তবে যে পকেট বেন্ডিংটা সরাইয়া কিন্তু একদিক দিয়ে ভালোই হইছে ইনস্ট্যান্ট রিভাইভটা হয় না
So being in Refinery is actually very good spot. Struggling to actually climb up the hill. Joanna was caught out by Team Rainbow.
ভাই এই জায়গায় কিন্তু অলরেডি ব্রু ফাইটে আইসা পড়ছে আর ভাই ব্রুরা কিন্তু সাবের দিকে মুভ করছিল বাট ওরা কিন্তু আবার ব্যাক আসছে কারণ ওই জায়গায় ওরা ফাইট দেখতে পাইছিল বাট আইসা কিন্তু লস হইছে ওদের একটা প্লেয়ার লুজ হইছে এখানে হয়তো বা আরো একটা প্লেয়ার লুজ হবে হ্যাঁ এই জায়গায় আরো একটা প্লেয়ার লুজ হইছে এটা কাদের লুজ হইছে তো মুশি দুটো প্লেয়ার ব্রুর দুটো প্লেয়ার শেষ আর 7 কিন্তু এই জায়গাটা থেকে ভালোভাবে আসছে তো ওয়াটসন আর হচ্ছে গেট হাই ওরা দুজন এই জায়গাটা থেকে ব্যাক আউট করতেছে রে মানে ওয়াইপ হয়ে যাবে পুরো
Games King and Soidea and Joker as well, all of them.
দুজন করে যাইতেছে আলাদা আলাদা ওয়াসানের দিকে তিনজনে গেছে আর একজন আরেক ইয়ার কাছে গেছে গেট হাইয়ের কাছে এই জায়গায় আবার R7 ঢুকে গেছে আচ্ছা না R7 ওরাই তো ফাইট করতেছিল শেষ গেট হাই লাস্ট প্লেয়ার স্নাইপারের এক শট কানেক্ট অলরেডি হয়ে গেছে এন্ড টিম ওয়াইপ আউট ভাই ব্রু কি খেলতেছে রে তিন ম্যাচে ওরা এই ম্যাচে তো 0 পয়েন্ট
Gosh, Buram United could do
প্রথম টিম হিসেবে ওয়াইপ আউট হলো একদম ফার্স্ট টিম হিসেবে ওয়াইপ আউট হলো
a team that's on the high ground. And the same could be said about Alpha 34 here. As soon as they get down, they put in a bit of chip damage for RRQ toward them as well. And RRQ looking to collapse. They are chasing right now. Not too sure if they are aware that Core Memory is close by here. And Core Memory has done a phenomenal job of just waiting for these weak moments right in the middle of the fight where they're able to just overcome so many teams. And I think RRQ is aware they just camping inside of one of these tents. They don't want to look to initiate quite yet.
Yeah.
But as we move over to the other side of the map here for hot shots, this is interesting because just now they were the team that was in trouble. They would be knocked out many times, but they are slippery. They're able to bring so many of the members back into the game action because he wasn't seen just now, becoming that invisible man. Technically has given hot shots a second life in this map.
Again, I would like to emphasize hats off towards Joker playing the unusual.
R7 ওরা মুভ করবে এই কারণে সাবে আগে যে ইয়া মেরে
chase someone. Usually you get the rusher to do that, but this guy
সবাই দেখো জোনে কিন্তু সবাই আগে প্রেডিক্ট করে জোন করে জোনে মুভ করে
get high for goodness sake.
পরবর্তীতে জোনের বাইরে থেকে এসে জোনে
Clean. Oh my god. Anything can
happen. জোন ইউজ করে
কি কয়
জোন দেখে যেটা ওটা ইউজ করে
I'm still hyped to see what else could we get here from our EWC 2025.
এটাই বলতাছি যে ম্যাপ হচ্ছে কি তোমার প্লেয়ারের লোগো দেখলে টিমের লোগো দেখলে তোমার বোঝা লাগবে ভাবে ম্যাপ ওই যে আমরা যেমন খেলি রোটেশন না এটা রোটেশন দাও না এটা ফিক্স
we're not going to engage with you because we know that we don't have maybe the weapon to properly take you down, so we have to fall back. And with that said, hot shot continues their rotation.
পুরো স্কোয়াড বেড়ে গেছে একটা প্লেয়ার লাস্টে আনাসে দেখছে ওই কারণে ওরা মারতে গেছে
zero intersection between command post and Stone Ridge, and they finally found a compound, found a building that they could stay in and maybe sit down, quiet, and try to re-strategize.
Linz falls here. RQ on a hunt for quite some time. I think they were already marking the players of Alpha 34 for the time being as well. We start to see them get aggressive here on this mini-map, but I think the same could be said about Vitality as we go into this particular area. Vitality right smack dab in the middle. I would love to see where exactly they position themselves here because they're getting shot from 3 different areas. There's damage between 4 teams. In fact, excuse me, But now our eyes onto R7 here. They don't have access to the circle quite yet. It shouldn't be too much of a hassle for them to get in. But now with the 3-1 formation, there with Joker just rushing around. Joker could be that first point of contact if something were to happen as well. So this could spell trouble. Meanwhile, they already spot out the members of DRG, and DRG on this high ground should be a pain to rotate over here. They immediately react by jumping down. They cannot answer back these shots. But what's more important right now is this positioning. As the zone pushes, as the circle shrinks as well, they need to prioritize where exactly they want to go.
Dragons, they tried to play the elevation game, tried to catch teams coming through command post, but sadly, no one was in their sight. And to add salt to injury, they were shot by Rainbow 7 as well, and they are still being locked in by the Mexican team. So, Dragons, one of the representatives from Middle East and North America, has to find a way to try to avoid or maybe fight Rainbow 7 head on so they could have a safe route to rotate. And it looks like they are up to go through the inside. A lot of cover here, but surprises can come out from left, right, front, center. So they are risking this, putting one at the back, splitting to 3-2-1 strategy. C4, Yasir and Simox will be in front. Meanwhile, Yasir will, not Yasir, Remind will stay at the back just in case they could find a long-range shot. And they did on Abai.
That's a disgusting shot if you think about it. Straight out into Abai, knocked down already. Shouldn't be too much of a problem to go for that revive, but Onyx is facing so much pressure right now. There's so many teams coming in from 2 different areas as well. What are you going to do to get into that circle? Onyx had lost. They need to get into that circle. And they have played this elevation game to a team. The problem right now is that they cannot go outside. Loss are happy to accommodate them.
Lost to bhalo
kheltase bola jay na. The zone will shift. They have to go out into the open eventually, and that's where just wait for them as well here.
Loss is actually at the advantage here because Team Onyx is basically trapped. In that building, there's only one way in and one way out, unless you want to risk it by using the window. Talking about windows, you can see that round is actually blocking, forcing Onyx to block the window, trapping them inside. Meanwhile, Dragons and R7 finally interacted. It looks like Dragon lost the fight, and Fluxo racking in kills, taking down Alpha 34.
The underdogs from Brazil. Being very patient right now. This northern side fight is hot because the circle shift is good. Happening right now. And RQ is forcing this fight, taking down the killers. They've been taking down the leaders of this game. RQ just completely collapsed, and RQ showing us why they're so comfortable on this map. Abai Falls was Vitality decides to join in on this fight as well, but no problem. RQ still have many bodies to work with because another team is coming into this area.
ঢুকছে BIT আর ইভোসের মাঝখানে ঢুকছে
This is not the best position to be with. The glue wall falling. The position knocked down. Pops all alone.
আবার পিছে দিয়ে আবার আরেকটা টিম
Be picked up here, and Vitality Fluxo in
ঢুকছে
trouble as well. But Fluxo cannot hold on, and the Syncope from core memory as well eliminated already. This fight happening from all around the area, northern side and southern side, as Evos Divine look to try and bring down their Indonesian counterparts.
Bodies are dropping one by one. Teams are ousted one by one as well. Now we're looking at all. I thought it was Evo that was fighting another team out. Just been eliminated on the first place. Meanwhile, Vitality takes down
জোনটা কিন্তু আবার ওরা পায় না জোনটা পেয়ে গেছে আবার ওই যাওয়া
Now we are left Vitality, Lost and Onyx, 2 Indonesia, 1 Brazil. This is the second time Team Lost is in the top 3.
ওরা জোন পেয়ে গেছে ওদের সামনে
Lost is showing their worth here. However, not elimination in their bag.
জোন দিছে কমান্ডো পোস্টে বুঝছো তাইলে প্লেয়ার রিভাইভ করতে
So I'm not so sure if the points matter for them right now, but then again, they need the points to still be on top round.
Vitality doesn't have a lot of place to work with. The circle is shifting right now, and they are the furthest away. The other 2 teams are saying, you know what, let's have a stalemate right now and try to keep this team at bay. But Vitality, they rally back. They have the high ground on top side of this building here, and this is perfect. Understanding this predicament, plays a little bit more close, not allowing the position to shoot downwards, and they will jump forward, ignoring the other 2 teams. Glue wall set down as well, and suddenly they are the ones with the advantage in terms of the circle, in terms of position as well. Onyx is falling. Adam in trouble. Knocked down by Rigby. He's so quick with those shots.
And Lost still boxing in Team Onyx. They cannot go out. And they're gonna continue doing so as the circle is slowly shifting towards command post. Waiting them inside is Team Vitality.
Predict karo buya kare
Things
nibo.
are not
Ebar দিয়ে
looking
দিছে
good
কিন্তু
for Lost and Onyx. And look at that.
না
Preventing Lost from making a move. The only way for you to do this is to use the
Iti buya
jumping
nibo.
gun, and that is a nice weapon towards the side, forcing Kyung to face on towards command post. Now Vitality pushing back. This is giving room for Onyx Olympus a small bit of window to try and enter the new zone. But now Lost and Vitality, both of these teams is denying entry from Onyx Olympus.
Onyx took too long to leave that building. They were boxed inside for so long, and Lost knew exactly the outcome of that, which means a later rotation. And now Vitality waiting for the right timing, understanding where Lost's position is, the high ground on the top side of that of the area. They cannot go too far away because it gives them a clear view of their heads, and it might just be popped here. But Onyx still holding strong as well. They're not moving quite yet.
ওরা বুঝতেছে যারাই ফাইট করবে থার্ড পার্টি করবে যে ওরাই জিতবে কারণ ওরা ওইভাবে দুইটা প্লেয়ার দেখে রাশ দেয়নি
Ready to receive them.
ওগো ফুল
Instead of
ফোকাস রেখে
pushing forward, they move back. They had a lot of space to work with, so they put down all of their glue walls, but not before Koja does an opening pickoff onto one of the members of Lost. But still, 3 bodies to work with, lots of firepower, and instead hiding themselves inside of these tents.
Lost is looking to try to end the game with a mad kid fight. And now Zaidu is attempting
ওগো
to
দিকেও
go
প্রেসার
inside.
দিতেছে দিয়ে মানে টুইস্ট টু টুইস্ট চেক করে করে ওইদিকে দুইটার সামনে দিতেছে এদিকে আবার
His
দিতেছে
member to actually enter, and Zaidu goes down. This
No way, General.
opportunity for Lost to go in. General is pushing in. They clear the blue, but General
করে
goes
দুইটা
down.
শেষ
Same goes to
দিয়ে
Rigby.
দিবি
That is Lost.
তেল
Lost
লুজ
in
না করি
control. Vitality will try to win this. They just
তেল
need
লুজ
to
হবে
find the last member from Team Onyx, and he is here. Crowd goes down, and booyah for Team Vitality.
Honestly, it felt like such a desperation.
Where is RHK? RHK aske na
They
bhaiya.
knew they were running out of space and time, and they sent one player up to just catch the members of Vitality off guard. But unfortunately, it felt like they had a disconnect in communication there. Their teammates were not ready to collapse, not ready to trade off him after he rushed up forward here. That breakdown in communication actually costed them that booyah. And unfortunately, and for them as well, they died a little bit too soon compared to Onyx, who was able to survive a bit longer due to the space as well. I have to say, Vitality, this is a great game for them in terms of rotations, in terms of positioning, and in terms of recovery as well.
2 booyahs in the back here for Vitality in EWC 2025 thus far. Taking a very good position on command post, denying entry from Lost, denying entry from Olympus, and took that counter attack away back towards Team Lost. General comes in, and they were backstabbed by Team Lost. However, they managed to control. Despite the blue walls all collapsing on top of the tents, Team Vitality managed to find a way to take down Team Lost. And once Lost is done, that is the sign that, yep, we're gonna get this booyah. All they need to do is just find Crime MKS. And well, surprisingly, Crime say, hello, I am here. Please try and take me. And there you go. Crime goes down, and Vitality backs in the booyah. What a nice finisher from the Indonesian team.
You know what's really interesting? The fact of the matter is, I mean, we had a lot of expectations for Buram United. It's 2 maps in a row that this team has already been eliminated fairly early. Could it be day 1 jitters is the question. Could it be, you know, a breakdown in communication, or could it be the execution was just not quite there? They were trying to take this almost very, very high-risk fights, trying to go up those high grounds, trying to challenge R7 in situations where R7 had the most in terms of advantage. They were moving in a 2-2 formation, and many of these last 2 maps as well. They always have 2 players not early, the other 2 members are running for their lives. But in this situation, they need to realize that many teams have started to chase. So in this situation, they really need to rethink how exactly they want to do these executions, how exactly the rotations are going to be happening, and most importantly, they need to really figure out how exactly or how they're higher risk is going to be happening when you go into this big fights. Regardless, after this, we're going to be going to an interview, but for now, it's going to be looking at the highlights, where I have to say that Vitality started off the game very, very strong.
Yeah, they did this time around. Finally, they've proven that Indonesia is really strong on Kalahari. And let's see, what will the representative Vitality say? We are going to go to Carol for some interview with, again, Vitality.
Wow, what amazing day we are watching here at the AWC 2025. So much fire from Free Fire match so far. And of course, we gotta talk with the lows, the champions for Free Fire World Series Brazil. And I'm here with Rigby, the rusher for the team. Rigby, congratulations on the matches that you guys have played so far. And of course, you have been showing such a beautiful and great dominance. And I would like to know, how does it feel to be showing such an amazing performance here at AWC 2025. Parabéns pela performance de vocês até agora. A gente sabe que é um campeonato de alto nível e eu quero saber como é que vocês estão se sentindo até agora com a performance de vocês. Já fizeram um buia, tem um terceiro lugar aí também, um top 3. Como é que tá sendo até agora a experiência?
Bom, no começo a gente acabou afundando, né? No começo ele deu uma entregada, mas a gente conseguiu resetar e recuperamos muito bem. E é isso, é melhorar, no final a gente continuar a pegar o top 1 ali, e é isso.
Okay, so in the very beginning, for sure, we did some mistakes, but we talked with our coach, with the full team, and we reset our mind, we set a new mindset, and we came back strong. We came back for the Booyahs. Right now, we got just a top 3, but we will come back for more, and for sure, we are going to take the trophy home. And for us to finish our interview, I would like to know the expectation for the rest of the day, because you just got a top 3 in this last match. I know it's been hard. The other teams are really aggressive, but I would like to know the expectations. Quero saber quais são as expectativas de vocês para o resto dos dias, mesmo que as partidas sejam um pouco difíceis, como é que vocês vão se preparar e vão chegar para o resto do dia?
A preparação é sempre pegar o top 3 ali das partidas, com kill ou sem, manter a regularidade, e é isso. É o quê? Esqueci. Alguma coisa. Qual que é a pergunta, né? Continuar amassando, manter ali no top 3 ali das quedas e continuar amassando, só isso mesmo.
For sure, we are going to try to keep inside of the top 3 because we still want to advance to the knockout, to another phase. For sure, we are going to go with as much points that we need, and we're going to get that on point rush. And for now, we are just focused on today's games, and we will get better for tomorrow as well. And that's it. We have finished one more match, and right now we are going to have a quick break, and we will come back with more action here at Free Fire at AWC 2025.
Reach your impossible, Lenovo Legion.
আরেক ম্যাচ শুরু হবে কখন রে?
Welcome to day 2 of Free Fire at the Esports World Cup 2025. I'm Yunso. It's so hot out here. But before we dive into our today's Free Fire actions,
সব দেখাইতেছে হাই হাই
outside to explore the
টুর্নামেন্ট
other
জুড়ে কি কি
esports
হইতেছে না
arena
হইতেছে সব
around the
দেখাইবো না?
boulevard to see what is going on across the tournament.
কি মেটারে কেন দেখাইতেছে
We are at the STC Esports Arena,
কত করে
where
তুমি
League of
দেখো
Legends is in the full swing. And yes, the powerhouse teams like T1 is in the mix. This is going to be an epic showdown.
চ্যাম্পিয়ন কে হলো
And
চ্যাম্পিয়ন
right
এখনো হয়
here,
নাকি
the Amazon Esports Arena, home of Dota 2. Fun fact, Dota 2 is known for some of the biggest prize pool in esports, and it's still keeping that legacy alive right here at the EWC 2025. Next up, SNP
Russell, তুমি
Esports
চশমা
Arena,
পরো?
where the crowd will be locked into the actions of Mobile Legends Bang Bang. The hype here
তাহলে
will
তোমার
be
চশমা নেওয়ার সময় হয়ে
real.
গেছে এজন্যই বলি এত উল্টাপাল্টা ভিডিও দেখো না চুপটিরে খাইয়া দিছে এই বয়সে
Kiria Esports
এতদিন
Arena,
আছেই পইরা
where Free Fire is kicking off its second day. The club championship is in full motion, and there is plenty of excitement ahead.
ফেসবুক
I'm
পেজে তো
Yoko,
উল্টাপাল্টা
and that
কিছু
is
দেই
your
না
update
তুমি
of
তো এইসব দেখো
Esports
না
World
তুমি
Cup
তো দেখো
2025.
কই কই
Let's
যাইয়া
see how
এইসব
our
তো আমরা
Big
বুঝি
2 gets
বুঝছো
kicked off. Let's go.
We're so lucky, guys. I think we got the coolest looking stage.
বলো তো আমার ফেসবুক পেজের নাম কি
Like an ever-changing, elevated, and also like LEDs that show a countdown on the stage itself.
Yeah, I mean, just imagine
এই হলো গেল ফলো করার নমুনা
everyone
বুঝছো
in there and then seeing that. I felt that especially when the first time we came in, and it was something else. So I would agree with you that it's quite different and very good for Free Fire to be there.
Yeah, I agree with that, and I'm really happy to be here. I'm happy to be.
ও আবার
able to see
গার্লফ্রেন্ডের
this,
নাম হয়ে
like,
পড়ছে আরে
online,
বাবা
I mean, face to face, you know. So I love it, and I agree with you. I think that's the best arena.
Obviously, the best for the best, right?
পোলাপনের নাম
You guys
আনছে
know what's up. Now, speaking of the best, we are still here with some of the best teams here in the world of Free Fire, and we are getting ready for our next matchup, right? Kalahari just concluded. Vitality, they were the ones to get the booyah there, and it was because of I want to say a cascading number of events that really set that victory into motion, because there was one moment, and I think we all agreed here, if that moment didn't work out, they would have actually been eliminated and in third place, and that was Neptune.
Yeah, I mean, if Onyx Olympus just joined in again with loss to take down Team Vitality, then they could have been out of there. So that was just something that, well, as we agreed, Onyx style. So hopefully they can pull
এই
away
ম্যাচও
from
জিরো
that.
I'm going to play devil's
না
advocate
12 এই
here
ম্যাচে
because
12
if you're in Onyx mind, you're thinking, okay, we help LOS shoot down Vitality, but we're on the second floor and the ring is already moving and LOS is on the outside, so they get first rotation no matter what. We end up almost guaranteeing ourselves to be in second place to begin with, right? So I think they were thinking for the long term of, we need to secure a booyah, and if we're able to do it against LOS, we have better odds against them compared to Vitality.
Yeah, but the thing is, Vitality probably had the best position ultimately, right? So this is when the circle was still moving. They started running. None of them got picked up. They grabbed.
আমরা ওইদিন অনলাইন থেকে অর্ডার দিয়া আনছিলাম সীমন 10 কেজি
expect that move.
1200 টাকা দিয়া ভালোই
Just
পড়ছে
going to go for a full-on sprint, you know, to close the gap. But as soon as they got onto the roof,
ও
they
120 টাকা
were
করে
safe, basically.
Yeah, I mean, that's what Kalahari
কারণ তো
really
দামি
has.
এমন
The
আমি এলাকায়
gun
খবর নিয়ে দেখছিলাম
utilization of
120 করে
the gun quite
80 করে
well.
আসিল 80 থেকে হুট করে 120
Team Vitality side, but for the other teams, like they don't use that much.
হইতে পারে না
I
নাম
guess
নাম খেয়াল
Team
করি নাই
Vitality carrying over, like
বড় সাইজের কোনো আশুস নাই
Indonesians are
নরমাল
playing Kalahari,
মজা
so
আছে
I guess it's really expected for them.
Well, I mean, you mentioned it already, the cascading effect. We saw
একটি মনে করো
top
400 500 গ্রাম
actually looking a little awkward, right? Fluxo jumping in between both Vitality and as well as EVOS, and then they collapse, and then EVOS collapse. All of their loot and all of their coins ended up giving just enough for them to use their pockmark to get the launcher in the first place to get them on the roof.
So, because of a turn of events, a miraculous turn of events, it works out in Vitality's favor. But we'll have to see if that can continue, because again, we're rotating to a new map, folks. Alpine. Now, how is Alpine going to play a role in this upcoming matchup? Who are the top teams that really should, in theory, take the points?
Well, Alpine is something that Real United really has in the bag most of the time.
এমন কি ঢাকা সাপোর্ট করে নি
To call, especially as the
এমন
first
তো
one,
খাঁটি
the
বরিশাল
team,
সাপোর্টার
being eliminated earlier.
Yeah. All right, Carlos, looks like, folks, our casters are ready to go, and the match is ready to go. We're going to be jumping into Alpine in just a second for match number 4. Throwing it over to our wonderful casters, and let's see who nabs this next booyah.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, survivors of all ages, you know what it is. You're back here with the Mustachio and Husky as we kick game 3 of It's Gonna Be Alpine Time. And of course, the who has got the ice in their veins. Will we continue to see Dragons Esports climb up to the top? They had a fantastic start here today, Husky, but I haven't seen a lot from them after that.
Yeah, not just Dragon, R7 as well.
yeah.
Movie star R7. You
Yeah,
Dragon
footmatch
Esports
শুরু হয়ে
has
গেছে,
in their
চলো,
vein.
হ্যাঁ।
We're looking at Stone Cold killers from this region, from this team of 4. And dropping into Alpine right off the
ঠিক,
bat, we're seeing some
সহমত।
conflict. R7 against RRQ.
ঠিক, ঠিক, ঠিক।
Between Railroad and Carousel.
রাসেল
That could lead to
রাসেল তুমি আমারে কয়টা মেয়ে নিয়ে খেলতে দেখো আর সিমনরে কয়টা মেয়ে নিয়ে খেলতে দেখো এবার কও তো
Sunside and base camp where Onyx are located, but aside from that, Dragon and Fluxo also might bump into each other.
And unlike Dragons, R7 has been
ভাই কেমন আছেন আরে কি খবর ভাই আলহামদুলিল্লাহ ভালো আছি আপনার কি খবর
today's performance, a total of 44 points in their
অন্ধকার ভাই
hands.
কি
But
খবর
it looks
আপনার
like you just cursed the boys, Husky.
প্রথমেই কাগলগে মারা খেলো কি
Just got one.
অন্ধকার বেড়ে চিনছো
Look. We saw Vision System, right? Clearly, it is their own action that led to their undoing. The whole caster curse thing is just a way to scapegoat me. I'm not gonna take this down lying anymore. I need to stand up for myself.
Well, it looks like Della is standing up for the rest of his squad. Good time to
ওই যে
pull
দেখছো
down that.
গার্লফ্রেন্ড হিসাবে বলে
And he got the headshot out of nowhere as well. Della going for yet
ভাই এই জায়গায় 8 মিনিট প্লেয়ার কি মেটে দিতেছে
Uzi, but it's just a matter of time.
কা করে মারতাছে রে এমনি
By the window, a little bit of
VIT রে
crossfire from the opposite side as well.
ও
And
আর কি
India with a big mistake as
আর
Della
কি
pulls
তিন
away a
প্লেয়ার সে
1v2 solo as he handles the boys from RRQ.
আসতে পারেন আজকে প্রথম দিন না
RRQ. What was 18 thinking? Trying to coin flip a melee at the window? You had a way better chance with the weaponry that you have. RRQ now dropped into a very uncomfortable spot. This is as bad as it can be. Ma'al ducks into cover but loses majority of his health. R7 once more ice cold.
Two more survivors here for the side of RRQ. One mistake, and instead of putting a stop to the momentum of R7, they boost them up even further.
ও এটা ম্যাক্সের কারণে ফ্রি ফায়ার ম্যাক্স এর
Absolutely insane of consistency out of R7, and Ma'al will lose his life as
Fair
well.
Max এরকম
One
দেখা আর
final
হচ্ছে যে এই যে
insurance
এটা তো
policy
ড্রোন
out
এত
there, who I believe is
এত
on
এরকম
a
দেখে
revival
ফ্রি
spree. We
ফায়ার
will
ম্যাক্সের
see
মতো
more of RRQ, but for the time being, my goodness me, R7
টিমের কি
again,
অবস্থা আরএইচকে
consistency
আরএইচকে আজকে তো ম্যাচ নাই আরএইচকের ম্যাচ কালকে আজকে হচ্ছে গিয়ে ডে 2 বি আর সি গ্রুপের আরএইচকে হচ্ছে এ গ্রুপে আছে আরএইচকের আপাতত আজকে ম্যাচ নাই
We definitely have the impression that SCA regions and Brazil is going to dominate.
Yeah.
We were wondering how far the other regions, the ones that
By
are
the way, guys, যারা
least
stream দেখতেছো
less
সবাই
mentioned,
stream
are
share
going to
করে দিও,
fare, but
page
so
নতুন
far they
থাকলে
have been
follow
putting
করে
up
দিও
a heck of a show. Onyx getting 2. We did see Lost taking on a couple members from the side of Hotshot, but Hotshot was able to get revivals in. So sure, points for Lost, but Hotshot are still in it to win it. Same for RRQ. And Anas pretty much all alone in the 1v2 as Hasu brings Sajid back. Anas to a no chance general with the 5th point.
Yep, Anas just stood no chance there whatsoever. Lost spotted an opportunity, went in for the instant flank, had the vehicle as well to very quickly cut off his rotation. And an extra point for the Lost boys, who were pretty lost in that first game, very quickly found their footing, and now at pretty much close to the top of the leaderboard with their brothers R7, Latam and Brazil finding their footing here on day 2 to show Southeast Asia that it is not all about SEA. They've got a little bit
না
of skin in the
শিবনে তো
game
আমার লগে
as
খেলি
well
না
as
এখন
unlocking this ad
আমি তো
vitality.
খেলি না গেম
Seems
এখন
like Onyx would be in shooting distance here to stop these boys. So a couple of extra glue walls laid out here. Smart play from the players, but of course R7
ওরে শোনো রাসেল কালকে কি হইছে গ্রুপে ডাকছি ঠিক আছে ওই বারবার খালি বাইরে ভাই আমারে এই ডাকে ওই ডাকে তাও কোনো পোলারে ডাকতে যায় না কয় ভাইয়া মানে মাইয়ারা ডাকে এটা কয় ভাই আমারে মাইয়া ডাকতেছে আমার এই মাইয়া ডাকতেছে তিনবার কালকে গ্রুপ থেকে বাইরে হইছে শালা 5 মিনিটে ভাই তিনবার বাইরে হইছে বুঝছো অবস্থা পরে কইলাম যে ম্যাচ খেলুম পরে বাইরে হয়ে গেছে গেম থেকে শালা বেঈমান কি মৃত্যু ভাই ওই দামি তো কথা কয় সরাসরি আল্লাহ মনে বাচ্চা এখন নামটা কই কে কে ডাকছে পরে গেছো তুমি মিথ্যা কথা কইছে শালা
With the VSK could not get it done. CQC away wins it out to the M5.
মাইয়া গুলোকে গ্রুপে না তুমি না কইছো যে আর ডাকতাছি একটু শুনে আহি কেমন করে না দুইবার বেরিলা গ্রুপ থেকে তুমি
Once again stepping back in to see if or not he
টি 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 দিয়া না মই ডাকতাছিল পরে তুমি কইছো যে আর ডাকতাছি একটু শুনে আহি যাও না পরে আবার আইছিলা শালা মিথ্যা কথা কয় কেমনে কালকে আরে না বুঝছো তো কার কথা কইছি মৃত্যুক শালা আমার আবার মৃত্যুক বানাই দিল কত খারাপের খারাপ ওই কাস্টম খেলছো এই তো পরে তুমি একটা একলা যখন খেলছো তখন কাস্টম পরে খেলতে ছিলাম পরে না তুমি বেরিয়ে গেলা ভাই এই জায়গায় কিন্তু ইনসেন লেভেলের ফাইট হইলো আমরা কিন্তু ফাইটগুলো মিস করে ফেললাম
Now escapes to railroad to continue this run for the team, but in the
ওই হিসেবে ধরতেছি এই হিসেবে ধরতেছি না কথা হইলো কি ওই আমাদের লোকে খেলতেছিল বুঝছো
Onyx as they face off against Dragons.
It may seem like R7 has a vendetta up against RRQ, but I can tell you they are thanking the boys. 7 points so far on the leaderboard, all thanks to RRQ falling time and time again to them. But Onyx up against Dragons. Dragons starting off the day hot and then simmered off real quickly right after that. I wonder where all of that extra firepower went, but up against Onyx now, it looks like they don't want to make a pathway straight for a quick battle. They want to look for that circle, so they're going to make a long rotation in towards the next zone. They've got a rough idea heading straight towards Space Camp.
And if you're Dragon Esports, you could consider going to Vantage or Ride, depending on how much resource you want to loot up before the next phase, but it's generally safe if you look at the map at this current at this point of time. They do have some veterans we've seen before. Yasser, for example, Remind, who have played for the Middle Eastern region for plenty of international tournaments. I think this current situation is good for most of the teams that coincidentally all predict the circle to end up on the northeastern side of the map.
Yeah, I mean, 8 years into the game, almost everybody knows how to read the circles of Free Fire already. You can see every single squad heading straight in towards base camp because that's exactly what the pathway is looking to be like, right? Circle's going to shrink a little bit more, still going to be centered around base camp, and then perhaps moving up a little bit towards Alpha 34. This is perfect positioning for these big squads, looking for that early ground to play a good defense.
What a good read. This is experience and homework really paying off. BRU, they are already in the thick of it. And this is a team that has, over time, started to slow down a little bit, play a lot more calculated, and only strike when the iron is hot. But now they are forced into a situation where they might have to start shooting early, and that could be a point of change for the team. With so many teams around that could punish them. Hotshot though made a full recovery. Now they're going to come in from the southern side of the map through Stadium and Rivermouth.
75 points. It's a lot compared to what they've been able to show us previously in those years on the global stage. This is very impressive from Hotshots, but we want to see them at least cross that 100-point mark. A little bit of a replay earlier on as well. You saw how R7 got the job done. A little bit off meta here with the Trogon, but it served them well. Speaking of off meta, Trogon, Jonah and Wasana holding on to those guns. We had big questions. What is Wasana going to do without his Tatsuya? I'm pretty curious as to how he's going to handle it as well. Thus far, past 2 games, they haven't been doing all that too good.
We even saw Wasana talking about how when he came into the team, everyone helped him get to his feet, to play like a team, to play like a family and then friends, and to get him up to speed. It took him almost more than 1 year to get their first trophy to finally prove that he belongs in BRU, even though all of us said that he is the perfect fit, but they needed an achievement to cement that fact. Now EWC is going to be that redemption arc. Moshi takes contact as Alpha 34 now rushes into the building. The attic fight is going to be very, very congested as body starts to hit the floor. Lin's first to go down. Wasana with the Trogon once more, just pumping out bullets right into the ribcage as Jonah finds Ehisechi. BRU coming out with the big wins, with the big guns, with the big shots, and Alpha 34 is no more.
Yeah, Alpha 34 just rushed into their deaths. They should have gone in there for the full-on commitment. Instead, prematurely pulling up those glue walls, just the wrong idea. Drogon straight to those glue walls, instantly ripping them down. And obviously, Buriram taking full advantage of that situation. Free 4 points for the Thai dominant squad. But of course, this is their recovery game in Game 4 now. We want to see exactly how far they can move with that. R7, on the other hand, flirting with the blue right outside the circle, just tanking a little bit of damage as they go in for that long rotation round.
domination
It's a chance that they run into RRQ
But
again at
হইতাছে
top.
তো উল্টা,
See
উল্টা
RRQ
C
are
group
making
এর
their
domination.
rotation too.
ওই
Big
hello
scan with
রুমান, কি
the
খবর তোমার?
binoculars from RRQ. I believe 2 of them, and that's a big crowd that they just spotted out. RRQ do not want to interact with anyone
Roman
at this point
Gazi?
of time. But for Onyx, they might not have a choice.
Tako তুমি ওরে কাজী?
And Ma'al, he's a sitting duck, lands on top of the tower, but what do you do at
Anusar.
this point? Hotshot hears the gunshots, and they will be ready.
Yeah, this next circle, Buriram is actually betting big here that the circle is going to be looking for them instead of base camp. So Sunside is a very low probability. It still moves on towards base camp, but thankfully Buriram doesn't really need to travel all that too far. RRQ on the other hand, losing a bay at this point of time, that's going to be torturous. Looking for a vending machine in such a crowded base camp is going to be close to impossible.
Niloy.
For RRQ, because this game has not gone that way at all. They don't have anything to work with, and in this current spot, minimal loots, minimal cover. Just gotta pray for just 1 or 2 extra placement points. But for R7, Carousel used to be safe, but the rotation from BRU, there's a chance that because the circle didn't end on Sunside, they could pivot towards Carousel.
Yeah, I just expected them
আই
to
যারা
just
স্ট্রিম
run into
দেখতেছো
Sunside
মেক শিওর
instead.
সবাই রিঅ্যাক্ট
They
করে
wanted to go
দিয়েছো,
for the
পেজে
long
নতুন থাকলে
rotation.
ফলো করো।
Unfortunately for
কি
them,
করতেছো
R7
সবাই?
had the exact
আর
same
দুইটা
idea.
ম্যাচ আর এই
Now
ম্যাচে
Buriram
কারা
gets
বুইয়া
to
নিবে?
gatekeep R7.
কমেন্টে
They'll catch
প্রেডিকশন
up
করো
with
তো
action
দেখি
in a
কার
little bit. The
প্রেডিকশন
Lost
মিলে
Boys
যায়।
on the other hand, very, very far away from base camp. As they move on in, they are at risk of being gate capped by 2 squads. Vitality as well as Dragons. And this could just serve Dragons up really well as Vitality puts in their hard work. They could look to steal
আজকের
away some
RHK-এর
crucial
গ্রুপের খেলা
points
নেই,
off the
ফ্যালকন
boss.
RHK তারপরে পেইন
Core Memory and EVOS are also around the corner, right? That could escalate into a 4-squad fight. But R7 and BRU unfortunately will have to duke it out in a very fair fight. They can knock it out. As Haon in general fell to the feet. What happened? They broke their ankle somehow.
ওরাই তো কিল করছে খালি 10টা কিল আর এক কিল করে লসটা করছে কি রে লসটা প্রথমে যেমনে মারা খেতেছে মনে হচ্ছে নরমাল কোন টিম এটা কি ভালো খেলতেছে ওরা
Doesn't get the shot that he needs as BRU now splits up.
Yep, Wasana getting away from danger in the nick of time here. Cassie's electrotherapy already connected, already under the bridge like the
কেন না
trolls.
দেখবা ভাই এত বড় একটা টুর্নামেন্টে এখানে শুধুমাত্র যে আরএইচকে আসছে দেখে আমরা দেখবো এরকম না আরএইচকে কে আমরা সাপোর্ট করবো এইখানে অনেক কিছু শিখার আছে টিম দেখলে অনেক কিছু শিখতে পারবা কেমনে দেখো এক একটা টিমের ফাইটে ওরা কেমনে ঢুকে বাংলাদেশে আমরা লবিতে যেমনি খেলি ওরা ওইভাবে কিন্তু খেলে না সব লবিগুলো এই কারণে তোমার ইন্টারন্যাশনাল লবিগুলার ম্যাচগুলো কেমন হয় বা কম্পিটিটিভ ম্যাচগুলো কেমন হয় ওইসব প্র্যাকটিস ওইসব গেম প্ল্যান ওদের রোটেশন প্ল্যানিং সব কিছু তুমি যদি বুঝতে চাও তাহলে তোমার দেখা অবজারভেশন করা অ্যানালাইসিস করা অনেক ভালো খেললেই হয় না সব ব্যাপারে ভালো জ্ঞান থাকে
now because of that extended fight they are on the back foot looking for the circle. They have to cross paths with 2 very strong Indonesian squads, RRQ as well as Onyx, and RRQ actually has got the high ground advantage. Buriram in a lot of trouble unless they whip out a jump pad.
Not only that, RRQ are at their weakest moment. There isn't a world, a universe where RRQ could mess up the rotation of BRU, but aside from that, you remove them from the picture. This is as clear as it gets for BRU to run straight into base camp for their rotation. As Lost now takes on Hotshot Esports, Sajid and Anas getting knocked out very quickly. Themselves. Unfortunately, there is just no backup plan. Action has to watch it out go down as his teammates.
Away at the voice of Hotshot, and of course you can hear the shots of the AWM off of the players of Lost as well. Unfortunately for the side of Hotshots, they could not withstand all of that action. Dragons, they just kept their heads down low, not wanting to interfere in this engagement at all. They could have pulled off a swift backstab
ভাই এই ম্যাচে বুড়িরাম কি খেলতেছে রে 12টা কিল করে লেছে এই মাত্র দেখলাম ওগো কিল মাত্র 5টা এখন 12টা হয়ে গেছে দুই স্কোয়াড বাইক করে ফেলছে ফার্স্ট ম্যাচের মতো ওগো ডমিনেশন ছিল ওই যে ফার্স্ট ম্যাচে যেমন পুরোপুরি ফুল লাস্টে 3 মিনিট 4 মিনিটে দিয়ে পুরো কিল সহ বিয়া 18 কিল করে এটা খারাপ খেলে ওটা একদম #1112 যে গত দুই ম্যাচে যেমন গেল এই ম্যাচে আবার ফিরে এসেছে বুঝা 13 কিল করে ফেলছে ভাই
straight over to
আর
Narnia,
ওদের
hitting no
জোনটা
one.
পেয়ে গেছে
Crucial,
সিএক্স
but
কে
then
আর ওরা জোন
cooldown
পেয়ে গেছে
this late into the game.
ওরা
A1
ভালো
to
একটা
4 in
গেট
the
কিপ
hands
দিতে
of
পারবে এই
Fortia.
জায়গায়
Vitality,
ভিআইপিরা
Booyah
বিপদে
previous
থাকবে
rounds, but
ভিআইপিরা
Juve
বিপদে
likes
থাকবে আর
the
ইবস তো
1-4,
বিপদে
and it's
অলরেডি আছে ওটা
all
ক্লিয়ার
blue,
লুজ হয়ে
but
গেছে
BRU are the ones
কুড়িরামের
that are
ওরা
winning.
Yeah, nobody gate kept
ইবসের
Buriram,
উপর
and
প্রেসার
unfortunately, EVOS is the one that prays, and it wasn't even some
দিত মজা আয়
CQCs. They were taking those
এখন
long
পর্যন্ত
shots
আমি
from
মনে
afar.
করতেছি এই ম্যাচে
Extra
হয়
2
বুড়িনাম
points
বুয়ে নেবে
collected,
নাহলে
and
সিএক্স
now that puts
কেমন
EVOS
কোনটা
at risk. They
সিএক্স
cannot
নাকি
find the Booyah that easily.
নাকি
Core
ভিআইপি
Memory up against EVOS. Buriram joining the fray as well, but they take the top of the roof. This is going to give them a little bit of an advantage, but also pulling in the
বুড়িনাম
attention
কেমনে
from Vitality.
দেখো লঞ্চপ্যাড মেরে ঢুকে
BRU
গেছে
already
পুরো
has
স্কোয়াড
15 eliminations under the belt. If there's a time to
ওরা
stop,
জানে এই জায়গায় চারটা স্কোয়াড তারপরে ঢুকে গেছে কি লেভেলের কনফিডেন্স হবে
finally eliminated, but Zenzi starts it up. Cougar
ওইটাই তো বললাম সুযোগে শব্দ ব্যবহার করে নেবো ওরা
BRU Wasana
বাট এখানে
finally
বুড়িনাম ভাই কি
confirmed
একটা
and
রাশ
get high, gets back up, intercepted by
বিআরজি
5 MKS.
আচ্ছা বুড়িনাম হচ্ছে গিয়ে ভিতরে ঢুকে গেছে সিএক্স এর সাথে ফাইট বুড়িনাম এলিমিনেট হয়ে
BRU and they get the job
একটা
done.
একটা রাশ দিয়ে ওরা পুরো স্কোয়াড ওয়াইপ হয়ে গেল কারণ তিনটা স্কোয়াডের মাঝখানে চারটা স্কোয়াডের মাঝখানে ঢুকে গেছে মুখের কথা নাই এইরকম লাস্ট একটা জোনে চারটা স্কোয়াডের মাঝখানে ঢুকা মানে একটু হোল্ড করে করে আগাইতে পারতো এই যে ভিআইপিরা হোল্ড করছিল আর এটা ইয়া পাইবো কারণ জোন এখন
Vitality caught in a conundrum. Which poison do
Yes,
you
you know
pick? Do you
something.
fight the Middle Eastern
এখন
team, the Dragonese,
আমার
or
মনে
do
হইতেছে
you run straight
yes,
into
you're
Core
right.
Memory? Because both of them will turn them into dust and into the past.
Oh,
Core Memory
এটা
is
CX কে
their
ঢুকে
pick,
গেছে
and that costed them 2
কি বস্তা
bodies.
ছিল ভিতরে
Evos
দুই
now
বস্তা
join
রাউন্ড
the
বাইক
equation. Aimbot takes out Diggs. Hotshot still has a
এই
survivor,
একটা ম্যাচ
but this is
হইতেছে
most likely
তো
going
এখানে
to be
কিন্তু
between Core
ভিটালিটি
Memory and
ভিআইপি
Dragon
বাদ
Esports.
করে
4
পেয়ে
teams
গেছে
remain.
এলিমিনেট হয়ে গেছে
Unbelievable stuff here.
এই হটশটের
Core
একটা
Memory
প্লেয়ার
with the
স্কিল সার্ভাইভ
consistency.
করতেছে পজিশন পয়েন্ট নিয়ে
Dragons just showing that
আচ্ছা
they
তো কিল
want to
নাই
make
খালি
it
তো
through
ডিফেন্ডার
to point rush. Yes, here down on the ground, Cougar's going to make sure that he gets put out. But from up top, Recifu finding one great connection with jump, pulls out
এখন তো মনে হইতেছে সিএক্স কে রাই বুইয়া নিব আবার বলা যায় না এই বসে ও এই বসে টিআরপি রাও আছে টিআরপি ভার্সেস সিএক্স কেন নিব
There is a chance that EVOS messes this up, and in fact, even EVOS has to deal with the remnants of Hotshot.
আমি প্রেডিক্ট করতেছি
Joins the rest of his team in that ground floor circle. Will move to the western side of this compound a little bit. A lot more building to work with. Great nice action in the back line. Ray still surviving, but now has to dip into the shadows. Hotshot out in 4th place, another top 4 pit finish. for the
না
Hotshot.
ডিআরজি কাহিনীটা করতে কি দেখছো লঞ্চ প্যাড মেরে ডাইরেক্ট ঢুকে গেছে আগে সামনে গোটা আগে ধরে কোনটা ধরে রাখছে এরা একটা প্লেয়ার এখন সিএক্স কে ঢুকে গেলে মারা
do the impossible. Can
It
they
could be
wrap
অবশ্য
up
ম্যান পাওয়ার
a
বেশি
solid booyah here at
বলা যায় না
Alpine?
আসলে কি হয় কারণ ওই জায়গায় আবার ইবোসের একটা সোলো প্লেয়ার আছে ওই একাম করে
Just
দিব
need to play the game of survival. Ray circling on towards
ওই
Dragons.
গেলাম ওই
This
একাম
might
করে দিতে
just be
পারবো
a potential distraction. The Dragons
ওই তো
go
প্লেয়ার রিভাইভ
for,
দিতে পারবো
and
প্লেয়ার তো একটা আছে
unfortunately, Core Memory can take advantage of this.
This could also be slowly shaping up into one of those
বাট বেন্ডিং ওটা
unexpected but
ধরা উচিত ছিল
very
এই যে
welcome storylines. The underdogs of this competition, Dragon
Yeah.
Esports versus the underdogs of Thailand. Core Memory, one of their better performers. I would say one of their best performers so
না না
far in
ওয়াল
the group
লিমিটেড
stage.
ভাই
Dragon are down
Top
1
limited.
man, and that is something that Core Memory can
Esports
work
mode.
with. But as the siren sounds for the last time, Core Memory takes a shot in the back. Remind has
They are
all their
the
eyes,
heighter
has all of
advantage
them
নিয়ে
confirmed.
আগে
Let's
একটা
see if Dragon can close this out.
You hear those drums of liberation
spot
in
করা
the
মোটামুটি
background,
tough হয়ে
gearing
গেছে।
us up for a solid
এখন
booyah.
spot করে
Who takes it? Thailand.
বাট ইবোসের রে
Are we gonna
ওই যদি এই
see
জায়গায় কোনো
if
কাহিনী করে দেয়
Yao
ডিআরজির
goes
সাথে
away
তাইলে
with
কিন্তু এই
Booyah?
জায়গায়
Ray's in
বিএসসি এক্স
trouble. The players surround him. M590. He's
অলরেডি
hanging
কিন্তু
on
আমরা
for dear
দেখতেছি
life
যে
and
ভাই
will
কাহিনী
tag
করে
the blue. Emir doesn't cast.
আবার নেই
Evox finds him, but that
প্লেয়ার রিভাইভ দিয়েছে ডিআরজি সুযোগ
of their health, and I did not expect a revive
ওরাও
to come
বুঝছে
out
এটা
of
যে
nowhere.
রিভাইভ দিছে
But
আকাশে
now
দিয়ে ওরা
Cougar
তাকাইছে
and squad wrapping on in, waiting for the circle to drag Dragons towards themselves.
ও আটটা প্লেয়ার আছিল ওই যে সোলো প্লেয়ারটা মারছে ওই সোলো প্লেয়ারটা এখন আবার ওই জায়গাটায় আটজন হয়ে
from Core Memory. But at least for Dragon Esports, there is an X
ওই যে
factor.
নামে
Don finds Yasir, and that is the guy that just got brought back. They get vision.
আরে
Remind
নামতে
can
পারে না
see
উপর
it,
থেকে
but
মেরে
cannot
দিছে
fire. Down to a 3v4. A team of now.
ওরে কি স্নাইপিং সেরা
What a shot!
আমি
But
তো
Zenzi
ঘরের উপরে
instantly
উঠতে
finds the
পজিশন নেই
trade and Remind
ভাই শট
left
লাগাই
all
দিছে
alone, and he cannot do it. Core Memory
XK
locks
বুয়া
it
নামে
in. First booyah for the team.
Core Memory with the
প্রথম
solid
দিকে ভালো
plays.
এরা
But
পজিশনটা ধরে
props to
ধরে
Dragon Esports, man. Out of nowhere,
No,
the
wait,
underdogs
I don't know.
getting it
I
done.
can
This
make it.
was one of the hardest underdog circles we've
একটা
seen
ইয়ে
so
নিছিল
far.
লস রান নিছে, একটা ব্লু নিছে,
We're about to witness the
Erex
Group
নিছে
C
আর একটা
take
কারেন্ট।
over for day number 2, but thank goodness Vitality stepped up in the previous game and then core memory, but it still does not take away the fact that Group C came in swinging. Dragons Esports, good round 1. Game 2 and Game 3 not the best, but Game 4 was another opportunity to show them that the Middle Eastern region are constantly evolving.
And core memory so close to that number 1 spot already, putting in enough work, solid number of points as well. I believe 12 eliminations they walked away with in that matchup towards the very end. And that's the kind of performance you want to be chugging out in these lobbies. You don't need to aim for the skies all the time. You just want to have more than 10 eliminations, get to that final circle, and you're pretty much good enough to get your squad into point rush. That was a valiant effort turned into a solid booyah.
And at the end of the day, it depends on the perspective of the players. How do you want to finish the knockout stage? Do you want to finish in the lead and make a statement piece right off the bat? Or do you just want to do the bare minimum, make it through to point rush, and then start showing all your cards? And I think in this case, teams like Hotshot and Dragon Esports are looking at the latter, but teams like BRU, Core Memory, they're looking to instantly tell the world that they are here to take the trophy away. And if you don't step up, you will not stand a chance.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, this was a shocker for everyone, no doubt whatsoever. But Lost kind of losing that opportunity a tad bit late. But of course, we got Yunso out there with an interview set up for us. Let's see exactly what she's got with that.
Alright then, thank you AJ and Husky. And here's our little interview of our Kuga here. สวัสดีค่ะ Kuga โอเคค่ะเป็นยังไงบ้างอะอะไรนะครับ เป็นยังไงบ้าง
ก็เป็นยังไงบ้างครับ ดีใจครับที่เปิดบูย่าแรกได้ ก็โฟกัสเข้ารอบชิงครับ
So we are pretty happy and excited that we are finally be able to to get the first booyah, and from now on we're gonna focusing on getting to the championship.
Oh, that's really good to hear. So our second questions. Okay, Cougar. So how do you feel about when your team we are having a change of a player named Ston? How do you feel about him? Does it make a huge difference in our game?
ก็ในทีมมีเปลี่ยนเพลเยอร์มา1คนใช่ไหมฮะคิดว่าผู้เล่นที่เข้ามาใหม่เนี่ยฮะมีผลต่อรูปแบบการเล่นหรือว่ามีผลต่อผลลัพธ์ในการเล่นแต่ละรอบไหมครับ
มีครับก็เป็นอินเกมครับพี่ดนก็มีผลเยอะมากเลยครับคอยสั่งพวกผม
Yep, actually there's quite a huge effect from the new player that just joined our team. He's like kind of like our new IGL and like command, keep giving us the order, like what do we have to do if there is an urgent situation happen during the games.
That's really good to hear because I also find that there's a different thing about core memory that is done and they make a huge difference. So good luck in your next game, Cougar. Fighting Susuna. And now let's go to our break. But first, we will give you a final blow.
Triple kill. Triple kill. Triple kill.
Makin beberapa kali ini yang biji kita hadir berbeda.
Double kill.
What the fuck?
Triple kill.
Bye bye. Tata.
RHK খেলা নাই আজকে না ভাই না আজকে RHK খেলা নাই RHK খেলা কালকে সন্ধ্যা 7টায় কালকে থেকে গ্রুপ বি ভার্সেস
What's up, everybody? It's Yunsu hello everybody, all of my survivors in Free Fire. As you guys know, in Boulevard we have so many fun activities, having good foods to enjoy, all of the best thing in this life in esports waiting for all of you. But today I'm right here at this very futuristic place, beautiful place. How do I call it? Aramco Sim Arena. Right next to me is a simulator racing gaming. I really want to try it, but I'm wearing a dress, but who cares anyway, right? So I'm gonna first try my... Alright, headphone please. Oh. Alright, gonna start my game now.
Nice, thank you.
Kalma.
7 orang.
Woi, kita kanan kiri kanan aja ke sini. 100. Ini gas yang dekat. Sekarat banget.
কালকে ফাইটটা দেখে কালকে যে তাবুটার মধ্যে যে ফাইটটা হয়েছিল ভয়ঙ্কর ফাইট
Woi, kawan boys.
আপনি তো বাঙালি আমাদেরকে দেখছো কেন
Boy, let's go boy. Ada pais. Aman. Ingat suntik. Iya, santai.
Tapi dia terus tinggal dan kalau kita kita sini
Kanan 2, kiri 1.
Iya.
Kanan enggak sih?
Hujan dulu, santai. Gua ada kapal gua. Ada pais.
Sekarang.
Apa ini match itu?
Gas.
Limiter dia.
Honda ida.
Oh, Alpine দেখি জিম ম্যাচ হবে নাকি জায়গায় ম্যাপে Alpine dia দেখে নাকি
Bisa pegang.
Coba pegang.
Bisa dua-duanya bisa.
Lu pegang aja. Iya, lu pegang.
বুঝলাম না তো guys
Cucuin guys.
Sini. Oh, kita bakar kemana? Ayo, bareng. Sini, let's go.
ini mas power kok
Bareng, ingat. Bareng, let's go.
এটা কালকে ম্যাচ দেখে
কালকে ক্লোজার ডোমিনেশন দেখতেছে
হ্যাঁ ওইটাই তো কালকে ম্যাচ
ক্লিয়ার
Kalian lagi pada ngapain sih?
Memory have created their first memory here at EWC, grabbing their first booyah on Alpine of all maps, and of course they're going to be feeling fantastic about that booyah. Back to the panel, our panelists. I'm pretty surprised actually, because it was a pretty tense showdown during that final circle. We had 3 teams, right? We had EVOS with their lone player. We had Core Memory, who are basically the raid bosses. And then we had Dragons. I think a lot of people were cheering for Dragons to win that, but Core Memory, ultimately, they just played better.
Yeah, and Core Memory, they are really good at fights. I mean, they are mechanically good, but I think they weren't just not that adapted. I don't know. I don't feel that, because yesterday they played. I mean, it wasn't like a very good game, but now they can grab like the booyah, which is really cool. But I think it's good to add about Buriram, which is a team that we usually see like getting booyahs and eliminations, and right now I don't know, I feel that they are kind of missed it. I don't know what's going on, but they kind of disappeared after, I don't know, the second match maybe.
I do agree. It seems like Baat United is slowing down, but speaking of disappearance, like from the start of that match of Alpine, we had 3 teams who were in the top. R7 lost, as well as Fluxo, but they disappeared a little bit too early. So
maybe the map was a bit too cold, you know?
Yeah, this was kind of sad. I think it was something personal with us, with our Brazilian teams, and I'm pretty sad too for like Alpha 34, because they're not clocking. They can play. I don't know what's going on, and I think in this situation they won't pass to the point rush, so it's pretty sad. But we still have like Loss and Fluxo, and I think this was just an untypically match, and they can be like more stronger right now to the next one.
Well, we do still have a couple opportunities left. We've played 4 games today, meaning we've still got 2 more to go. And Nextera is our next map. Now, Raja, typically, okay, in a typical day, how would you rate the Brazilian teams on Nextera? Is this a map that the region is quite comfortable playing?
Fluxo is really good at Nextera. It's like one of the best maps for them to play. So I'm feeling really confident about it. And I think Los can do a great job because they are doing a great job in the whole broadcast today. In my opinion, it's one of the best teams for today. Like, they are being really consistent, and I mean, they have a really good synergy, and they have like they have a Rigby, which is the top 3 rusher in Brazil, and that's so important because we need that, and we know how Asian teams are good, so we need someone that, I mean, bring confidence to the team, and I think Rigby can do that job really well.
Statsman Neptune, pull up the stats of Fluxo. What are we expecting for them from Neptune? From Nextera.
For Nextera, currently out of the 6 teams that have played here from their group, so they are tied with Core Memory in this specific map from yesterday. But I guess with the motivation or momentum that Core Memory has, they can easily overshadow Fluxo at this point unless they really come for revenge. Like, being taken out a little bit early, that's something that the Brazilians really want to get away from.
And maybe they can speed things up a little bit, right? We're down to our last 2 games, and I think if you realize what position you are in on the leaderboard, you kind of want to make these last 2 rounds count so you feel comfortable knowing that, okay, we are not at risk of dipping below top 12 because, folks, top 12 is the first goal here for the knockout stage. If you don't make top 12, you're out of the competition.
Yeah, and I have something to add about Fluxo. Yesterday they played with like 3 rushers, 3 rush players, and today probably they will do the same because the landing drop where they usually got in Nextera, it's like a place where like Asians likes to play too. So I don't know how to explain for you guys, but I think they will play Nextera with like 3 players, 3 rush players, and they will put Prox to join into this match.
Yeah, that does make sense because if they played already, Prox is already introduced yesterday. So I guess with a rush build that Fluxo has, they can easily start it off on that hot drop and then play slow once again. So compared to what we seen yesterday, first 2 match always slow for Fluxo. So like hyping it up, like moving a little bit faster, and well, let's admit it. Last 2 games, it's clutch time.
Last 2 games is clutch time, but is it clutch time for any other teams? Because we kind of did focus on Fluxo here. Any Asian teams that are really going to want to play well on Nextera here?
Yeah, for Southeast Asia, I think there's a lot more. Team Vitality grabbed a Booyah from yesterday in this map, so I guess they can do a repeat. But it's still a tough call. Group C has been introduced, and we've seen a lot of hot teams.
I'm kind of missing Vitality, but I know that they played good. I think I can't remember the number of the match, but I mean, I think they went so much better yesterday. I don't know why I feel that, but maybe it's because this group is, I mean, Group C, it's like stronger, so maybe they are not adapted to it, you know?
That, and maybe the fact that Group C probably studied Group B, right? I think this was something that we talked about earlier in the broadcast. Being Group B, you have that disadvantage of, oh, we can research this team before we play them tomorrow. So Group C having that slight advantage makes it a little bit difficult. We are getting ready for our next matchup, folks. But before that, though, we actually have our SMB head-to-head. So let's head on over to the stage and see what the head-to-head is all about.
What's up, everybody? The SMB head-to-head. Hey, whoa. No,
Sorry about that.
You don't do that. You don't do that here. We do not get these smudges because these teams are working far too hard. And maybe this time around they can change it up here. My name's Getting Cute. This is Tash Bunny. We're here at the stage. Tash Bunny, I heard that you've got a team that you're interested in.
Oh, yeah.
For this head-to-head.
Oh, yes. Ever since Raja was completely glazing them on the desk, Lost has completely stolen my heart. They are a team that's really surprised me today with not only just those insane booyahs, those insane frags, but also they have the General.
The General, of course. He's looking to lead this team to the next generation of Free Fire. But for me, I'm a little more interested in a team who has a fan base from Vitality, a team and all their members. Give it up in the Pride. Give me some noise. They're here to show that they are the best. An Indonesian team picked up by a great organization, and now it's the second half of the day. We saw map 1, we saw map 2, but it's time to go on over to map number 5. We'll throw it over to our casters.
Thank you very much to Gideon, Tash, and the rest of the panel, Raja, Neptune, Danali. It's Husky and Natasha AJ back once more. When we talk about Vitality, the definition is the endurance to finish a run. It's not a sprint, it's a marathon, but for Vitality, it's the final 2 laps for the knockout stage run. Let's hop into Nextera for round number 5.
And the marathon for Vitality has been pretty decent so far. They've got a 30% top 3 rate, and that's pretty fair if you want to make sure that you're in the top 12, if you're not just aiming for the number 1 spot. Overall, they've got the 3rd spot pretty much guaranteed to make it a 3-point rush. But of course, another Indonesian squad is Onyx. They haven't been showing up so far. They are the champions of Southeast Asia, one of the first to make this miracle of champion rush look so effective out there. We want to see more from them.
So far, it has been a nightmare relived by Onyx. Last year, they came into EWC, their debut, and they completely dropped the ball. But right now, still early to say, I'm going to defend these boys a little bit. It's their day 1. We'll see what they can bring us, right? They dropped at Twin Bridge and Mortar Ruins, no contention. I'm surprised that Fluxo decided to shift away from Intellect Center, because 2 years ago, it was Intellect Center that got 3 out of the 4 players a FFWS Global Championship in 2023.
And an early shoot down here by the players of EVOS. Hacks and Gamescape.
তো নামার সাথে সাথে আর্সেনালের প্লেয়ারগুলো দৌড়ে দৌড়ে পিছে এই বুঝলাম না আজকে ক্লাসগুলোতে খালি দেখতে আর্সেনালের রিপোর্ট
Now stepping outside of his side turner. Della serves it up hot as well. Headshot to Ray, down on the ground. And Della now buys the squad a tad bit more time. For that revival, Joker is still in here. R7 is not down and out just yet.
You gotta give him credits for the utilization of the time turner. Right now, it lasts longer, it is more durable. You see the footwork, the bob and weave in and out to get the knock on to Ray, but unfortunately for him, it was a 2v1 EVOS getting 3 head start points just like that. R7 still in it, still very early on, but it's more like where do you pick, right? The place that they drop with the revive are all occupied. Plaza Ria by EVOS, Deca Square by Hotshot. The revive continue to come through, but as we talk about EVOS, Joker might make contact with Vaimgod.
Yeah, but the revival was already there, but now lost. Preying on the players of Fluxo. One after the other, they shut them down, and
No way.
one final survivor. Question on none of them at all. Down in the dumps, and Lost showing who's boss very early on here at Nextera.
Bested them locally, and now besting them on the world stage. This is a catastrophe for Fluxo. They will have time to think about it, because R7 Joker just found Aimgod isolated on top of the roof. R7 clocks in their first point of this round.
Absolutely phenomenal here for R7 when it comes to the recovery play. Joker goes down, but he's already bought that lifeline for the rest of his team members. Gamescape now just chilling by a vending machine in case things do go south for the squad once again. But I don't think he's going to take on a full-on fight with the rest of the EVOS squad, who have to thank R7 for 4 free points. Now Hasu running out in the open. Hotshots, let's talk about them now, because Hotshots, this has been one of their most phenomenal appearance on the world stage. Pakistan might just make it through to the finals this time round.
All they need to do is to play the last 2 rounds, make it to top 3, top 4 if they can. But the chances are slightly dwindling a little bit. Anas not able to get any collection, and he goes down. Hotshot left on the last legs, and unfortunately that's going to be Sajid RQ hunting him down. This could be that terminus for Hotshot. This could be where they fall short once more.
Some back and forth off screen here between Dragons and Onyx. Onyx losing 3 players already. Dragon, it's a 1v1 between Onyx and Dragon. We need to check that out. Seamont's down on the ground. And Dragons eliminated by Onyx Esports off screen. A tad bit unfortunate for the EMEA squad, but we were talking about how Onyx is lingering at the bottom of the leaderboard for performance today, and that is not a good spot for them to be. As they try to scratch and claw their way out of there, let's see if or not Alpha will be able to show us a tad bit of performance going up against RRQ.
And Alpha,
590 delivered.
And Alpha needs to deliver a couple points. They are in a very precarious position on the leaderboard. RRQ not only having to deal with Alpha, they try to spread up, but Alpha has all the exits covered. 2 points for them.
Beautifully done. As Onyx now slowly but surely revives their players one after the other. Alpha putting RRQ on the back foot, but that's not going to be a total shutdown just yet. 2 teams eliminated. Surprisingly, Fluxo one of them, but an early exit means nothing to a team that has picked up more than 100 points so far on the overall leaderboard from 2 days' performance. That should be enough to tip them over into point rush. But of course, we want to see more from the 2-time champions.
I personally think 120 is more than enough. It won't give you first place, but it will most likely guarantee you point rush unless the competition continues to deliver unexpected results, which we have seen over time, and it's still delivering. Multiple bodies dropped, multiple lives resurrected on that feed. Once more, Vitality now staring across the building. Core Memory sitting on that 2nd and 3rd floor.
Especially with the current meta where those revives are so much more possible with the coin machines littered all around the battlefield. You've got the Tiva combination in there as well for those instant pickups. And you just have so much of viability to go in for that huge reset. So we've seen some teams get massive points, and Nextera is one of those maps where you can really farm those elimination points. Thus far, EVOS as well as Lost have been onto it. 7 eliminations each. As we spot out Della, what a player, man. This guy could just be the clutch god of this season.
Yeah, I think he has a very good chance of once more staking his name. I mean, we've seen him plenty of times. You know, Della, or Soy Della as you know him, regardless. Coming into this as well, I think if you are a team like Vitality or Core Memory, you are also looking to make a statement piece. We just saw someone from Hotshot getting knocked down, but Hotshot's survival run still continues. Not sure how good it's going to look though. BRU crossing paths with them, and Hasu is going to brush shoulders with Vitality once more.
Yeah, the circle definitely going to move towards the area of Farmtopia, Decker Square. And once again, great read by these pro players, moving in a tad bit earlier. But Buriram kind of playing it slow as usual, just kind of laying low on the outskirts here at Turbine. And of course, quick highlight as well. Rasya, nobody has been able to rip away the #1 spot from this wonder kid. 16 years old and absolutely solid with the way he plays his games out there.
He's definitely one of a kind. Every now and then we will get a prodigy, regardless of whatever region we're looking at. But these kids, these up-and-coming stars, they come in with such a big bang that it almost feels like a miracle every now and then. It's a seasonal thing. As Oscar breaks the glue wall, 18 Deer gets a run down, the 5th point for AF.
Yeah, valiant dash indeed. And of course, the sacrificial lamb right in front of him, Alpha 34. But of course, very easy to get that done when your opponent's just one guy and you've got the rest of your squad backing you up. Oscar is just a double-edged sword. But of course, we saw it on day #1, that mad bum rush into Factory where 4 players got knocked down to the ground. That was phenomenal. I want to see one more of that play from Oscar today, man.
Plenty of Oscars in this lobby, that is for sure. Hotshot really coming down to just pure survival instincts, the will to fight on, because they have not been able to get anything done. It's not of their own actions, it's just the unfortunate circumstances, the reality that they kept running into different teams.
Oh, beautiful.
And now rest onto the shoulders of Hasu. Does he take a gamble on this point? Seems like he will opt for the safer route. Museum is the next closest point with a vending machine.
It's a very interesting plan here by Hasu. He could have stuck the full squad revival here with that revival platform, but instead is choosing to pick up those coins and, like you said, head on over to Museum, find a vending machine to bring his squad back in here. We'll check in with Hotshots in a little bit. For the time being, though, this might just turn out to be utter chaos. Buriram, EVOS, Core Memory, all in a tight little spot, waiting for that next circle to approach them at Plazaria.
And not only that, off-screen from Topia was occupied by Onyx. They scanned out Vitality and they took the portal goal too. So that fight might break out between these two Indonesian rivals. Another revive spree for Hotshot. So they are going to be back in the game, but time is going to start ticking pretty fast. Nando 9 and Haone taking down the members of Alpha 34, a quad and a fifth for Haone. He's just way too good. Basically locked in, and LOS lost 10 eliminations.
Oh, Raone with 5 eliminations so far. SVD in hand, unstoppable with that rate of fire and damage. Ridby rocking the same gun as well. They're going to be pretty deadly from those long-range shots. You definitely need those in next era because you've got a lot of these compounds where teams are going to be hiding away at, only peeking from that window, and you want to be ready to take those accurate shots straight to the head. So we know R7 is ready for that final circle play this time around. They've got the combinations of that M590 as well. Of course, once again, highlight to not one but two players from EWAS Esports, both Rasya and Ray dominating with the damage.
And this is going to be crunch time. You look at Hotshot's position once more, completely separated. Full revive finally completed. But they are going to come in basically naked with minimum to work with. So let's see if that willpower is going to get them through. Again, top 4 is the best position just for placement itself, but with where Saji dropped, he's probably going to be fed instantly. Rasya picks up a freebie for himself, but it's nothing much that Hotshot can do.
Yeah, interesting move here by Hotshots. First of all, Hasu succeeds with the full squad revival off of the outer circle revival at Museum. 3 players back in here, and instead of dropping into one spot, which will be very dangerous, they have now spread out onto the battlefield looking for the placement points for the win here. I think Pakistan has got the right strategy. They just need to inch on forward game after game, not looking for the booyah. This is a smart play for Hotshots.
And this is the best course of action. Hasu even finding a vehicle to facilitate that rotation. He has finally escaped the blue just in time before the blue really start to do some serious long-term damage. Portugal being dropped down by R7. This could be a big jump. They're going to take it right now on 3 of them. The transport will be completed on top of the roof. Vitality on one side and Onyx on the other.
Yeah, I mean, it's good to see some teams not forgetting the fact that the portal goal still exists. Yeah, a tad bit expensive, but the coin machines are littered everywhere on the battlefield. R7 making good use of that. A clear rotation round, finding the roof, and now they are in prime position to play this next circle. But of course, when it shrinks a little bit more though, R7 is going to have a very, very big advantage here. So those are once again big brain plays from them. But up against 2 Indonesian squads, Onyx and Vitality, this is going to be difficult.
Vitality just spotted a Hasu. So he's going to be taken down. If you're action right now, I think Hasu needs to make the call action. Just stay still. Yeah. Don't even let them hear you breathe. It's you and Anas at this point. There's no more shot for any revival at this point, aside from feeding free points to the opponents. But thankfully, you have RQ who just joined Plazaria. Yeah. And this could be a distraction that Hotshot can utilize to get deeper into the run.
Absolutely. And that is the right assessment because Hotshots at this point of time, if they get eliminated, they only walk away with 1 placement point. They gotta wait for a few other squads to drop out their first. Loss is helping them out by shutting down player after player from Alpha 34. The boys still hanging on for their dear lives. Next circle. Does R7 get the read accurately here? Or does Buriram, Core Memory, and EVOS find the next circle? Neither one, as RRQ is the one that's flavored in a beautiful spot for the circle as well. You've got a little bit of a half and half with a decent compound to work with at Plazaria as well.
I would like to believe that RQ also scanned out the northern side because that Dinoculus took a scan, pinged out 12 players. But the baton is going to be passed from action to Anas, who is the closest person to the circle at Plazaria. Another big scan. I think this one most likely is going to be by RQ, by Lost, because Anas was caught in the radar. 5 members being pinged instead of 4, and Lost has 13 eliminations.
I can't believe Anas is still shooting at players at this point of time because Hotshots really just needs to stay calm and not show up on the map at all. Play those placement points because we thought Alpha was about to get taken down, but they're hanging on for their dear lives here. R7 is still alive and kicking on the side of Alpha 34. And he finds action on top of everything else as well. Big play by Alpha, big play by R7.
Nothing much that he can do as Alpha 34 getting wiped out. It's all down to Anas. First to go down in the round, but now last to stand. Rasya finds another knock. This one is a big big hit onto Moshi. Lost stepping in again. BRU tasting the wrath of two different regions in a single go. R7 against Onyx. The glue wall will not stand for long. R7 starting to bombard the compound.
Well, fantastic glue wall erected here by Onyx, just bouncing off all of those grenades. R7 doesn't get to nick away a couple of extra lives here, and now they're out in the open, battling up against the circle. But EVOS out of the window, straight into the firing squad of Lost. Nando 9 taking good advantage with their high ground action. Hotshot out in 9th, not enough placement points for them, but we'll have to see what they do in game number 6. In the meantime, EVOS desperately trying to break down the defenses they set up to go after Buriram.
And EVOS needs to take down Wasana. They need to eliminate this third party, an X factor that could turn it all around on his heels. Ray desperately trying to bring around the Rosie. Vitality joins the fight, and EVOS, they didn't want this to happen, but Vitality do not care. Wasana finds a second chance as those glue wall continues to be put up, but the blue zone is closing in. Vitality needs to break through.
Unbelievable stuff from Buriram. Wasana hanging on for his dear life, but unfortunately for him, it will come to an end as well. Ray finding him with the M590. R7 now outside the circle, but the zone moves straight towards them. This is going to be a huge advantage they need to play with their glue walls well. Core Memory going to be keeping Vitality a tad bit busy now.
And Vitality have a very good shot of stopping a back-to-back for Core Memory and getting a second booyah for themselves in this knockout stage. Core Memory really stuck on the second floor. They need to jump off the ledge. The time turner will only buy so much time as Lost gets eliminated off screen. Core Memory now takes the fight to Vitality. Cougar with the Oscar dash finally makes it to the backline, turns around, but Koja is ready to accept the challenge. The interception for Vitality works out. Core Memory still allowed, but R7 now joins.
Yeah, R7 not waiting for Vitality to take the fight up against them. Gamesking dealing with the damage that the blue brings to the table, going in for the eliminations. Dawn desperately trying to find his recovery. R7 not giving them room at all. Food really low on their HP, has the Trogon in hand. More importantly, needs to top up his health. The circle gets the rest of the job done. Jump, unfortunately, is not going to be able to save his buddy. Has got that Superman in hand, and now Core Memory finds a little bit of space to recover.
What a rotation. The launch pad. Games King survives, but Joker gets picked up by Noki, the only Malaysian representative and the first ever Malaysian export. He gets traded back. Games King is not going to let that slide, but Onyx, they're still holding up pretty well with a compound to work with. Jump lays down the launch pad. Don is healing himself up, but maybe Jump needs to take this leap of faith. And Abai, he sees him, shoots him down right in the midair, and there's nothing left for Core Memory.
Yeah, just shooting them out of the skies. RRQ, sharpshooters indeed. Now two Indonesians stacking above each other, looking to take the heads of R7. Question is, will the Mexicans be able to oust whatever the Indonesians bring to the table? They're gonna allow them to do a little bit of damage to each other first before interfering in this fight. Either way, R7 will have to move first when that circle starts to close in 15 seconds.
They will have to make the first move, just like you said, proactiveness. Even if they don't want to, it will be forced through circumstances. Final siren blast. The Indonesians brace themselves for a final confrontation. It seems like Onyx not gonna wait. They take the fight straight to RRQ. Absolute madness, but RRQ able to hang on just by a little bit. Onyx not able to finish the job, but Adam, he's not going to relent. They pursue RRQ. Joker finds Scribe. R7, they have a dang good chance of cleaning up the scraps. The Indonesians infighting might have just given this round away. And R7 against RRQ.
Like shooting fish in a barrel, R7 taking advantage of the infighting between the Indonesians. And now Abe in a 1v3. How can he clutch this out? He's got the right gun. He's got the M590 going up against a Trogon and an M590 in the hands of Games King and Della. But R7 playing it smart, going in for the flank around. But one great big mistake. Can he continue in a 2v1? Abe only finds a knock, and R7 delivers the first booyah of the day.
And once more, a region that is very, very less mentioned puts themselves on the docket. R7 joins the list of teams that have gotten a booyah. And that is going to bring some attention not just to themselves but to the entirety of Group C. RRQ and Onyx, they had a shot, but Onyx got impatient. They took the fight to RRQ, they rolled the dice, but unfortunately it was not a perfect 20. It was a horrendous number 1 roll, and RRQ Abai left to pick up the pieces. The Wonder Kid can only do so much for Indonesia.
Yeah, a couple of teams faltering a tad bit too early, and these are big names. Fluxo out with nothing in that round. Buriram only managed to pick up 4 points. This was a big game, and Movistar R7 proving exactly who the stars are out there. Mexico trying to make a name for themselves here, and they sure as hell are doing a good job at it.
Just gotta say, compared to 2024, compared to this 1 year ago, we already have a lot more unique teams getting a booyah, and that's just on the second day. Really speaks volumes of how this esports, this title has evolved over the years. The meta, the format changes. Movistar R7 once more. We said that they needed to make the first move.
Yes.
By circumstance alone, they are at a disadvantage, but the fates smiled upon them. Patience rewards those who wait. It's a virtue for Movistar R7.
Hey, Movistar R7 has most definitely been on the trajectory upwards. Last year in their local league, they got the 7th spot. This time, number 1 within their own region, and of course to qualify for this competition and making everything work in their favor. But of course, we're gonna take a quick short break. When we come back, you guys get the panel once again.
The human body was built to move, not trapped at a desk in one singular posture for 12 hours a day. It's time your chair evolved. This is Secret Lab Titan Evo. Ergonomically engineered for you, gamers, hybrid workers, artists, backing your every move.
Breaking news.
Hola gente, soy Hacks y le voy a preguntar al Joker, ¿cuál es tu arma favorita?
¿Mi arma favorita?
Sí.
La espada bulla.
We are getting so close to wrapping up here at Free Fire EWC 25, and we have seen so many teams pick up booyahs today. It hasn't been a case of 1 to 2 teams dominating the leaderboard. It has been spread pretty evenly in the grouping so far for Group B and C. Gideon, I know you have a lot to talk about this. What is it, just a case of everyone being equally skilled? Like, what's kind of happened today?
I think that is a very good point. It is the case of not only people being very skilled, but also adaptable strategies that can be templated again and again and again, and evolving as the regular season goes on, coming into the international tournaments. I think for now, when we're looking at these match rankings, tell me, is it not clear that the East and West battle, everybody is looking for the top? Not one side is lopsided or stronger than the other.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I love as well the difference in terms of points on those on the left-hand side. Like, it's not too much. It's not top heavy compared to what we've seen yesterday's game. So I guess this is where really, when you talk about skills, everyone is skilled in this fight. And thus, the booyah is being taken by different teams.
Yeah, I totally agree with you guys, and I would like to add that I told you guys that this will happen. So R7, it's so capable, I mean, to go to the point rush, and some people normally, I mean, they usually think that LATAM teams, they are not strong enough, but R7, it's like the best team from LATAM so far, and they are so good. I'm so proud of them too, because, I don't know, I was kind of cheering for them. So yeah, it was such an amazing job.
amazing job for them. Also, probably, I want to say maybe small factor, we had a bit of a mishap happening in that final circle. In particular, a certain boxing situation, which, okay, was that an accident, or do you guys feel like in the heat of the moment, it seemed like the right play to try and pick up your teammates, but then you're kind of setting your team up to get picked off?
Well, I mean, let's look at these highlights, right? I think it's probably going to show up here pretty soon, sooner or later. But yes, Onyx, unfortunately, coming up a little short-handed. I would say yes, it is a little bit of a missight because it's not a team effort's mistake. It is one person's mistake. They understood that potentially we could get surrounded, potentially we were going to get attacked, but by the time they noticed that R7 was actually on the ledge above, and unfortunately one of the members of RRQ who slipped away, which Onyx was the only one aware of it. R7 did not know that one of the members of RRQ had slipped away in the middle of that fight.
Yeah, he did try to fight towards the end. Managed to go for the knock, but it's just a 1v4, so it's tough. But the reason why, reason why Onyx Olympus boxed themselves in, because we're talking about Nextera. We do have a boxing gym right here, so...
I was kind of missing RRQ because they were kind of, I don't know, I feel that they just disappeared in a moment during the matches, but when they were in the global finals in Brazil, they were like really good, so I was kind of missing them, and they showed to us like a good game, but at least R7 just got the booyah.
I mean, R7, they deserve the booyah, especially when they made the right calls coming into that final circle. Unfortunately for the Indonesians, just falling a little bit too short this late into the tournament. Now, we are getting ready to jump into match number 6, and probably the most highly anticipated one on the panel, because yes, again, we are going to be going on to the new map, Solara. I want to start a discussion on this, because we did see the teams play on Solara yesterday. So we do... Okay, how do you feel this map is going to be for this matchup? Like, is it going to continue to be the X Factor map? Is maybe Group B going to have an advantage because they have actually played on that map yesterday? Because Group C haven't touched it yet. It's their first time playing on the map today.
I personally think that is going to be still rather chaotic overall. Luckily, Vitality is still playing, and they've shown that they've actually have some sort of a strategy. I haven't cracked the code on it just yet, but I'll get back to you guys when I do. Overall, the fights have been good, and I've noticed first 3 maps, pretty chill. First page, only a couple of teams will have double-digit numbers. Next 3 maps, we're seeing that, keep in mind, that very first page on the left side, when you see those rankings, double digits all the way through.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, for this map specifically for Solara, yesterday, Team Vitality, the team who dubbed themselves King of Solara, has been denied. And none of the teams from yesterday, like coming into here, have grabbed a booyah in this map. But still, Team Vitality is on the top when we look at Group B and C. So I guess they would want to get that booyah and just put themselves up on the leaderboard.
Yeah, but there's also the thing, right? Is Vitality maybe setting themselves up to be sniped, right? Like if you call yourself king, someone's going to challenge that crown.
Yeah.
I mean, it can be like a Fluxo maybe, because I think they need to do like a good match right now, because 2 top 12, it's not what like the crowd in Brazil are kind of expecting. So it's not the result that we are used to see from Fluxo. So I hope it can be Fluxo maybe.
So we do have the overall rankings on the screen for you folks at home, and this is just a bit of a status update, okay? Now keep in mind, a lot of the teams towards the up end of the bracket, they are probably going to be Group B because they have played 2 days worth of matches, so do not panic. If you are cheering for teams in Group A and C, they still have one more round tomorrow, but there are a couple teams in the danger zone, I believe. I've got Neptune here checking out the numbers just to double check, but at the moment, for Group B, who is at risk of being knocked down?
Well, Alpha 34, definitely out of all the teams from Group B mixed up with Group C, there's the ones like odd one out. Very close. 12 teams right now, and it's tough to call if they will be able to catch up. They're like second to the bottom. So
essentially, they need to booyah, is what you're saying.
I don't know if they'll be able to do it with just one booyah, because we were expecting at least 130 to keep yourself safe, and they're not there just yet.
Well, unfortunately, there's just not enough points to go around, so we'll have to let the teams fight it out and decide who is going to end the day with our last bag of points. But it looks like we're ready to jump into Solara, folks, so throwing it over to our casters right now. Husky and AJ, take it away for our final match of the night.
Thank you, Danny. Alpha 34 in trouble indeed, Mr. Neptune. They are down in the dumps at this point of time. 56 points in total. One final opportunity for this Brazilian squad to put a good amount of points up there on the leaderboard to stay in the game, to make it to Point Rush as well as the grand finals. But another team from Group B, Husky, you and I were just talking about them. Hot shots, 85 points so far. They need a minimum of 15. 100 points is the benchmark we've got for these boys to make it through to the finals.
Neptune said that 130 is the safest spot, but for hot shot, I think 100. And then you leave it up to the stars or the constellation or whatever you believe in out there. You know, if you're born in I don't know, like the rising sun, maybe.
Or believe in themselves?
Believe in themselves. I'm pretty sure the Pakistani fans have been really riling up the chat. Them RedHawks, you know, these passionate fans seeing their teams play, even though they are going up against the odds.
Fluxo versus Dragons Esports. Emia's going for the big ones at the very get-go, and Fluxo has not been having a great day here. 40 points out of 5 games. This has been one of their weaker days, but of course, Fluxo has always done this. They always try to trick people into thinking that they're not top performers, only to grab the championship by the end of the day. But of course, Emia is out there to impress, and they desperately need some points. But I don't know if Fluxo's the right team to be hitting down on, and Butches in shows C-Mogs. They're definitely not the right ones.
It's important for Fluxo to recover, right? They got 2 rounds in a row, they got nothing. But in this case, Alpha 34, they are here to play spoilers. Because realistically, Alpha 34 is not going to make it unless they break a world record in this round. But for hot shot, the conditions are so much easier, and this is going to decide all of it. And Sagi is the first one to go down. Action needs to back up his team, but there is going to be a different member from behind. Hisachi from behind. Backstep hot shot. This could be the end of the run for the Pakistani squad. Alpha 34 about to ruin a fairy tale for hot shot Esports. They certainly have done it. Hot shot Esports left with just Hasu and action.
Alpha not out of the deep end of the waters just yet. Just when you thought they were going to get wiped out, Luan gets revived back in here. It's a 2v2. It's a fair game so far. And on that revival, Luan is flying far, far away. It's a 2v2. Hot shots can still get this done. And how beautiful, how poetic that the two teams we highlighted that desperately need some points will meet at the very first start here. Ana's on the pickup, but R7 puts an end to that run. And hot shots, how unfortunate at the get-go here, the first squad to get eliminated.
R7, AF, Alpha 34, they knew that they couldn't make it, and they drag hot shot down right into oblivion with them. What a heartbreaking way to go to end that run. But again, commendable effort from hot shot throughout the entire league. Pakistani, we will remember you. They've definitely left an impression, but there we go. Continuing the story, the bout between Dragons Esports and Fluxo is not done just yet, but Remind is going to be done in by Bobs as he goes down.
Dragons are most definitely going to be reminded you do not mess with Fluxo. The Brazilians may seem like they're having a bad day, but they're just hanging back, chilling as usual. Lots on the other hand coming across one of the most dangerous Indonesian squads out there, and the focus is going to be on that recovery, picking up the team members. RRQ Dudes pulling in those revives in the nick of time to keep the squad still in play.
Might be another clash on screen between BRU and Evos 2. Right, that's the northern side of studio. Obviously in this case we see the ping, the Dinoculus. It could be from Evos or R7, but I'm willing to bet it's R7 that got the scan onto BRU. If Evo sees this coming, yeah, they're gonna just back off. We see them, R7, about to engage with BRU. Moji takes contact, almost goes down. Double glue wall to block off the engage, but Hacks and Games King find one for themselves. Get high, gets a response to the Games King, but unfortunately for R7, BRU is not here to go down without a fight. 2 versus 2. Evo now joins in. Joker takes a hit. Get high gets knocked down. Joker fights Aimbot. He gets traded by Rasia. Bella finishes off Get High. Both R7 and BRU are crippled.
A surprising three-way battle well here. R7 jumping on and into a fight where they most definitely did not want to look for more out of. And a 2v1 now. Della, clutch guard. Can he walk away with something? Aim God himself says, hell no, Mustachio. We're here to play. And he had the meta gun M590 in his hands. And R7 just slowed down a tad bit here. It's not the end for the Movistar squad just yet. We'll see more from them in a little bit, but EVOS back to their high-scoring ways.
And BRU, Wasana able to slip away into the shadows just now. In the midst of all the chaos, bringing Moshi back into the fray, keeping BRU alive in this run. We've lost two teams pretty early on, Hotshot Esports and R7 no longer part of the equation, but at least R7, at least for R7, they still have a chance tomorrow. 6 more rounds to work with. Vitality and Core Memory though, this is their last.
Pakistan, I know they're deeply disappointed that Hotshot Esports got eliminated too early here, but a little bit of a fun fact. Last year at EWC 24, Hotshots, they managed to walk away with 80 points. This time they did slightly better, 87 points. But is that going to be enough to keep them in the top 12? We will see tomorrow as Group B takes on Group C. This is the final game here for Group B. Group A takes on Group C tomorrow. The final game here for Group B, and unfortunately for Hotshots, their run comes to a tad bit of a premature end. And like you said, man, it's all up to the stars or whatever the fans believe in at this point of time to keep the squad in.
It's definitely one of those stories that it left an impression a lot more compared to last year, but almost a safe ending. Just 1-7 runs down Ma'al. Again, RRQ just not having the start that they want. Early on, we see Abai getting taken down, getting brought back, and now Ma'al is the victim. And for Alpha 34, they know is all for the marble. They have nothing to lose. If what it takes to qualify is to break a world record, they might as well hell do it right now.
Absolutely, and this is the fire that we're talking about, right? Alpha 34 understanding exactly what is required, and they start things off hot. And as the stars align for them, they came across Hotshots who were vying for that spot with them as well. And they will find more players off of RRQ. One straggler, 18 Deer. The Drogon doesn't get to save him. Swat finds him in the M590 yet again. The next circle, though, is going to be key for the reposition for a majority of the squads here, especially Lost, who may just come across Onyx, who wants to rotate far in towards the circle as well.
And with the circle closing in towards TV Tower, makes a rotation. Early on, they scan out where RRQ members are at, but Alpha 34, they want more. Let's see if that greed pays off. One of 7 deadly sins is going to lead straight into Vitality and Core Memory.
Alpha 34 initially their rotations were solid, but now into troubled waters. We'll have to catch up with them in a bit. Outside the circle, we do spot the players of EVOS just chilling around, looking for that loot. Circle 2 doesn't hurt just yet, but in 20 seconds, Circle 3, that's where trouble will come. And this light rail is going to bring EVOS directly to Buriram. This does not seem like a fun pathing for the Indonesian squad.
I think you stop here, you rotate southbound. There is a vending machine to work with to stock up before you hit south again to Bloomtown. That is the optimal one, considering what we can see. But for the teams, let's see if they can make that educated guess. It is once more a dice roll in this case. They dropped the Dinoculus. EVOS actually scanned out where BRU are. All 4 members of BRU at Archway. So this could give them the confirmation that they need to go southbound. Unless EVOS feels a bit peckish and they want to take on a different squad.
Well, if they want a snack, you know exactly where to find that. Solara is one of, not one of, the newest map out there. Not many teams have found full-on dominance here. Vitality calls themselves the kings of Solara. In Southeast Asia, they most definitely have proven time and time again their capability to find dominance on this map. But thus far, no points on their side. Does not mean that they're not going to dominate this just yet, because they've been out of trouble, out of this competition. No glue walls, no medkits have been wasted so far, but they are in very, very close quarters here up against Core Memory, who's at the top of the leaderboard and perhaps a little bit hungry for those points, because this is their last game as well.
But my heart stopped for Fluxo. They took so long to rotate. This could cost them big time. And I think it's fair for us to, for me to at least say this, right? It's the last round of the knockout stage. Most likely will qualify. With Raja, if you're listening, I gotta say, Fluxo, they have been a bit sloppy on this rotation. They're taking a bit too much of their sweet time. And a lot of times we see Fluxo, they make the rotation sure, but they lose like 60% of their health bar. They have to be a bit more efficient with those moves. And thankfully this time there was no team to really mess up that movement. So they make it through. They get a good Dinocular scan. They get a good compound to work with just a little bit. But if we make it through the point rush and Fluxo pulls this off, it is going to really bite them in the back.
What's crazy is the lowest bar that we had set was 100 points here. And they started off this game with 101. They've picked up 4 points now. They're sitting at 105. This is still a very risky zone for Fluxo. Can you imagine a world where they do not make it to point rush? That would be absolutely insane. And perhaps Dragons Esports could have a round 2 with Fluxo to stop them, perhaps gatekeep them as well. But this is going to be a crazy circle to enter because whatever compound that is available for defense has already been occupied. You only have to deal with the outer ranges, which is just wide open range, where you will have to use up a lot of your glue balls very early on. Fluxo is in a ton of trouble, and Lost, I believe, is about to come across them as well.
And I just like that you brought up Lost because this has been the kryptonite of Fluxo.
Yes.
Beat them in the domestic league, and right now might be the team to snuff them out once more. And I think Fluxo knows this. They saw 4 members, 4 hostiles across the horizon and Lost.
They won it.
They're going to take the fight. Here they go. Are they going to make the call right now?
They send in Rigby first.
Top 3 rushes. Here we go. Electrotherapy. We see that from the Cassie. And following out to Fluxo. The retirement just for cautionary purposes. The glue was put up. This is such a great movement from Lost. They're trying to corral Fluxo. And now Lost finds a good spot. How are they again from above? Takes down GU.
Great plays with the RGS 50 and the LMG as well. Round 1 will wreck the opportunity of Fluxo. GU desperately trying to hold on here. 105 points. Is this going to be enough for Fluxo to hang on? Hanaral picked up once again. And Fluxo, on the other hand, having the floor wiped with them. Could this be the end of the Brazilian champions?
Once more, the Campeonas, La Campeonas of Brazil, Lost, showing what they are made of. Numero 1 in the region, kryptonite of Fluxo, and a heroic play from Haone to set things up for the squad. Really showing that Vamos mindset from the region. Just sure cold-blooded engagement. Fluxo, like you said, AJ, they are in the red zone after this round.
Dude, I did not expect Fluxo to be in the red zone. Never would I have ever thought this is what we see out of your 2-time world champs. No question. I thought they were hanging back, but perhaps they played with fire a tad bit too much. Now they need to depend on Lady Luck. They need to count on the stars in the sky and wait for them to align. But I don't know if the universe will abide by what they want. But the circle is just teasing everyone at this point. It just goes straight directly towards Lost, and Lost has got the time in the world, all the time in the world, to play this recovery and wait for everybody else to approach them in the open grounds.
The one team that can stop them is Onyx, and Onyx are not going to wait. We saw Onyx in the previous round, they got impatient, that's why R7 walked away, but this time it could be different, as R7, Effie Sechi from the side of AF, the different R7, runs into BRU, still bleeding out, and can pick back out very quickly, has the blue to deal with. Evo's also around the corner, 3 different teams, BRU looking to run away, Ray wants to take down that member, but somehow couldn't land enough shots. Evo's now guards the perimeter of this compound, they have a good chance to pick up a couple of stragglers across the horizon. RRQ now is going to show up on the radar as Wasana takes out Liz. Is about to get messy.
Absolutely. R7 down on the ground, bleeding out. Alpha desperately needs those solid points. Whatever they can put on the table, they most desperately need it for themselves. But EVOS with the brilliant reposition on the jump pad, turning around, and Rasia of all players finding that long shot. And the first grenade elimination 13 minutes into the match is insane, but we see it out of EVOS.
I believe that Onyx just got wiped out. Alpha 34 as well. The story finally has this final chapter penned. A full stop for this squad, the underdogs of the Brazilian region. Joining Fluxo out in the lobby coach, just a point blank grenade launcher into 18 Deer's face. He's a deer in the headlights. Another elimination, 11 points for EVOS as they continue to run into the safe zone, but they're getting shot at by Jonah. They're getting shot at by RRQ. They're getting shot at by Vitality.
on it. Unfortunate for them this time round. They don't get to put on more points on the leaderboard. They'll have to wait for tomorrow. Thankfully, they are in Group C. But Vitality, on the other hand, the ones that call themselves the Kings of Solara, finding a couple of points out there, getting those knocks, those crucial ones on top of everything else, looking for that high ground. But that should not be where you go, because the circle will not be in your favor. Core Memory finding their backs. A couple of blue walls that they erect, blocking out their shots as well. And that will play against them as Koja lobs in a phenomenal god name.
Good exchange from Cougar to take him out as Koja now turns his attention over to Evos. Kyung now joins the fray. Core Memory, they've laid low the entire game just to cash in on this moment, but it seems like it's not paying out so far. Retiring for Kochu to try and expose Vitality, but they have enough resources to stay alive. As Jump ends the lifeline of Evos. Kochu gets knocked out in 6th place. Jump now turns over to Koja, but here comes the full rush for Vitality. Fire is on the red. Jump could not finish off. Koja once more pulls through in the end as Lost shows himself on the kill feed. Cougar goes down. It's down to 2 for Core Memory.
Vitality now dealing with the circle as well, but Lost taking advantage from the opposite side of the battlefield. Long-range shots, and as anticipated, the circle going to move on to the flatter lower grounds. Koja with a mad rotation here, right outside the circle, has to absorb some damage from the blue, straight into the vehicle, but that was an insane play as Han puts him out of the race. Vitality eliminated in 5th.
Desperation move from the side of Vitality. 5th place is all they have. The jump pad left behind by the remnant of an opponent. Seafox finally shows his face. Rigby takes up that kill, a stolen point. Dragon Esports, they make their move as well. He's dead against Lost, taking the fight straight towards the Brazilian Kings. Let's call them out in form. There's only 2 full squads left. Unfortunately, from the side of General, he gets knocked down. MT60 joins in and takes out the rest of Dragon Esports. They'll clean out the remnants of this. And unfortunately for Dragon, there's just not enough for them to stand toe-to-toe with Lost. And it's only RQ with the last remnants of the members on the map. And there's nothing that Ma'au can do. Lost gets the booyah, and Lost once more proves why they are the Kings of Brazil.
No Fluxo, no problem, baby. Your number 1 squad out of the Brazilian League is here to play and here to dominate. What a massive game out of Lost. 21 eliminations strong. And there ain't nobody out there who can keep up with the pressure that they are bringing on to right now. Falcons are going to have their hands full tomorrow with this team.
Flashbacks from last year, when some of them were still with Netshoes minus GG. They almost made that Cinderella story happen. Not in the group stage, but in the grand finals. 2 back-to-back booyahs in round 4 and 5, only to fall in the Falcons' nest in round number 6. But then you look back, and now you look at some of them who survived the purge, who became members of Lost, winning domestically over Fluxo by a hair's inch, and right now might just have been the Grim Reaper and the executioner for one of the best teams in the world, a 2-time world champion Fluxo. Lost has put themselves in a powerful spot.
They definitely have seen EWC 24, Hanaral Nano 9, Ra 1, under minus GG, and they were the squad that stole everybody's hearts. They shocked the world with their performance. They were the underdogs for sure out of Brazil. Nobody expected them to make big plays, but big plays they sure as hell made. But now as Lost, they have found their way and they are looking for sheer dominance. Last year it could have been the Falcons. Last year Thailand reigned supreme. This time Brazil looking to make quite a bit of noise out there.
And what a poetic way to say it as well. Lost, previously Los Grandes, literally translates to the big brother, the big team, and the big challenger, all the way from Brazil onto the Esports World Cup stage. And if there's one way for them to make everyone remember, and it's not through their name, it's through that gameplay.
Absolutely, man. I mean, some solid, phenomenal action out there, and it wasn't as if they were tiptoeing around the circle, and they were not looking for fights at the same time. Whatever came their way, they made the best of it, and the first thing they made best of was finding Fluxo out in the open. Not only do they put a stop to them, they also increase their chances of dominating Point Rush as well as Grand Finals, because who knows them better than Fluxo? Who can probably put a stop to them and their rotations other than Fluxo? They are looking to take out one of their biggest threats out there, and as luck would just have it out here on the Solara map. They would encounter each other so early on, and Fluxo didn't manage to pull away those solid points. A huge miss for Fluxo, a phenomenal gain for Lost, and they just continue to pummel down squad after squad. We've got the interview on stage with a player of Lost. Let's head on over to Yunso. We'll catch you guys tomorrow.
Welcome to the Amazon post-match interview. I'm Carol Bombshell, and we just finished the last match for the knockout stage, especially for Group B that won't play tomorrow anymore. And that's why we have to have a word with Fluxo team, and I'm here with Bobs, the team captain. Let's talk to him about the today performance for Fluxo. For sure, today was not your best day, and you guys have 2 top 12 finishers and a lot of ups and downs. Is there any specific reason to explain this performance today? Com certeza vocês não tiveram o melhor dia de vocês, tiveram muitos altos e baixos. Tem alguma razão para explicar sobre o que aconteceu hoje?
Na verdade, não sei muito o que falar, né? Jogamos muito mal ontem, jogamos muito mal hoje. Nesse campeonato não sei o que acontece, nós não conseguimos nos performar bem. E se passar vai ser... Querendo ou não, vai ser sorte, mas se passar, vamos dar tudo na final, rever os nossos erros e ir bem na final, que é o nosso objetivo, ser campeão. Sonhamos com esse campeonato todos os dias, desde o ano passado. Não paramos um minuto de pensar nele sequer, mas infelizmente ocorreu como ocorreu hoje e também ontem. Não foi o nosso melhor dia e foi uma atuação bem abaixo da nossa, então é isso.
There's not much to say. We know that this tournament is really important to us, but we did our best. Yesterday also was not our best day, our best performance, but we dream about AWC every day. And right now, if we go to the next stage, to the point rush and make to the finals, for sure we're gonna try to see what was our mistakes, and we'll for sure get better to play at the grand finals. And for our last question is about Los. Your fight against Los was definitely one of the toughest moments for you guys today. Do you think they have figured out what was your play style and now they know how to knock you down and take you out of the competition? Com certeza, as partidas contra Los foi um dos momentos mais altos do dia hoje. Eles também são um time brasileiro. Vocês acham que eles já sabem o estilo de jogo de vocês e é por isso que eles sabem como tirar vocês das partidas? Eles estudaram vocês?
Eu acho que todos os times estudam nós somos os atuais campeões do mundo no FFWS, então todos os times chegam a estudar, mas sobre a Loz eu acho que foi pura coincidência, não tem como saber se era nós, então eles apenas estavam jogando o jogo deles e acabou que trombamos com eles 2 vezes morremos, infelizmente, então é mais desmérito nosso.
Alright. Good answer. Yes, for sure, Los, they know how we play, but most of the teams here know how we play. We are the reigning champions of Free Fire World Global, and most of them know our play style. So right now, we just need to focus on ourselves right now and pray that we are going to advance to the next phase. Guys, today we have watched some high-level Free Fire action here, and I am more than happy to be here with you all. And right now, I'm more than happy to send to this next leader. They're gonna talk to you. They're gonna to do an interview. Yusu, it's all the stage. It's all yours.
Hi everyone, that's our Karlo bombshell, and this is our little conversations with Evos. Hi Evos.
Hello.
Hi Ray. Okay, so this is our second day and also our last competition day, right?
Yep.
So you satisfied with the match today? How's everything going?
Jadi hari ini kamu merasa puas gak dengan total poin di 2 hari?
Nggak terlalu puas lah, karena kita masih banyak mistake yang kita lakuin.
He's not satisfied enough because there's so many mistakes that we did.
Oh yeah, but many mistakes, but you guys already make it to the point rush and the final stage, so I think you guys still have plenty of times to practice, so it's okay. Did a very good job already.
Thank
you.
So
our second question, since you guys have a very good sniper, Rasya. So do you think that he make a huge difference in your team? And do you think that with Rasya, you guys can become a champion of AWC 2025?
Menurut kamu, sekarang kan di tim kita ada Rasya. Terus menurut kamu Rasya membuat impact yang sangat besar nggak di tim kita? Dan menurut kamu kita bisa dapat menang nggak di EWC 2025?
Menurutku datangnya Rasya impactnya besar lah ke tim, karena di tim kita tuh nggak ada support kemarin. Karena dia masuk, mungkin tim kita bisa jadi lebih baik.
Okay, so on the last year, we got no support at all. Then Russia make a big impact for our team, so it's really helpful for us. Yeah.
So are you confident enough that you guys will become the champion of EWC 2025?
Kamu pede nggak kita bisa bakal menang EWC 2025?
Pede 100%.
So he said that we're 100% confident.
I love the energy. That is 100% come from EVOS. Thank you so much. And now I hope you guys can have a good rest at home and get prepared for the point rush and of course the final stage. Okay, good luck to you, Ray.
Thank you.
Let's throw back to our studio. Bye-bye.
Love you.
Thank you, Yunsol. Thank you, Carol, for the interviews. And I am glad we got to hear some final words from Fluxo and EVOS because these two teams, they're done for the tournament and they basically have to wait to see where they end up on that leaderboard after tomorrow's matches because if you guys didn't know, Group B, they've played all of their games. And I mean, I think the team said it right. It's not too much of a stretch to say they're not really happy with their performance the past 2 days.
Yeah, I can feel a contrast on both, like energy from both teams are representative. Like Bob's really sad. He's feeling like they could have done so much in those matches. For Evo Divine, yeah, they're saying that there's a lot of mistakes, but currently they're number 1. So I doubt that they will be doing so much of adjustment. It's only a minor adjustment that they can be champs.
I think at the very least, looking at their performance and looking at, as you mentioned, their energy, they probably wanted to do better. But keep in mind that these teams have been scrimming against each other pretty much every single day, right? They have 4 scrims back at their hotel and then 2 scrims here for not only our production team to make sure that everything goes smoothly, but just to kind of be accommodating and enjoy the little space. That's why it feels that even for Fluxo saying they know our playstyle, when you've got 6 scrims, 12 games on top of the extra 6 official games, they played a multitude of matches against everybody in the arena.
Well, I think for EVOS, it's just okay because yesterday they did like a stable game. But for Fluxo, it's going to be really hard to maybe pass through this knockout stage and get into the point rush. So they need to pray to see how the teams will do yesterday, which I think is not like a good thing to do because today probably will be, I mean, easier because of the group, you know. So I think they are kind of worried about that too.
Well, let's see how much we have to worry as we check out the overall rankings for today's matches because we need to figure out where everyone currently is. Now, again, I'm going to remind you all, teams in Group B, they have finished all of their games and their points are going to look a little inflated compared to the other groups because they have played 2 days of free fire. Group A and C will be catching up with their final matches tomorrow, and that is going to be the end of the knockout stage. Now, Neptune, the man, the master of numbers, okay? Just looking at the leaderboard, and I want you to focus on teams in Group B. What do you think, in your opinion, based on the prediction, is going to be a safe number to cut you into top 12?
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at 130, 135 around that range to be able to maintain your spot on the top 12. So there's a lot already from those in Group B that haven't made that cut. Well, we mentioned about Alpha 34 is already 68 points. We also have Fluxo like 106, unless the other teams from the next day would not be performing that well. Yes, they might be able to take that, but I'm just surprised with Lost right now. Imagine for 1 day it's 102 points and they just didn't slow down.
They didn't slow down, they looked great and they continue to look great, and I mean they're showing off that they deserve to be champions of the region, right? People are thinking, oh, is LOS really that good? Did they get lucky when they ended up winning their matches and even the Brazil finals? But I mean, I think it goes to show, just seeing their matches over the course of this week, they deserve everything that they've gotten.
Yeah, I mean, we can even say that they don't deserve right after they did like a match with 18 eliminations, something like that. It was a bunch of eliminations, so they are really capable of, I mean, getting the trophy for them, and they have like one of the best rusher player. So I mean, I think this kind of helped them, and they are really confident, so they will keep like playing like that, and they maybe can get really the trophy. And
overall spending
we normally see like Buriram like playing in this way, but I don't know if they are kind of hiding the game. I don't know, but Luz is showing to us that they can win the tournament.
Okay, Gideon, Neptune. I'm of the opinion, I feel like Buriram is hiding strats. Like, yes, okay, they don't look amazing today, but it almost feels intentional. Like they're trying to take that target off of their back because, I mean, we all know anyone that follows Free Fire, Buriram is a household name. Everybody knows every single player within the roster. So, is that the play here for Buriram, maybe?
I think that may be the play, but I also think there's not enough incentive for Buriram to do extremely well. Because why is there, right? It's just a knockout stage. We all know that Buriram is like really good in every single knockout stage you've ever been in. This is the one exception, but being first doesn't mean that you get an advantage coming into the point rush or assuming that they beat the point rush, which I'm hoping that's when we're going to see the real Buriram.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, at some point, there's no pressure for the teams who are really performing. Top 12 is the target for everyone. And for Buriram United, I know we joked around, dubbed them as a knockout stage kings or knockout kings, and then drop the ball towards the grand finals. So they just don't want to show all the cards just yet. And then later on, when it really matters, the incentive is much bigger, and then that's when they show up.
So they're essentially breaking the curse, right? The old curse of Free Fire. You do well in the knockouts, and then all of a sudden everyone knocks you out in the finals.
I mean, there are like moments of that, right? We see that a couple of games they're able to score 30 points, 30 whopping points in 2 maps alone to kind of really accumulate it, which goes to show that it's not like they want to get eliminated or anything. They just understand the thresholds that they need to hit. Neptune has already mentioned 120 points is generally a pretty safe area. So notice how they're like roughly around 60. I'm assuming they want another 60 tomorrow.
I mean, they've got a full play day. Now, here's the thing. They are going to be playing up against teams in Group A. And Group A added an interesting dynamic yesterday. So what could we expect for our matches tomorrow? Because we're going to bring the Falcons back in, and the Falcons looked fantastic yesterday.
I think... Oh, I want to say like they're going to come out of the gate swinging here, right? You know, they're going to just be punching back and forth. But I think Group A, after day number 1, they've kind of witnessed what Group B had to deal with. They're going to understand what Group C is going to try and do. There's probably a target on LOS's back. Let's be real here. They've had some really good games. I think they're going to take it a lot slower, right? Falcons, especially seeing how EVOS Divine got maybe targeted to a certain degree. More importantly, their landing spots got contested. We're just going to see them kind of maybe diversify.
Yeah, I mean, Team Falcons, they just rocked that first match from yesterday. And then they slowed down, not really putting so much in terms of elimination. And they got to 98 points from that day. Now, being beat by, I would say, some teams like Lost, I think because of the number of games as well as the gap between the points, they want to bring a lot more for tomorrow. So I'm feeling that aggressiveness will be coming from Team Falcons, but they're not the careless, aggressive team. They're still tactical. So it would be tough for the teams who will be playing for today, even for Buriram United, who tried to lay low today, because tomorrow they might still be gunned down.
Yeah, you can't afford to lay low. A little too low, if I might add. Now, I do believe our Kadir top plays for the day are ready. So let's have a look and see what were our highlight matches that you need to go back and watch, because we do have several of these, and just look at these shots. Holy moly, Gideon.
I think we've seen some of the tightest angles because we're noticing that, you know, teams are really taking advantage of like, hey, small little corners, making sure that they can see even if the tip of their head or even if they're just their shoulders enough, sometimes they won't even take the shot. They'll wait until they start seeing ears before they pull the trigger.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, for the snipers, especially in this level of competition, they just wait for that pixel and then they make those shots. And I love how the teams as well are not just utilizing the snipers, but also the cord, an LMG. So much damage, great accuracy. Fire rate, it's like a sniper, but it's much stronger.
And just going off the highlights as well, gentlemen, I kind of feel like this year's EWC teams are, of course, we are still seeing highlight plays, but we're not seeing anything crazy, right? We're not seeing those monster trucks saving the day for teams in the final circles. We're not seeing medkit wars between teams either. So I kind of wonder, is everyone playing a little bit slightly safer? No unconventional strats because they're trying to stay in the tournament.
There's one though, that the attempt of an unconventional gameplay. 18 Tier trying to go in for another clutch. That is where we known him from last year. The 1v3 clutch king. That is what 18 Tier has. And that probably is the reason why he got acquired by RRQ. But he tried earlier. It failed, if I'm not mistaken, twice.
Yeah. Now, sorry there, Gideon. We have to highlight a very important player here at the tournament. We have our Sony hero of the day. Let's see who ended up getting nominated. Oh boy, our MVP is Della.
Well, I'm really happy to see like a Latam player, and I told you guys this might going to happen today. And I mean, he's really good. All the players from the team, they have like such a chemistry, synergy. So it's really good to see like Latam growing in like global tournaments, just like EWC. So I'm really impressed about it, and I think all of the players there are kind of I mean, rising star, you know, they are like growing and I found that so interesting.
Raja, I want to ask you something about the region in general, right? You are a specialist of Latam, Brazil. Do you feel like the region is just getting better and better every year? Because I feel like the region is producing even higher players.
Yeah, I totally agree with that, and I think they create like such an amazing team. I mean, what? I mean, it's because of the,
the synergy.
Sorry, I'm sorry. I'm kind of.
It's like the teamwork. Yeah.
No, it's because they did like a dream team. They try to bring into Latam like a dream team. So R7 is like one of the best that we have ever seen in Latam. So I think it's because of that. They just mix all the players like a good rusher and a good sniper, and they put everything together, and that's the result. So I think now they are kind of smart doing that, you know. So maybe in the next tournament we can see like more Latin players, more good teams, like in a different way that they used to do. Like they used to create the teams, you know, to choose the players.
I suspect we might be getting some more slots for the region.
Oh.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Garena, are you listening? Because they've been giving us some fantastic plays here. But unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to be the end of day 2 at Free Fire at EWC 25. Thank you so much to my panelists for sharing your knowledge of the game and the teams with us today. Any final words for you guys before we close the show?
I would say like I'm really lucky to be here right now, to be able to see all things that has been happening. We're really excited that it's not just one region who's rocking the board. There's a lot of diversity that has been happening already. So thank you to all the teams who played, and hopefully like they won't disappoint us for tomorrow.
Yeah, huge shout out to the teams, and also huge shout out to some of the fans that actually showed up to the venue, particularly, you know, Team Vitality. They've got their members to give some support. I'm expecting once the public is coming in to see these matches live at that arena, it's going to be one hell of a day.
Well, I'm really happy to be here. I'm really happy to be how it's going, like with all the teams. I like to watch the Asian teams playing too, so I'm not that type of fanatic, but I mean, it's a pleasure to be here, and I think that's everything for today.
Okay, thank you, Raja, thank you, Neptune, and thank you, Gideon, and thank you to all of our beautiful viewers for sticking around and watching some amazing games of Free Fire here at EWC 25. But don't leave the broadcast. I want you guys to bookmark the page, and I want you all to come back tomorrow at the exact same time, because we're not done here at EWC. We still have Groups A and C ready to play their final rounds of games. We're going to find out tomorrow who's going to be making it to the next stage of the tournament. But until then, have a wonderful day, and we'll see you all bright and early tomorrow.
Hey, folks. Rhode Island, Minnesota, Indiana, Pennsylvania, Colorado, California, New Jersey, Ohio, Nevada. There's the first repeat. California, Missouri,